Здорово, да, сделал все. Здорово, парни. Сейчас я ТГ скачаю на компьютер. Стоп, это что-то не то, это залагало у меня. Не оно. Меня обманывают. Короче, просто так надо сделать. Что-то меня обманывают, как будто бы. Телеграм онлайн версия. Чего нафиг? Алло, обманщики. Дару, всем ку-ку-ку. Спасибо за детство вам, ребята, спасибо. Буря. Вот Вест. Не удивлен, то, что ты КС идешь.
Мне нужен кэш, золотой кэш, быстрый как флэш, я всегда свеж. Прихожу в бар в обилии дам, одну куплю, завтра продам. Этим сукам нужны соски, не закатывают глазки. Покупаю уклад пиратский, поделюсь с тобой по-братски. Эти хейтеры не знают, но я знаю за себя. Делаю то, что умею, пока в меня верит вся семья. По 200, я люблю скорость, поднимаю голову, братик, это не новость. Не люблю проблем, сам навсегда совесть. Люблю удивлять, ведь это способность. Мне нужен кэш.
Здорово, всем ку-ку-ку, привет. А какое давление от телеграмма включить?
Прихожу в бар в обилии дам, одну куплю, завтра продам. Заработал лемы, это для меня легко. Слезы как мохито, суки, падают, когда минор. Да, я всегда яркий, я звучу, как будто ля минор. Ты как Паша скейтер, бля, походу ты пидор. У меня стиль звука, и они кричат вау. Не волнует твое тело, волнует лишь саунд. Ты ее лучший друг, тебе доверить тайны.
Дару.
На ночь мне пох на ее байки. Рок-н заряжен, мы ждем тебя в хаммер. Всюду банкноты, мой бро на рехабе. Молодой в Гуччи и молодой в шляпе. Не люблю лавры, они дают мало. Черный мантель, Мерседес, не Лада. Минуту базар, со мной это оплатно. Дубай на связи, я ролю в Галларды. Зарплата за жизнь, моя сумка Гаярда. Мне нужен кэш, золотой кэш. Быстро как флэш, я всегда свеж. Прихожу в бар, в обилии дам. Одну куплю, завтра продам.
Влетаю на спорт, вокруг толпы жоп. Они хотят мали, жизнь на экране. Ты, детка, не права, молодой пимп на Бугатти. Мы еще не в моей хате, ты уже в моей кровати. Много денег, деньги не проблема. Еду на Араре всегда слева. На мне за лям часы, в Гриндере кусты. В моих легких белый дым, я останусь молодым. Я молодой макар.
Киберпанк на максималках 120 FPS тянет. Что? Да ну нафиг. Да это новый трек.
Мне нужен кэш, золотой кэш. Быстро как флэш, я всегда свеж. Прихожу в бар, в обилии дам. Одну куплю, завтра продам.
Так, игра там через 9 минут вроде как, да? Ждем. На Телеграм, кстати, подпишитесь, я там Боря то сделал. Оповещение. Выпал Л только что. Че? Как ты меня назвал сейчас? Эш. Эш. Точно. Ну это за то, что ты зашел на стрим, кстати, Станис. Ой. Вы только что все видели, я так понимаю. Ой. Или... Подождите, на Телеграм, кстати, подпишитесь, я там Боря то сделал. Оповещение. Ой. 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 Спалил. Ой, Телеграм спалил. Ой. Вон, там ничего такого не было, поэтому все нормально. Толи. Бури Out West. Там что там? Опять? Ну почему? Я задолбался постоянно водить почту. Вы задолбали, ну реально, блин, вот повезло то, что сейчас у меня и время есть, как скотина. Если у меня прям во время катки бы отбирали возможность просто Бурю отвестить, то я, блин, Бури. Дурак ты. А может ты дурак? Козел. А? Саша Ларьков, блин. Может ты дурак? Чепушня, блядь. Сорян. Так, сейчас быстренько на аккаунт зайди. Меня взломали, что ли, или че, не понял? Саша Ларьков, это ты взломал меня или че? Не понял просто. Че у меня вылетело? Че, козел вонючий сраный? Рот выбурил тогда. Аутвестил. Сорян. Че, крыс, ты меня взломал? Опять Ярик взломал. Ярик, ты меня взломал, что ли? А Ярик Бравл Старс играет. Поздравляю, кстати, всех с Новым годом сегодня. А где у меня ВК? Подождите. Кто мне скажет, тот крутой. А, вот точно. Бури Out West. Че, у меня треки закончились? Все, что ли? Ладно, трек включаю. Один из лучших вообще на планете Земля. Вы никогда не слышали? Я, кстати, забыл тебе скинуть трек, поэтому пошел ты нахер, Иванчик. Сорян. Мама, купи песика с маленьким круглым носиком. Вопросика. Бури бабу бу 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 бу. Баран скинул быстро сейчас. Ну вот, найди сам, мне лень скидывать. Вот. Любви. Ну купи, 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 купи. Ту-ду-ду-ду, бури-пади, буду-буби. Край, 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 я ебала всех в жопу. Плай, плачь, плачь, нахуй вообще. Вы тут сидите, чё дураки совсем, блядь. Ой, прям. Оценку трека еще раз. Не лень качество с обоссных 360 рублей поднимать, не вижу ни хера. Так 720 рублей поднимать. Ты чё, нищий? Чел, кринж. Мама купи. Мама купи пу-пу-пи 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 пу-пу-пи. Давайте скажи, что у меня сейчас опять. Мама купи пури-пури. Мама купи пёсика с маленьким круглым борибом.
Я трахну басом Москву и опять не усну.
Чемпионат мира по футболу.
И тепло моих рук помнит только мой тур.
Я официальную трансляцию найти, скиньте меня, пожалуйста.
Я стреляю в упор, за трэп и нюску, за трэп и нюску.
Это не я смотрел, сразу говорю, это я смотрел, а вот это не я. И это тоже не я. Ой, где у меня чат-то? А, во! Бури-бу-бури-бу-бу-бу. Фанаты БМБС тут, дайте шуму. Блин. Кринги, бро. О, найс. Не успел, блин. Чё? У меня только что было на основе 307 этих хреней, сейчас 567 резко стало. Я чё, читер типа? Здорово, Серега. Ты хочешь очки получать или просто так? Ну не, блядь, просто так. Если бы я просто так, я бы даже не смотрел этот чемпионат, братишка. Бу-бу-бау. Кто не понял? Воу! Тебе нужны мозги, дура, бури, бу-бу-бу. Все, погнали. Let's go. Сейчас будет Z и трайб. Ой, у меня все сломалось. Так вот. Получается, music is good. Буря out west. Блять, ты можешь не лагать, пожалуйста? Я тебе ничего сильно не Бори делаю. Я, наверное, качество 720 поставлю, и будет, в принципе, нормально. Потому что ничего не изменится, если я даже поставлю 1080. Даже не обязательно смотреть 1080. Вот так вот. Не, ну так-то прикольно, когда мне дали халявные 260 очков на основе Спасибо большое, мне очень сильно понравилось. Так, сейчас так, обе команды сильно будет плотно. Я 5 раз нечаянно нажал на без БС. БС. За носиком. Олег Петрович всех сделает. Найс. Спасибо за детство, Олег Петрович. Я всегда знал, что ты красава. Это Division 01. Туруру, буру-буру-бу. 40 секунд. Let's go. Мама, ну купи пёсика с маленьким круглым носиком. А кто тут такой халюсенький? Мама, купи бури-бури. Он я делал вот так вот, чтобы бурить одновременно и на там, и там. Так, и УБС. А, ну УБС у меня здесь, поэтому все скайп. А так тип нельзя, да? Тип тепло. Чат. Во. Так работает тема. А ну-ка напиши что-то чат по-братски. А, вот и трансляция отключен чат, понял. Чё не пишите в чат. Сейчас буду тебя отмечать, посмотри, будет видно или нет. Блять, меня лагает игра как кашки. Мне компьютер не тянет. Браузер. А ну давай. Ой. А ну. Ой-ой-ой. Невидимка, здорово. Именно не лагает, кстати. Может мне перезапустить 30 FPS? Или типа лол? Ну, типа мне вот так, типа, ну вообще не типа как-то, ну не так. Я все отключил, по-моему, по нему более сделал. Охренеть, отметка у меня происходит дико. Если меня узнать Нави вместо какого-то НН, там этот ангел-бой вроде хз, я, короче, снова. Жиза. Зета Нави Трайп КСК. Никоглай фан. Понял? А может мне лагать не будет? Охрененно, Серега, я, конечно, все понял. Спасибо большое тебе. Меня исключили, Паша Калачиков. Меня исключили. Ой. Почему не начинают гача лав? Музыкон. Флаутер. Флаукхер. Он пошел нахуй. Флэшбэки. Бля, я сейчас перезапущу, мне это не нравится. Лагает все говно игра. Как обычно, дефолт. Дефолт добрал Старс. Бури, 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 бари, буру, буру, бу-бу-бу-бу-бу-бу. Ура! Как ты мою маму назвал?
Une seule équipe pourra finir avec le plus grand des titres. Ça sera décidé demain, mais aujourd'hui, beaucoup d'actions Brawl Stars. And of course, for all the English speakers out there, I will be speaking both languages all weekend. Welcome to the
Welcome
of the Brawl Stars World Finals.
The
We have
Brawl
the
Stars World
action packed
Finals.
today. Four teams have already
Four teams.
validated their
Four.
tickets
Ой.
to the finals tomorrow.
Four
Championship
teams.
Sunday.
Кто не
It's
понял.
going to be big, but there are four more spots to take.
Сейчас было видно, а я не смотрел. Давай еще раз.
16 teams are in competition here at Disneyland Paris, but only one will live with the biggest of titles. I am Damascus. I will be your host all weekend, but without further ado, let's get brawling!
Welcome back, everybody, to the Brawl Stars World Finals. Day number 2 is getting underway. Once again, here at Disneyland Paris, it is a full house, and I couldn't be more excited to be alongside you today. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great. Yesterday was already
Тебя в чате даже не
awesome.
видно.
We got four
Может,
more
где-то не там
round of
спишешь, блин,
16
нафиг, я угораю на
matches left.
серии.
We're gonna play through them today, and man, there are some amazing matches lined up for you.
And let's get a quick recap of that format as well. If you weren't with us yesterday,
One winner
here
через
it is.
В написал.
Power match format, just like your Power League games at home, in a 16-team
What the heck
elimination bracket.
he
You
saying?
lose, you are
давай.
out of here. It is the culmination of a year's
Отписай.
worth of effort. Best of 5 in the round of 16, all the way to the semifinals, transitioning into a best of 7 format in those grand finals.
Я не
Football
успел
is looking
проголосовать.
pretty spicy.
Алло.
Yeah, $1 million
Говно.
on
Ой,
the
фу.
line.
Вон я был.
Life-changing money here for our players. 400k just for that first place, 200k second, and it dwindles down from there on, but it's still a hefty sum of money for any team that qualified here for the World Finals.
And 4 teams made it that much closer to claiming their grand prize. Quarterfinals on the top side
Короче,
bracket have been locked in.
я выиграю
Division
чем
1,
Dragon
Reply
Block.
Totem in that first
Жесткий.
quarterfinal taking place tomorrow. STMN and Team Queso in the next quarterfinal tomorrow.
Yeah,
Тимотей
yesterday's round of
не
16
шампунь.
matches were crazy, especially looking at the 2 first ones, in my opinion. I mean, Vatra Gaming, a great performance, but Reply Totem looked...
Именно не лагает, кто не понял до сих пор. Блять, ну ты издеваешься? Да, вот так вот будем смотреть.
Gaming BR next. Tribe Gaming NA versus Navi and Reconic Esports
Офигеть, кстати,
TOC
смотрим, лайк
versus
ставлю.
SK
А вот, так нормально.
Gaming. Some serious matches
Тимотей.
here on the bottom side of the bracket. Any of those
Let's go.
in particular, Teddy?
Have you seen
Чё за зест? Алло.
match? I mean, look at it. Tribe
Who?
Gaming NA versus
Zest.
Navi. That is
Где Z1?
one stacked
Z1
round
B.
of 16 match.
Bracket
That
bottom.
seeding
Понял?
really did dirty here. That is
Тоже
gonna be a
нет.
fun one to watch.
Well, I definitely agree, but it seems like we didn't exactly agree on our
Алло.
predictions here. At least I speak for myself and all the other casters, excluding you. Why Navi
Раундов
versus
16,
Tribe Gaming
матч
NA?
5,
It's a
6,
very
7,
hotly
8.
contentious match, but once again, you're the
Уроки
sole
математики.
outlier
Всем привет.
taking
Уроки
just one
считалки.
different match from the
Цифрование.
rest of us.
Well, listen, yesterday I was the only one going totem against Vatra.
За них ничего не купишь,
I
за
was
них
right.
получишь
I'm
скин.
counting on making that happen
на
again.
тару.
Just getting, you know, a 2 correct prediction lead over you guys. Worst case scenario, I tie it up with you. It's just win-win. I'm very strategical about my predictions.
Okay, if you want to be a
My
wise guy
predictions.
like Teddy, and I would highly encourage you to do so, go to event.brawlstars.com,
Brawl
submit your
Stars.
predictions of your own, interact with the stream,
Покажи.
watch and earn some rewards as well to redeem in-game. You can get the new skin as well for Tara, which is looking super, super awesome. Also, make sure you engage with us on TikTok. We want to see y'all's reactions as well. You can share
Вот,
those with
вот,
us
давай,
using
давай.
BSWF22 and share with us your
Бурик,
reactions. We
бурик.
want to see how you're reacting to it. I mean, we
Когда
can
уже
shoot it
катка,
up on
еще
the
3
big screen,
минуты, ну
but we wanna see it on
задолбали.
the small vertical screen too.
Exactly that. We get to see the reactions of the people like behind us, literally, as they witness everything live. But we are not forgetting.
Кто
you guys
выиграет
at
этот
home.
матч? А ну
We wanna
давай.
see how you guys feel about everything. We wanna know it all.
Уже
Chat.
выбрано.
Well,
Пускай там.
without further ado, I
Чё у
mean,
нас
we're getting
много
ready for
света?
our first match here, and this is going to be quite an interesting one. Tribe Gaming EU versus Zest. Now, Tribe Gaming EU, definitely one of the top dogs in their home region of EMEA, getting a couple of monthly finals wins in there. Zest,
Америкосы.
the third seed from LATAM South, definitely having some struggles in their home region.
Yeah, on paper, this is one of the more one-sided matches here of the round of 16. But we've seen in the past, it doesn't always mean everything. It all depends on the form on the match day.
On
And
the
guys,
match.
talking about the form of those teams, let's find out as they
Let's
go
find
on
out.
stage.
Давай, погнали. Let's go. Let's go.
Et allez, c'est l'heure pour le premier match.
Не,
de la
это он
journée.
что-то
On a
базарит
un
вообще, он
gros
обзывает
match
нас.
aujourd'hui. Et le
Скрытно,
premier
кто не
match qui va
понял.
commencer, ça va accueillir directement la première seed.
Вот это
Et
вообще
vous savez
прям
quoi?
буря.
Je vois les supporters de Tribe. Il y en a quand même beaucoup. On va la faire en anglais rapidement. For all of the Tribe supporters, we're doing this one in English. Are you guys ready to make some noise for your team?
Кто?
Tribe Gaming EU!
Дебил. Что базарит? Сам, наверное, не понимаю. Давай. Ура, Трайб. Да.
Gaming EU, a team that clearly needs no introduction. Some world finalists from last year and previous years on this roster, especially if we talk about
Усами.
world champion in 2019 and a decorated record
Oh no,
from this
cringe.
entire year to follow.
That's a good point. And as you
Сегодня
mentioned,
4 игры, это
number
минимум,
one
да.
seed here in
11 матчей.
EMEA. But looking at more international, inter-regional
Да, я
rather,
буду проводить.
results, it's not
Я
quite
думаю,
as
2
good
на минимум
for
заберут
finals
нас.
2021, with pretty
Потом
much
еще наберут,
the same
тоже
squad minus Lena. They only made it to top 16, so they got knocked out first round of Worlds. MSI this year also ended up knocked out early, so they want that big international result. This is their ticket to at least make it to the quarters if they can take down Zest. It's looking pretty good for them. But talking about Zest, let's bring them to the stage.
Et leurs adversaires, ils nous viennent d'Amérique du Sud, la 3e seed d'Amérique du Sud, des novices sur cette scène ici à Paris qui vont tenter de faire tomber la top seed européenne. Ils représentent 3 pays.
Прикинь, на Z 15% за Z проголосовали.
Alonso, no one, and Loco, if you guys are not familiar with them, they got third seed in the Latin South region.
Учитывая, если сейчас отгадаю, это плюс 125 халявных. Why should you top seed was this? Zest. Что за Zest? Zeta One. Должна быть. Что за Zest? Алло. Я за кого голосовал? За Троих, на что тогда? Понял. Вот это что такое? Терби. Алло. Дебил совсем. Терби, блин. Давай отдыхай. Уехал. Ура, ура. 15 секунд до капки. Ура. Легкая для трайба. Кто не понял до сих пор. Трайб гейминг EU. Сейчас 25 халявных у меня будет уже 90. 700 я сказал, 692. Сейчас мне 3 пика угадать, у меня будет...
I think that Tribe Gaming EU, without a doubt, are favorites here, but we have seen Tribe choke and fold here and there. So, gotta be careful, you know, try to get that good, solid early start. Whereas on Zest, I mean, they want exactly the same, try to scare away Tribe Gaming, convince them that, you know, maybe they're not quite good enough to go further. Tribe Gaming is a very emotional team, and they get hugely affected by momentum and how good their opponents feel about themselves, how confident they get. So I think Zest, if they really want to impress Tribe, they gotta strike hard and early and be loud while doing so.
No doubt, and you know, as optimistic as I would love to be for Zest, you gotta be realistic as well. If we just look at the self-reported scrims heading up onto the World Finals in preparation phase, an unfortunate 24% win rate for Zest in those scrims. That's not really great. And you talk about, you know, Tribe EU having sort of maybe a weakness to confidence on the opposing side. I'm gonna be real with you, man. I would not be confident up here if I were Zest. One thing they can be confident in, though, is that they're an unknown enemy, right? They're coming in with not a whole lot known about them, not a whole lot of background studies to be done on them, and also probably a whole lot of work being done in the regional meta.
Нас обманули, катки нету. Уже 13 минут должна катка идти. Алло.
To be fair, Tribe is not really a team to underestimate their opponents. They do have their moments where they look a bit more shaky, and this year has been an interesting one. Because they qualified for world best seed. That's their best result ever.
Я тоже не понял до сих пор, говно какое-то. Нас обманули, нету турнира. Ради прикола запустили, просто побазарить. Ура, 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 Трайб, yes. Проиграют сегодня. Ты не понял? Спойлером небольшой вкину.
I'm getting confused, but a whole bunch of them, a whole bunch of them.
There are a whole lot of them as well. Everyone's showing out here, and I mean that's one of the amazing things about having a LAN is that you get to have the live studio audience in here too, and everyone coming out to support their favorite.
Вот это типа тренер или что вот это
кто?
Зачем он там
If you haven't submitted your predictions already, you gotta do so on event.brawlstars.com. That way we can accurately gauge what the audience is thinking in terms of predictions for this match. But I mean, we already know what the casters are thinking. Casters are thinking that this is going to be a very confident and dominant match for Tribe Gaming EU. But hey, I mean, upsets are always welcome. We haven't seen any huge upsets just yet. If we do, it's going to get started here on Safe Zone.
Ура!
First map. Oh!
Карта. Пит-стоп. А, не пит-стоп. Карта не помню, как называется. Там буря аутост какой-то.
I can't blame
Safe
you.
zone.
I can't blame you. I think the odds are maybe a little bit
Безопасная
more
зона.
favorable to Zest than that,
Кто не понял,
but it's still
перевожу.
going to be tough. We're
Englishman.
kicking things off on safe zone. Our bans on the side of
Пикают.
Drake
Что же-
Gaming, you are going to be Otis
Так,
Max
на ваших
and
экранах
8-bit.
происходят
Zest
пики
will be banning out Bell, Brawl,
персонажей.
and Bonnie. Just as a little stat
Тоже
here, their
выберут
win
команды
rates of
Tribe
both
Gaming
teams in the
UA,
past is
EU.
46% for Tribe, 50 for Zest. So, arguably
А ну-ка.
a slightly better game on the side of
Всем
Zest,
очень
but,
интересно то, что они
to be
выбирают.
fair, you know, it's
Смотрим Rules.
stats that come from
Генерал Гаусс,
facing
перевожу
different
вам.
opponents in different
Том взял
regions, so
генерала
we'll
Гаусса.
see
Так, что
how
же у
that
нас
actually
выбирает
goes down in-
кто-то там
in
из
practice.
команды Zest?
Tom gonna be first picking
А ну-ка.
that Ruffs, and it's one we've seen quite a bit on
Так,
stage
происходит совет,
And
кто
he's a
не
very
понял.
popular wall breaker as well, and safe
Так.
zone wall break is going to be absolutely paramount to a lot
Зачем
of
он рот
strategies,
закрывает? Он типа,
especially if
ну,
you want to run something effectively up the
думает,
right
что
lane.
его кто-то
Rico
спалит там,
absolutely
что
comes to
он
mind. He's not banned out here and
говорит
can be
«Би».
picked if, of course, things are broken
У Zest
open early on.
происходит
Colonel Ruffs
пик.
doesn't get free wall break,
Би.
and even
Что?
breaking open the walls might even be a hazard now that B has been picked on the
Насрать.
opposing
Но
side.
он пикает Би. Что
I
же у нас
honestly
пикнет другой
like the
человек?
beat here. I think it's a pretty good
Блин, очень
reactionary
интересно
pick.
у нас происходит на ваших
Obviously
экранах.
doesn't do well at all
Распикивание
against
карт.
Brawls,
No.
but I'm assuming that the next one probably will
Гриф.
cover that.
Гриф
Griff
это одна из
gonna be
самых
a
лучших карт
much better,
на данной карте.
option
Кто
here
не
to
понял,
complement it
Алонсо
and
ее пикает, как
have
всегда.
that free roll break available with the piggy
Так,
bank, open up
кто
the right
же-
side of
кого же у
the
нас возьмет?
map, make sure you have just
Кто-то
easy
там.
access to
Ни
your
одного
lane,
игрока
and
не знаю.
especially
Ни
early
той, ни этой
access
команды.
compared to the Ruffs
Не
that
шарю.
needs a super before you can open up that wall.
And great for denying things that get in
Так,
close range
взяли
versus you
Калет.
as
Калет
well.
тоже
This
очень
roster has
хороший
been known
пик.
to run Daryl here pretty reliably.
Что-то мне
Charles still an
показывает...
option
А,
that we
Брок
saw
забанен.
absolutely wreck
Что-то да
house
ладно.
yesterday.
Пайпер еще,
Piper
окей.
and Colette actually is
Получается,
quite
Пайпер у нас
interesting.
идет
Colette,
на
of
Би.
course, colossal damage on that
Алонсо,
safe, especially
точнее,
if she
Калет
gets
на
damage boosted
Грифа.
by Colonel Ruffs. I would say
И
it's more
генерал
likely that
Гаусс,
Piper gets damage
получается,
boosted since she's less
Кольта
likely to
забанили.
die with
Кольта,
the
возможно,
trees
возьмут. Мне
overhead.
кажется,
Drage
что...
on the Piper, though,
А
always one
возможно...
that you want to be
Нет, 8
watching
бита
out
не
for,
знаю, что он
but there's
тоже
still
забанен.
one option left on the
Что
side
же у
of
нас
Zest for a
выбирают?
counterpick.
Yeah, honestly,
Zest?
I love this
Daryl.
draft on the side of Tribe.
Ну...
Daryl is going to be our final pick here for Zest.
Ну как вам
I
сказать?
like it too.
Дэрил,
I think
когда
both
против
teams have
тебя,
a lot of merit
можно сказать,
here.
дальники,
Lennon has a very good matchup
типа
against the
лоу,
Daryl. Overall, I mean,
типа
Lennon, the Colette
лоу.
can be an absolute
Типа он сейчас
threat.
будет в дефе
I
сидеть,
think
копить
what I
ульту.
like about Tribe
И
Gaming
потом
based
резко
on their
бури,
strategy is
вот
they're
вест,
going for,
минус вышка.
very
Вышка,
comfortable picks
ну,
for
бля,
them,
Clash
right?
Royale
We
перевел,
all
сори.
know
Минус
Tom's Ruffs,
сейф.
Luna's Colette,
Так,
and Drake's
сейчас
Viper,
мы и
and they
посмотрим,
are
что же
staying in their
произойдет.
comfort zone,
И
which
пошла
is
катка.
important when it comes to your
Что же у нас
opening,
делает
set. You don't
No
wanna
One?
give anything
Ниван,
away and
стоп.
get yourself in
Ниван
a
же
comfortable
пикал...
situation. Left side is gonna be opened up
Подожди, Ниван же
by the
пикал
Brave,
Би.
and Tom
Нет?
is trying to
Нас
aggress
обманули
and
сейчас или что,
get
я не
some
понял.
early positioning. Loco down in the mid got tagged up.
Loco
Does get
попадает
attack
по
onto Drage.
Дрейк,
If he can get a
Дрейгу,
connection on that
Дрейги.
3K shot, he's getting up close, and
И Лока
wow,
первый
the
делает килл
connection
на
as
данной
Drage
карте.
is gonna fall and some first
Попадает
damage
чуть-чуть
on
по сейфу,
save.
чуть-чуть
That's gonna be
урона
going the way
наносит.
of Zest.
And another piggy bank drop down
Так,
around the left
и
side to break things open. Tom luckily has one
Дрейк
wall
раз
left,
попал,
whose name that he can
больше не
use.
попадает,
Loco
зачем
gets
попадает,
half a little
согласен.
bit, here's a roll in from no one.
Вот,
Little
вот оно
supply drop down,
делает,
but it's not gonna go
делает
on top
Дэрил,
of
это
Loco.
лучший.
Tom
Я всегда говорил,
falls.
что
The
Дэрил
nine
это одна
Drake
из
trying to
самых
fit as
лучших
best as they can, but
карт.
Alonso is determined to
Блин,
lock himself
каких
in his
карт?
back left corner. It's gonna take a pinch to
Одна
get
из
him out of
самых,
there, which is surely
один из
coming
самых
along
лучших
the way, but
персонажей
it
для
does
карты,
waste a
я
little
всегда
bit
это
of
говорил.
time that Tribe could be using to push
Даже
up
в начале
Alonso.
этой
He
карты.
just continues to stay alive. It's gonna get the close range kill.
Как
Now
можно
taken
видеть,
down by Tom, but no one's all over the
команда
same, like
Zest
white on Rise. Loco still trying to get
очень
some
сильно
damage in here.
прожимает
A little
команду
honeypot thrown down as
Tribe,
well. Good contact from
что
the
показывает
but
то,
this is
что
a
первая
dominating
карта
game so
за
far by Zest.
Zest.
Zest are
Зета. Да
destroying
какая
Tribe
Зета?
Gaming
Зест, мне
EU in
пофиг.
this first game so
Так,
far. A nice homemade
я за
recipe
нами,
connects
конечно же.
from Drake.
Ура, ура,
Down in the
Ярик
mid
20 тысяч апнул,
gives him
спасибо за детство.
some slightly better position.
Дрейк попадает
Good
по
tag
Локу,
onto Loco,
почти
but now
убивает его.
there is a charge shot on
Так.
that B. Alonso has a super as well.
Пока
You
ничего
need to
больше
be
не
careful
происходит.
on the
Итак,
side of Tribe Gaming EU. There's not a
Длинный
whole
пытается
lot
попасть по
of
No
room
One.
to maneuver
У него это
in this,
без,
first game as
безуспешно.
we head towards the final
Наносит
minute.
чуть-чуть
Super
урона по
from
сейфу
Lennon
с
to go
кайфом.
in and out, get
Попадает
some
Дрейк
damage
по сейфу.
down on that save. They have a lot of catching up to do still.
Нужно
Well, now that
выбивать
Drake is all
Алонсо,
powered up, he's definitely
иначе
going to be a
это
threat.
ДЛП.
No one tries to push up around the left side.
Алонсо,
Is
мне
able to
кажется,
get
сейчас
some
кинет ульту,
damage
да,
in.
вот что он не делает.
Also denied by Tom with
Гений
some wall wall break. He
нечестно
still stays alive, but the sandbags appear to come in clutch.
А он
Alonso also gets a
перебивает
kill
Дрейк,
here. Lana has a super to work with as well,
что
but he's got to be careful
подсказывает,
versus Loco, who outranges him a lot.
что
It's going to be a pretty unwinnable
и
lane
первая
matchup for
карта
him,
за Зека.
especially with no one coming around the left
Мне
side,
пофиг,
rather
эта
right
команда
side.
очень сильная.
Rage, though, thankfully, is able to pick up the supply drop at mid, a dash forward as well from
Итак,
Lana, but
происходит
they got a
небольшой урон
long
по
way to go on
сейфу
this save
команды
and
Z.
short time to get
Зета.
there.
Так, убивает ли Найна? Генерал Газ пытается что-то там нанести. Но получается, это вроде нормально. Сейчас за 6% еще. Дрейк сейчас прыгнет, конечно же, ультой, надеюсь. Спасибо, что это делал. Минус Дрейга. И урон. Все. Первая карта зазета. Карта, не карта, а первый раунд зазетый. Нави Трэп, я тебе ответил, что Нави. Так, ну, это хорошо так-то дефались. И хорошо играли в этом первом раунде.
Great dodges from Alonso. In fact, he's dodging shots left, right, and center. Speaking of center, here's Rage getting one tap on a logo, just one tap away from picking up a kill. Good tank there with the honeypot. Logo manages to stay alive as well. Charge B and damage gear active, but no 4K contact.
All right. Let's see so far.
Дарил пока
Not
что здесь
nearly
так
as
ничего
much
не
of a
делает,
problem
как
in
я
the
говорил,
early
то,
game
что он
for
будет
Tribe.
копить
It
тут
does make sense though, right? You have the Ruffs, which doesn't get the free wall break, so it's easier for that right lane on the side of Zest, as well as those buffs that come from the trees from Ruffs. They're going to take a while to build up. First kill here from Drake onto Alonso as that left side is going to be weakened up. And a chance now for Tom to
нужно нанести хотя бы чуть-чуть урона, чтобы быть в преимуществе.
Just yet, those walls will be taken out by Drake. Let's see if that is going to be favorable for them as Alonso creeps up onto the right side. Wants to get up close, but those stacks from Tom are going to keep him at bay for now at least. No one also has that role available. We know how deadly that can be. The slow does quite connect enough. Missing a super as well. Is able to find Alonso. Another kill from Drake onto no one, and it's only Loco left alive. A good cleanup from Track Gaming as they get some damage on safe and take over the lead.
Has his next super free, 10% off the safe. Down goes Drage as well. Loco's taking like a madman. Here comes a slow into the knot, and no one gets to get all over the safe. Tons of damage being knocked off, but still not surpassing what Tribe Gaming EU has laid a disaster. But I stand corrected. No one's going crazy.
Урон-то какой проходит.
По
сейфу команды Tribe. А ведь этого никто даже и не замечает. Хорошо. Дрейк. Придумал, чего умнее, чем сломать стену. Тут хорошо, перебивает Локо. Сейчас это должен быть урон. Хороший урон. Отличный урон, я бы сказал. И сейчас доданет нет просто. Либо там Дэрил разносит сейф. Попал. А, ну все. Там сейчас ГГ сейф. Там колет не сможет. Хотя задефало что. Сейф, 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 сейф. Так, отлично. А сейф накидывается, урон. 400 хп. Нет, все, найс. Блин, жестко, жестко. Так, нужно вот так вот делать. Оп, десяточка халявная. Сюда. 1-1. День, что Трай поиграет.
Have their doubts. We know we have a match in our hands here already. Let's see who takes
Локо пытается попасть по Драгу. Драг попадает. Хочет попасть, но не может, потому что Лок. Сорян. О, какой счет? 1-1. Два человека уже лоу. Потом ставит Бури. Аутрест. И нужно добивать и начинать Бури опять по полному. Он попадает по Дэрилу, еще раз попадает по Дэрилу, разламывает Бури, чтобы это не делали лишнего. И это, походу, небольшой урон проходит сейчас по сейфу. Точнее, скоро пройдет по сейфу команды. Вот по этой команде, кто не понял. Итак, раз, два, три, по 5 раз попадает.
We saw in game one how devastating those pushes from Zest can be. A mishoming recipe from Drake, the follow-up connection onto no one. Bring that tag up and
Линайт подбирает буст от генерала Гавса. Алонсо нужно скоро юзать ульту, иначе просто сейф разнесут куда-то и все. Но он пытается пройти на базу команды Трайб, чтобы побить сейф, но у него это не очень сильно хорошо выходит. Нужно задефать Дэрила, иначе урон большой пройдет, что они и делают, и идут в атаку. Все, 40% урона уже снесено. 40%
they are
осталось еще
trailing by a
40%.
large margin here. They have to get some damage in on that
Команда
enemy
Z,
safe. Loco's doing
Россия.
his best to defend. Lenaz going to
Итак,
try and lock himself in his back right
что-то
corner.
пытается делать.
Alonso's just waiting out the
Линайн
gotcha
еще
gadget.
наносит
Lenaz still
урон.
going to benefit from
Хороший
some
урон
bonus damage
наносит
though.
Линайн.
Big
И
stop in.
это все.
Alonso gets the
Это
defense, but Tom and Trencher
первая
here to finish it
карта
off.
за
And it's a
командой
Tribe
Tribe.
Gaming EU victory.
A slow start from Tribe
Ну, на самом
Gaming,
деле
but
было читаемо.
they made
Что
sure
Tribe
they
вообще
take
изи
that
вин
first
сделал.
set in the end, shut down any sort
Кто
of
дал?
confidence that Zest
За
were
что сейчас
building up. But
обозвался?
to be
Извинись.
fair, I'm saying that,
Да.
but I mean, Zest are surprising us
больший
so
урон
far. I think
секунды,
that trap was a
312.
fantastic one on there, and
Или больше
definitely
исцеления
not like
10 000
a
линейных.
free win by any means, but
Еще есть такое.
even enough that
Просто
you know,
первый
this got close,
раунд
this got
что-то не
dangerously
пошло.
close.
Про
If that
загрев был.
second game, a 10% difference,
Я
and
за Трайп
suddenly
играл.
we would have had Zest take the first
А,
set.
так это ты на Пайпер был.
Honest truth here,
А
I
я-то
wasn't
думаю, что такой
entirely
лошара
convinced by the Daryl
попасть
pick
не
on
может
paper,
никого.
but in action, it was just endless aggression onto that save and some solid damage overall. Where Zest seemed to really have that struggle was once things pushed up to mid, and especially once the supply drops were powering up Drage and even Lenad too, but especially Drage
Здесь,
tapping
конечно,
things at
обидно.
long
Могли бы
range
побыстрее закрыть и
seriously
всё.
prevented the B from doing what B is usually supposed to do, keep things at long range, slow things down whenever she can. I do want to give a shout out to Loco because he was going nuts that game. In fact, all of Zest was taking game number one is such a
я
great
понял,
statement
давай,
over a
дальше
team
отдыхай.
like Tribe Gaming EU, but what really matters is those set victories. That is what actually gets you closer to taking a match win.
Absolutely, and I think Tribe just escaped a big trap here. Wow. It was close, but the stats, they tell a different story here. 17 kills on Drage, 10 on Tom. Lena a little bit behind, but does have a decent bit of damage as well. I think no one struggled to really find, you know, any sort of
Быстрее
connections
давайте уже
after those Daryl
другую
rolls.
карту.
And, it's a problem, you know, sometimes with the tanks is until you are in the action and you are, you know, right next to your opponent, you can't really do much, just be there, tank a bit or whatnot, wait for that super to pop up. But I think that Tribe did an amazing job here at dodging
начнется, нет?
that
Другая
trap
вообще
in the
мапа, там
first set
более
where
АТС,
Zest,
другой
you know,
режим.
they win the
Говорите
first
быстрее,
game,
пожалуйста.
it
Блин,
was a
реально
stomp.
задолбали.
They looked much,
Итак,
much better.
это получается
And
горячая
Tribe did
точка.
not
Карта,
let
не
that,
помню как называется, потому что
take
мне
them
насрать
down. They
абсолютно.
managed to somehow get a good reset, focus up, and reverse sweep that opening set. Beautiful stuff.
Сейф зон.
А
зачем, подождите, зачем нам ограбление опять показывают? Они, ну там дебилы или тупорылые дебилы. О боже. Алло, сейф убери сверху слева, дебил. Open zone, открытая зона, режим горячая зона. Идиоту, вот это убери, вот это поставь, вот такую хрень, не вот какие тупые там бурики стоят, сидят, точнее. Кого наняли, блин, за 5 рублей шутипа какого-то просто. Покажите, давай, дебил. Сорян. И на русском говорите, не русский, что согласен.
Man, I mean, this has some real potential on the side of Zest. I love this too.
Open zone.
I think it's one of the most dominant picks on this map. You can just get those
А режим-то, блин, убери. Вот этот,
вот
и поставь нормальный. Дебил. Какой глупый. Есть дебилы, а есть тупорылые дебилы. Вот кто там сидит на вот этим, он тупорылый дебил. Я отвечаю за переключение режимов. Вопросы? Ты дебил? Только честно. Ответь уже на вопрос. Мне очень важно знать.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and expect that they're running the jump pad for a little bit of extra momentum into the mid area. Perhaps it could also help to counter whatever they might be going for in tandem with the Poco because they do have last pick. But here comes out one tank counter at minimum. Tom's also going to be a pretty strong tank counter here because
у нас вот
you're
такая
never
вот
able to
ситуация
hit him
происходит.
because he
Том
always
взял
stays out of your
стул.
range.
Дрейк. Какого Драг или Дрейк? Дорогая, короче, взял Амбер и Линайн берет на слолу. Так, а у команды Z Поко, Гейл и Карл. Стул, в принципе, может перебивать там двоих. Карл может перебивать Амбер. А, ну Карл там соло просто. Просто вот запомните мои слова, Карл соло будет все делать. Но выиграет команда Трайп. Я на лоле вопросы.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one for sure. I like what I'm seeing on both sides. I think it's a bit more traditional inside of Tribe Gaming, but we do have that launchpad indeed. And unless this is something that
Смотрите, что
Tribe are
будет
really
вытворять
prepared
сейчас
for,
No
I
One.
could see it
Просто
catching them off guard.
смотри.
Especially if no one is constantly jumping in.
Понятно,
Loco can
Линай.
also cycle
Я
out that
так,
super
ну,
pretty
конечно же,
effectively.
это
Lanai is
стул.
dodging back and forth and does manage to pick
Это
the
лучший
kill onto
хиллер,
no one
блядь,
as well.
мира.
Tribe Gaming EU, they are
Просто
on
катается,
this
просто вот
point.
нажимает
Very
ульту и
firmly
все, у
locked in.
него
Here comes
каждую
the push
миллисекунду
break as
ульта
well,
есть.
keeping Loco back, burning him up. Thankfully, some healing comes in from Alonso. Here's the super in,
Ладно,
and
пошутил
the
насчет
catch
No
paired
One,
with it,
что там
but
какой-то
no one, he's still
бурят.
struggling to get some kills
Сорян,
here.
не, вот
Tribe
у
Gaming
Зеты
EU,
какой-то
they
пинг вообще
refuse to
какашки
let
полный.
this point behind.
Сорян.
Yeah, range is something quite
Но
complicated
только
here
Карл
on the side of
более-менее
Zest. Sure,
что-то
the Carl
будет.
does have a decent bit of
Вот
range, but,
Поко,
it's
когда
just
против...
at the advantage of
Хотя,
Tribe and playing max range
тоже
like that
знал,
is gonna be a complicated affair.
тоже
No one
знал,
does manage
когда
to find a
Линай
kill on
найдет
top on the right hand side. No
потом
one
дадут
going in. No
выбрать
one
Алонсу,
finds the kill, and that is
потом
gonna be enough to
Дрейк
get a
возьмет
couple more
Амбер
percentages on
какой-нибудь,
the
тоже
board
знал.
for Zest. They're not
Итак,
quite there.
происходит вот такая тема на ваших экранах.
Still have a decent
Я
bit
на
of catching
стенке,
up
я
to.
вот на этой,
Well,
вот
they're
этой.
just staying at the edge of the
Вопросы?
zone on the top side. Lanai, he's also taking serious damage. Down he goes to the
Так,
super
вот это
from
надо
Loco.
упасть.
Another kill as well, or
А
rather
почему у меня
a
вот
near
здесь вот-
kill onto Drage as he has to retreat. Here comes the ego down to protect him a little bit, but it's not going to offer
Везде,
too much
почему здесь
defense
это,
versus
видите,
Carl
мне
and his
чё,
piercing
только
damage,
там стоит?
nor versus Alonso. Little
Мне
burn
туда
on
и
no
туда
one,
очки
folks down on the
зачисляются
right side.
одновременно.
Tribe Gaming
Это ники
EU
разные.
begin to win back this zone. There's the team wipe.
Нет, все
And
нормально.
they
Тогда с кайфом, ладно. Так уж и быть. Чё меня залагало все?
take this
Нет, нет, лагает. Дебильный лый.
one back.
Big team wipe from Zest. Exactly. So sorry, from Tribe. Exactly what they
А
needed
чё, на
right
Твиче
here,
трансляция,
right
реально?
now, as they're getting closer and closer to the finish line.
Просто
Another
на стенке
jump
я.
that plays down the line is low HP. Drage trying to keep some control of the zone here, but Alonso and Loco are
Нет, я.
doing a good job as well. Drage finds the connection on Loco. Alonso is one shot. Eventually gets shut down, and it's all
Кто
up
дал?
to no one here to stop them from closing it out. Does find one kill and now was able to get it all the way to 90%. Tom, incredibly low HP, should get cleared up there, and eventually Loco does find a kill. It's incredibly close, and now Zest are in control of the zone. This is going to be the final fight to determine who takes game number one of talk. So Loco pulls, gets straight away. They're both in the zone 1%, and no one does it.
Зету
He's gonna
выиграли?
secure that first game again.
Подождите, я просто просрал всю матч весь.
What is Zest on today? They're taking
Sorry, весь
game
турнир всрал.
one in the
Подождите,
first
Зета
set,
выиграла?
game one
Или
in the
просрали?
second set, and completely out of nowhere as well. Running some stuff that is also
как
kind of out
так?
of nowhere. Here's a jump pad once again to start things
В смысле?
off. No one is seriously stuck in there at the end, getting that control towards the end and getting in close range versus
А
some others
как?
that struggle to pump out the DPS when someone
Трайберы
is right
всю
on top,
игру, блин,
especially
лидировали.
Tom, who was an
Всю
absolute
катку.
powerhouse in the last game. But this
Да,
time,
всё
Zest, not
понятно,
only are they going to
нубы.
get that early zone control, but they're holding on to it way better than they did in game number one. Lanai, though, is trying to
Умудрились
dispel some
проиграть
of
то,
this
что нельзя было
defense.
проигрывать.
Already circling in versus Loco on the
Гении.
left side. Alonso and no one trying to stay alive on the right. No one needs the
Комментатор
piercing
так
damage,
орёт.
but Drake stays barely out of range.
Вообще
There's a
реально
free
дебил.
spraying too. Logo goes down on the left.
Всего
Tribe
лишь
Gaming
какое-то
EU,
видео
it looks
идёт.
like they've gotten back mid-control.
Yeah, Zest capitalized much better
607
with
очков,
that
кстати, у
jump
меня же
pad
кто-нибудь
than in the
был.
first game. And yet Tribe was a great retake here of the mid, good presence, and that is
ну ладно,
one
побегает
big
он,
puddle
конечно,
from
сейчас.
Tom into the mid as well. If he gets the burn, he does connect it onto
Сольётся, и
Alonso.
Алонсо
That
тоже.
is going to be a kill. Loco in
Минус
a
Лока.
1v3,
Итак,
the team
происходит захват
wipe
точки.
in favor of Tribe Gaming, and they have the lead, they have zone
Кстати,
control. This
хорошая
is
тема
looking
Тома.
excellent for
Сжечь
them.
все кусты.
Big push break around the right side for Tom as
Еще
well.
чё
It's
не
gonna
рот
be an
этот
issue
запись,
for no one.
согласен.
Alonso, who need them to survive.
По
Here
сценарию
comes the
работают,
super
и
from
еще
no one,
что-то
but it's a
там,
little
какие-то
bit too
эмоции
late,
пытаются
actually.
из себя
Tom does
выдавить.
stay alive. Protective pirouette is
Тут же
supposed
сразу
to
видно, что
shield you
Трайб
from a
выиграл.
lot of damage, and it just came a little bit too late. Alonso also going down Loco. He's just a smidge away from dying. Little pushback as well as he's getting
Блин,
good
минус
dodge
Дрейк.
versus Lanai. No one
Как его правильно
now
читать,
takes his
Дрейк
place.
или
Need to see the kill
Драга?
onto Tom or Lanai. They're both super low. No one's going to go for it, but once again,
Нормально,
bursted down by
нормально.
Tom.
Думаю, что
Tribe
Трайб
Gaming EU, they lead confidently, but they need to win back this
Тихо, тихо,
mid-control.
тихо, Линай, брат.
Wow, what a lead from
Nice.
Tribe. Zest was a decent retake, but
Детство
not
за
one that
Tribe.
seems to be holding for long. Now on has been struggling
Совсем
much
другие
more
игры.
this game as
Согласен,
well. Tribe has done an
дебильные.
amazing job at shutting him down. He goes
Это.
in for a final attack.
Линай, фу,
Pushing
фу,
Tribe
фу.
back, but not a successful
Сигнал знал,
one.
что ты дурак
Tribe
какой-то, больно.
tie things up, and again,
Кринж кидать
we
в
are going to game
2025
3.
году.
A lot of struggles there for Carl, unfortunately, because versus Amber, he should be able to
Понятно,
gadget in and then
токсики.
immediately super, but you can just sense the pressure that Tribe Gaming EU is applying here because,
Дебилы, сорян.
frankly,
Смотрел видео,
that's
спойлер
not
нарисовал.
necessarily how
Я тоже
Carl
смотрел.
usually works in this
Меня
interaction.
зафиксировали.
We'll have to see, though, if it changes up in this next one because
Ой,
we saw in
Линай,
set
я
number one as
думал,
they
тебе
changed up the
лучше
lanes, they try to make it work
умения.
here. Zest, they got to go for anything that they can get as his
Воу-воу-воу,
all-time tied up in the set.
Что творится, Найн? Красава. Всегда знал, что ты красава.
match's lead, but the first kill goes the way of Tribe. I mean, zone control now. Alonso burning
Брен
down.
купил в следующем году билет зрителей, там хорошо.
As now Tribe have a solid foothold in the mid. Zest.
Подожди, вот это что такое? Почему полоски нету? Там что за дебил сидит, криворуконогий, алло? Он совсем дебил, он не видит, не знает, что такое полоска поставить. Трайб как бы выиграли. То есть здесь он поставил, да. Непокупные там сидят, да? О, нет, его говно игра. Там, кстати, эксклюзивный пин получает по QR-коду только те, кто на чемпионате присутствует вживую. Понял? Я же говорил сразу, вообще, знаю историю.
Zest here, they're getting staggered so hard as they come in one by one. Thankfully, they're going to regroup.
А, вот здесь вот есть, то есть, да? Здесь есть, а там не было.
Maybe it's no one's job now. There's a flying hook in, but he gets tripped up next to the wall. His super is left, but he doesn't even get to use it. The pressure is mounting, and Zest fall once again after a game one victory. But this is so much more than we expected to see from this roster. Certainly an impressive showing, but once again, they have to generate this into some set victories. Tribe now heading into set number 3 with 2 set victories under the belt already. They're one game away from that match point.
One thing that is absolutely worth pointing out here is just the adaptation that Tribe Gaming EU is capable of, losing both first games of their sets and you know,
Кринж, конечно, полный,
the
ребят,
first one was a bit of a stomp, a bit of a surprising one too, and that second one, in the second set, it was a huge clutch, and yet games 2 and 3 they managed to just make a night and day difference, coming much more confident, pop off, hit those shots, keep them away from the objective, and dominate. Tribe Gaming playing fantastically here, but as you said, Zest catching everyone off guard, because talking to the players, talking to everyone here at the World Finals, most people starts where Zest were maybe, you know, bottom of the round of 16 or maybe 1 or 2 spots up, but they were around the bottom of people's rankings, and they are definitely surprising us here with this. At least a 2 for sets.
Not the ideal place to find yourself in, not the ideal place to be told that you are at the very bottom, and we've been proven wrong, right? Everyone here has been proven wrong, but the ultimate way to do it is to get some wins on the board. We see some games up there. We need to see sets. We need to see this go to at least a set 4 for Zest to truly prove themselves versus this roster. And I'm going to return back to something that I think we observed in a large way. The pressure. It was clearly mounting so much. Some blunders started appearing there towards the end of that last set. Yes, it was pretty much all but lost for Carl there, but not being able to get that gadget around the corner, that's the kind of stuff that reveals, you know, these are pro players. They had to work so hard, they play so well to get to this stage. It's got to be some external force causing that stuff to happen.
No, you make a valid point, and honestly, I think looking at the draft, I think the card was a final pick, right, for Zest. So when you have a final pick and it's probably the least impactful one on the entire map, a bit of a mistake there. That if they managed to rectify, I feel they really could have just taken that set. So a bit sad for them because they've had a lot of opportunities to win those 2 first sets, and they've been so close to doing so. And yet it's Tribe up 2-0 now. As we have a Gene first pick on the side of Tribe Gaming EU after they banned out Max, Squeak, and Piper. Zest banning out Eve, Bonnie, and Brock.
And I like the Gene first pick. I mean, on Out in the Open in particular, you can get some pretty good value with the vision gear, but also simply the presence of the bushes. If you use speed gear, you can really surprise your opponents popping out of those bushes, getting really long distance on that pull. But here comes the B, and here comes the tick as well. That tick super is going to be blocking out a lot of damage from Gene potentially. Also, B just at the ready, always going to have that honey molasses to block any kind of Gene pull. The counters to Gene are quite clear, but it still opens the doors in terms of how exactly do you counter the brawlers on the enemy team. Already, a thrower has been picked. Tribe Gaming EU start picking up some ways of playing a versus.
For me, Gene is just such a strong brawler on this map. Whether it's the vision gear that enables you to just have so much info on your opponents, or just the pull, you know, and the magic puffs as well on knockout are devastating for your opponents. We'll see a Griff and a Gus picked up by the side of Tribe. They've been loving those 2 brawlers in the last couple of months, and understandably so. Gus, as a support brawler, provides just so much to the team with that super, but also is a perfectly capable duelist. If you hit those shots, pop a gadget, claim a kill, and it's as simple as that. Otis is going to be the final pick on the side of Zest. Any comps your favor here, Ready?
I definitely am more used to and more adapted to what Tribe Gaming EU has to offer, though I think that this might be a pretty inventive approach from Zest, because I think the pretty clear strategy here is that Tribe Gaming EU, they intend on, at least as a last-ditch effort perhaps, throwing that shield onto Drage. He gets passive healing because he's Griff. He does great damage in close range because, yeah, he's Griff. And Otis's intention is to silence him up. He's what? Yeah, he's got the money on lock. Okay, let's check out what Zest has to offer. Already, up the left lane, a little wall break as well. Gonna be keeping Griff back, and Lenazzi gonna be using the jump pad. That's a little bit different.
Yeah, trying to catch them off guard, get some good positioning off the bat, and it worked. Looking at the positioning from Zest, now they are all the way back in their spawn. No one was a big tag onto Lena. Lena is able to pull out and stay careful. As so far, it is still a massive control advantage in favor of Tribe, but at least HP-wise, Zest have managed to recover without losing a single player. Need to be careful, and now does have a super now as well.
Нет, я уже получил, вот. Через пару минут тыкну еще. Итак, пока что ничья, на ваших экранах. Ты еще никого не убил вроде. По крайней мере, я не видел, значит, никто не убил никого. Длина на минус делает.
From Drage connects, and it's only Loco left in a 1v2. Is he
Minus
gonna go for
Loco.
it? He is indeed. Can he make it work? He gets
Я
one.
думаю, Том
Does he get the
убил,
second?
да.
Tom
Найс.
is gonna shut him down.
Первый буря за
A brilliant attempt here from Loco in the 1v2, but not a successful one, unfortunately, for Zest, and that is going to be some lost utility as well. But surely he's still fairly close to his next super too, so that shouldn't be the biggest problem. Drage does have a pool, so Zest cannot afford to overextend.
It's been the theme this entire match. Zest, they look so good, but they need to get some wins here, and they have to turn things around, because if this round goes away of Tribe Gaming EU, it's gonna be a match point incoming for the guys. And that is the least optimal situation for Zest. Still though, they have to find some control. Alonso's gonna be doing his best to come back and keep him isolated. He has that tick super ready to go at a moment's notice. Drage also has a pull ready to go. As soon as that poison starts closing things in, he's gonna be ready to use it. He's also ready to grab things through walls, and Loco and Alonso to make sure they don't get pushed back too far.
Yeah, they always need to be careful now, as the gas is gonna force them into the mid. Alonso taking a little bit of damage, gonna place down the tick head. Is it gonna be enough for Drake to take it down?
Минус Дрейк,
That is
понятно.
a huge kill as Lena is next in line, and it's only Tom in a 1v3 finds one. Can he find another? No, he won't. And this time around, it is gonna be Loco to close it out. 1-1 in this game.
Great game sense there as well. They knew that they would be able to lay enough damage into Drage to take him down in spite of the shield. And Alonso off of that has also cycled his super out once again. No one has his super too, but he's got to get some brawlers in closer range in order to make use of it. And he has to be careful about the looming threat of Drage. He could be anywhere inside of these bushes. And Alonso's trying to gradually push him back. Meanwhile, Loco, he's going to be careful about moving too close to these options on the backside. Lena, though, is still going to be pushing in spite of that defensive play. Drage also has a super ready to go. It's the same situation as last time, and now we have to see the pull. Oh, it was a bait. Drage flashed the super. Here we go.
Дрейк засейвил просто Линайна. Красава. Спасибо тебе за действие.
Oh my goodness, the teamwork on Tribe to make it work. But a beautiful strategy from Zest too. Lena that was muted and could not deal with the tick. Had the pull. Connects onto Alonso.
Линайн убивает кого? Я не увидел кого, вроде бы Алонсо. Минус Лока и минус Нован. Все. Первый раунд вообще за Трайбом. Ура, ура. И детство за Трайб. Ура. Тут реально было 5. Хотя если сейчас Трайб выиграет, то смысл дальше играть. Ну да. Сейчас Трайб выиграет, и все, и другая команда. Ты плутал? Да, и у меня тоже. Не надо, потом в игру зайдешь, и тебе дадут.
Zest, they have to rise up to the challenge and claim this and push us to yet another match point in order to get a set victory.
Вроде бы заходит в игру. Компьютер почему, не знаю, почему компьютер просто так, наверное. Итак, команда Зета прожимает немножечко команду Трайб. Да нет, ничего не ложится.
Tribe pushed back and uncomfortable trades a bit isolated as well, but a huge pickup.
Итак,
Tom as no
Лок
one
убивает
falls
Дрейк,
Loco with a beautiful
Дрейга,
trade out to Drake.
Клозам убивает Нована.
Things open in a 2v2.
Получается 2 на 2 у нас, происходит атака титанов. Алонсо мантит очень жестко и очень мощно. Минус Том, не минус Том. Еще пока что живет Том, уже не живет, уже минус Лока, если Лок убивается, то умирает и... Алонсо. Хорошо, что он ульту потратил ульту, вообще был бы кильфу. Надеюсь, Трайб как-то камбэкнутся, и с кайфом все будет.
Certainly a commendable effort there towards the end by Lena, but they still need to get a couple of rounds in here in order to close out the match. Oh, early kill there, Tom. He popped the gadget to get that kill shot onto Loco, and now already it's a 2v3. This is not looking good for Zest as we speak. They can afford to lose this round, but it's suboptimal. Here it comes, a kill on Lena, and now it's even down to a 2v2.
5-2 на 2.
Wow.
Дрейк, лоу хп. Стягивает Алонсо, добивает Алонсо. 1-2. Нован остается, и у него, скорее всего, нету шансов, потому что сейчас Том накопит ульту и накинет его на Дрейк. На Дрейга. Лоу хп Нован. И ему ничего не помогает. 1-1. И это решающий раунд для Трайб, я думаю, что... Прям матч из-за кого? А кто там играет? Я не помню, кто второй. Это Zeta-1, или Zeta какая-то там еще. И какой-то girlfriend компандент. Я за второго.
Tick Super 2, but just like we've seen before, Tribe, they gradually push these guys back. No one almost gets tapped up there by Tom, but we still find ourselves in a 3v3. The poison is a looming threat, though.
Данил Тихо, ты на канал подписан или нет? Но вообще, если так посмотреть, то по пику, конечно же, вот это чуть пожестче. Ну, как по мне. Но тут вот прям очень жестко решает Джин, когда он нафидит себе ульту, вытягивает просто кого-то, и они будут. Здесь он красава, вообще легенда. -то. А я сразу говорил, что красава. Минус Том, не минус Том, минус Алонсо, минус Локо, минус Нован. Вот это повезло, ёкарный сырник. Не, ну за это не сдаются, красавы, жесткие, типа там играют, конечно.
They refuse to go down without a fight, without at least one game to their name. And no one, I don't think anyone said, well, maybe no one himself, right? But no one saw this coming. Zest, they gotta get one more game victory in here to push us to a set number 4. And hopefully, on their side, go for the reverse sweep. But they're the major underdogs, and they are still locked into a match point on the side of Tribe Gaming.
Wow! Tom shuts down no one on the left-hand side. Alonso not in the best position either. Loco also getting isolated on the right-hand side. This is not the start Zest wanted. They really wanted to hold on to that momentum, but that's not gonna be an option anymore. Two supers on both sides. Doubt they will be using them here as they really want to transfer them over to the next round. Tribe Gaming EU again. This is their shot at the quarterfinals. They need just a single round.
Ultimate match point here for Tribe Gaming EU. Just one round is all they need. Each kill here could be permanent for the rest of the World Finals. There's the pull that we needed to see. Right onto the Tick Super. Almost a kill. Oh my gosh, that was almost a huge blunder there by Drake. Thankfully for him, he's able to stay alive. Here comes another super. Down goes down goes no one. Alonso is tapped up by the smoke.
Лока остается соло, просто двоих против Тома и Дрейга. Конечно же, нету вообще никаких уже шансов, как по мне. Что-то будет невозможно, если он как-то вообще выиграет. Тут Дрейк по КД просто накидывает и все. Реально будет чудо, если он выиграет. Я прям поверю. Также поверю.
If there is much of a chance at all, but he's gonna give it his all either way. Doesn't have the mute, but at last, Tribe close it out, and they are locked in
Получается, это катка вообще за рэп, точнее не катка, как это называется? Ну вы поняли, первая вообще, даже не игра, как это называется? Первый матч, короче, за трайбом, во. Отлично, плюс 125 на базу, где?
No one expected them to be bringing out this kind of performance, and yet they stood up to the Titans. They gave it their best shot and got some game victories as well.
Man, there was not all that much in it, considering it's a 3-0.
Yeah.
It does not do Zest justice. They performed incredibly well
Сюда
today.
125,
They can be very proud of all that they achieved. Look at
А я
that one.
живот
Beautiful
поставил,
as
видишь,
well.
125
Nearly
дали.
taken home, just
Nice.
a little bit in it, but tried.
Сейчас мы
They
быстренько скины все
remain
заберем,
ice
золотаем кайф,
cold
быстрее
and
скина.
unmoved here. As Zest did throw a little bit of
Кто
a
станет
wrench in their
ТМП? Быстрее,
plans here and
выбирай.
there, catch them off
А кто
guard.
там развалил прям
Sometimes
дико? Кто?
especially in those
Давай,
first
Дрейк
games
и
of the
Дрейк.
sets. But in the end,
Выбрал
tried,
Дрейк.
able to just adapt better and learn
Nice.
from their mistake, adjust, and that made all the difference today.
О, у меня уже
And I
скоро
think
скин будет.
adaptation is
870
really
у
the
меня.
name of the game
И
here
тебе
today,
сотку еще
because
дали.
you adapt to things that, of course, you're not familiar
Ну
with,
найс,
you have
скины
not
мы
seen
заберем
before,
точно уже.
and
Я уверен,
I
что у
don't
меня сейчас 20.
typically see a
Сейчас
Jake
вот матч
get
пройдет
into a
и
couple of
найс.
takedowns when it comes to heist,
Старпоинты
and
целые,
likewise, the
ничего
jump pad
себе.
strategy with Gale on hot
Как
zone, it sort
неожиданно
of
и
worked in the
вероятно.
first game of that set, and it sort of fell flat after that.
А, ну получается, если я сейчас
Man, with 11 kills and
угадываю,
knockout, and for a game mode
кто
like knockout, that
выиграл,
is super
кто выиграет
meaningful.
это.
This is the
125
world
дадут
champion
еще.
of 2019 of the roster, seriously showing
У тебя
why
так
he
и
still
так
got it.
дадут его туда
Yeah,
собрать.
I
не надо.
mean,
Так и
Tom,
так
man,
дадут, когда вы
the
выиграете.
anchor truly for Tribe Gaming
В принципе, тоже
EU,
насрать,
and
согласен.
we expect Rage and
За матч
Lemur to
получается
pop
по
out most of the
40-50 штук
time,
вот
but
за просто
he's
тычку эту.
always there,
А, ну
always
все.
performing,
После
and
этого
our
матча у меня будет
MVP
1000.
does go to Drage. He performed
Не, на ТНК
brilliantly
940.
in the
У меня
two
на
first sets.
снова
Honestly,
872,
even
и
in
на
the
ТНК
third,
столько
those
же.
gene pools
У Ярика
were
на Брозер Брена 300 с чем-то.
threw in and
340.
threw out. The 17-year-old
Я тебе говорю, задержка
British
приходит,
player
я приду,
was
ты
yet
просто
again
вот сюда
a
не приду,
great
ты все
performance,
Иванчику
as
скин
we'd
пришел
expect
тоже
from
не
Tribe
сразу.
Gaming.
Extremely impressive and also laying to
Кстати,
rest
в КБ
any concerns
вообще
about a
очень
maybe
сильно отыграли.
inconsistent roster as well. As we move towards the end of the year, they started getting very, very dominant. And
Блин,
even
Иванчик,
versus a
как
team
всегда.
like Zest,
Да не
admittedly,
слабый
they
еще, но я
did
верю, у
lose
нас мы
3
можем
games
выйти и
overall
на
across
9
all of
место.
those sets. But I think we can really chalk
Бля.
that to a strong showing from
Ой,
Zest.
бля.
But as far as tomorrow, I mean, we still got to find an opponent for them, sure. But I expect a strong showing from this team.
Вот, сейчас
Yeah,
Мат
it did
Гейминг
not
Бэр, я
feel
за них
like Pride
проголосовал.
were, you know, struggling.
Я, конечно, не шарю вообще. Знаю то, что Z
A much
красавчики.
fiercer opponent than most of us have
Халява.
anticipated. It does mean that 2 out of our 3 LATAM South teams are now officially
Все, просто положи
out.
телефон, тебе не нужен.
There's one left, and
Смотрим здесь. Наушник надо, что ли?
you guys can see on the screen who
Right.
they're facing.
Нет?
It is going to be a doozy. It is
Выбирай
gonna be an
что-нибудь,
extremely
пофигу.
tough
Кто...
roster. And of course,
Я не
if
знаю,
you
2
want to
пускай будет,
predict
типа лоу.
what the outcome of this match is, and hopefully win some in-game rewards,
3
some nice
правильно.
goodies, a skin
Ну
at the
ладно.
end of the road as well.
Ну всё равно плюс 10, пофиг.
Brawlstars.com is the place to go.
Чё
Place
хочешь,
your
выбирай в
predictions,
следующий раз,
interact with the
насрать.
stream. You saw the predictions on stream earlier. It was 15% in favor of Zest, and not amazing,
Капец,
but
я
that's
тоже
what
хочу
people
смак.
said, and it's what you
Капец, у
can
вас,
say too
наверное,
if you
каким-то
head on
образом
over to the
одинаковые ставки
platform
получились.
and
Как так-то?
vote.
Блин, даже не
Of course,
знаю.
we're thinking ahead to this next matchup as
Нет.
well. Zeta Division 0 versus Chazmac Gaming
7-2.
VR, and we've already said goodbye.
Ну
as
вот,
we
потому что
mentioned,
дали
to
10,
two of
тебе
those
дали
teams
тоже.
from LATAM South. This is second seed from LATAM South in form of Chazmac Gaming VR. Do you think they have what it takes to stay in the competition and continue to represent this region?
Man, it's a
Man.
tough one because there's so much on the line. I mean, not only
Я всё
is
КВ
it the
слишком...
last LATAM
Блядь,
South
я всё КВ
representative
с
at
пиком
the
отыграл,
World
типа лютый,
Finals,
да.
but
Да, ага.
their sister team,
А мы с
Chazmac
Седаном
Gaming
Дроном один
EU,
раз вроде выиграли
the
за
same
4
org,
катки.
right? They got knocked out by Zeta Division 1
Точнее, за 4
yesterday.
катки. А,
So
за 4 катки.
brutal start of the World Finals here for both LATAM South and Chazmac specifically.
Списал.
I mean, it's a
Друг.
tough one for
Списываем, только
Chazmac
не
here
точь
because
в точь.
Zeta are just so good.
Well, let's flip the
Так же,
script,
друг.
right? Zeta Division 0, let's talk about them. It's been a pretty good World Final so far for Zeta Division, the sister team as well, and just the East Asia region overall. Zeta
если мы
Division 0,
выиграем,
we're going to be
мы
welcoming
угадаем,
them
если
to
вот
the
эти
stage and
выиграют.
all the teams
А, так,
as
блин,
well.
15%
Let's
что
hand
они
it over to
выиграют.
Damascus.
Блин, Z дивизион
bien qu'on aille dans
0.
la foule, il y a beaucoup de
Зира
bruit,
от
est-ce qu'on
слова
est chaud
0,
Paris?
вывод их несут 0. Согласен. Титан, побольше, кстати,
Il y
капсуль
a du
пиши, ты
bruit,
на
un
своих
premier
ошибках
match, un
не
bon
учишь.
premier match, c'est l'heure
Мне
de
120 очков
lancer
всего лишь
le
осталось.
deuxième match. On a eu la Division 1 qui a
Ты
gagné
их выбрал, я
hier
за его
dans un
выбрал.
clash des mêmes organisations et c'est l'heure pour la deuxième équipe, pour leurs collègues. Ils ont 2 champions du monde dans leur équipe. Un max de bruit pour Zeta Division 0.
Тут где-то порвет, сейчас выиграет. Я хз, я как Ланчика просто. Релеп же всех кого-то выиграл. Как так можно писать? Настолько вот прям гуляют. Может не выиграть 0, но же там. А прикинь, сейчас вот за час смока никто не проголосовал, но они просто сейчас вот так вот. Зету. Тут Зета разорвет. Кого я выбрал тебе сказать, да? Я ж тебе скидывал. А, не, я же тебе скинул и удалил. Бразильцы выиграют, да какой? Арабы везде в 4 пальца играют, так не победить. Это корейцы, привет, азиаты. У меня также, кроме
Et de l'autre côté, on a vu Chasma Gaming EU hier, il en reste un représentant de Chasma Gaming cette fois, c'est l'Amérique du Sud. Le Brésil, c'est le pays le plus représenté dans ces finales avec 8 joueurs et Chasma Gaming qui est un peu le dernier espoir. Un max de bruit s'il vous plaît pour Chasma Gaming du Brésil.
Du Brésil.
Pekka and Fire Grow. Edinho also in the back. Ready in case, you know, in another match they want to swap as they do have a 4-player roster. They are the second seed in Latin South. They did play the World Finals 2021.
Chasma Gaming du Brésil.
Он сказал du Brésil. For MSI this year, but they did win 2 monthly finals and the Keizo Cup Summer in LATAM. Overall, a team with a lot of accomplishments and a lot of experience on the international stage.
They were extremely strong going into this year. Of course, as you mentioned, being former INTZ, those members of INTZ being Fire Pro, Tufa, and Edinho, and you said, Edinho, he's going to be taking a seat for now, right? He's going to be on the bench for a bit. And Pekka, well, he's going to be taking his place.
Мне уже будет насрать, если честно. После этого матча я 100% забираю скину. Ты у них лично спросил, да, я тоже.
Leading them to victories in numerous monthly finals in their home region. However, how will they be able to stand up versus arguably the most dominant region in the world with both Zeta teams qualifying?
Both teams have a point of in common as well, is that they have a bit of a World Finals rookie brought onto Worlds 2022 as crew for Zeta Division 0, and then Pekka.
Ладно, какую идею пока что включить звук и включить музыку? Потому что не очень интересно слушать, как они что-то там базарят. Сырили. Бури. А, вот это таких хроматик, чтоб... Ага, давай, чате. Пожалуйста, music is good.
Дым раздавил всю мою грудную клетку. Твои тупые речи в районе километра. Убивает все живое, боже, что с тобой не так. Нанесешь мне удары, но сама не понимаешь. Наша лафа, она как лед, а значит постоянно тает. Мы с тобой несовместимы, будто радиант и тает. Перестань меня держать рядом с собой. Тебе не нужны цветы, тебе нужны мозги. Дура, просто уходи из моей груди, как дым. Уравнения верны, тебе пора валить подругам. И мозги.
Он вкинулся или что? Соли. Я кинулся вопросов. Вопросов нет, сори. Супер бич, супер пляж, кто не понял. Ладно, все, катка. Что делали вообще не жестко там.
Only once, it's happened multiple times in the past, so they've proven that they might not be that much of an underdog anymore. Our bands are lined up. It's going to be Janet, B, and Buster on the side of Zeta. Chasmac taking out Barley, Janet, and Squeak. The first pick of Otis on their side.
Мне на самом деле уже не принципиально. Сейчас 2 раза словлю вот эти 2 синих кружочка вот эти. И, точнее, красных у меня. Мне дадут 20. И в конце катки там выберите мапа и все, сотка халявная. Очень жесткий фаеркроу. Не шарю за часмака вообще абсолютно. За это я видел в том чемпионате Мира. А здесь не шарю вообще абсолютно. Кирилл, кстати, подпишись. Один волосок фаеркроу соло, потому что я так сказал. Согласен, кстати. Огненный ворон, кто не понял перевод. Здорово, Евсей. Так. Вот Тенца, я знаю, он прям жестко мансит. Я подписался, спасибо. Тенца прям жестко мансит под этот стул. Я знаю то, что он жестко мансит, я видел в том чемпионате, как он играл за Макс на этом. На Макс, короче, на карте там какой-то баунти. На открытой, короче. Так он жестко мансил дальников. Стоп, Эш, а карта какая, извините меня? А, ну так-то нормально. Я почему-то подумал, то, что сейчас баунти. Блин, силы матч могилы. Спасибо, Никита, не думал стать работать переводчиком. Нет. Вроде здесь норм подходит. Но если ты играешь нормально, то я думаю, почему бы и нет, с кайфом.
It could still be enough to just power through, especially when you initially spawn really close to your opponent's goal. That can be very dangerous. We'll see, though, as their final pick kicks, and it's gonna be the max.
Какой заход стал этот Бравл, блин?
Healing, they'll go for more speed, so you spend less time taking damage, so you need less.
Ты делаешь шутки, ланчик сила. Хорошо шутишь, не думал пойти на... ПК, кстати, ПК, кто не понял. Что за куру? У них что-то другое было. Я не понял, как за один день накормили 1К, у меня сейчас 900.
Really open things up, you decide to go for a beat. It's Gale, dude. You lock that ball in the corner, you can throw up the twister, you can protect that ball for a full 36 seconds or so by use of that gadget. It can be quite toxic in some scenarios as well, but ball cornering, it's always the meta. Let's get into it. Chasmac getting VR, they're already getting aggressive on this right lane with Tufa, but they have
пытается попасть в Тенца, но, как мы знаем, Тенца один из самых лучших монтеров на планете Земля. Итак, Куру убивает Пеку. Куру, я думаю, будет разбивать эти, если у него не тот самый хак, Блять, сегодня Тенке еще Тара будет пищайшая. А у меня Тенке на основе сегодня будет. Ой-ой-ой. Еще у Ярика на аккаунте на том. Ой-ой-ой, да? Кайфа? Халявная Тара, почему бы и нет, да? Так, и так, потенциально пытаются попасть люди, но что-то у них это как-то слабо выходит. Туфа сейчас откидывается, как всегда. Один из лучших игроков Туфа, кто не понял. С детства за Firecrow. Первый раз на Даниле вижу. Вообще команда честно впервые слышу.
Have that very threatening super from Tenside. Also, with so many walls broken open, Cruz is going to have a little bit more movement, but Firecrow can still operate at range. Not going to be too much of an issue, though. Cruz dashing right back up to Pekka to try and get rid of him. Tufa, though, is still a looming threat on the right side. Certainly giving some trouble to Achabi in terms of positioning, but not too much to offer in terms of damage. It looks like that turret moves up just a little bit more. Zeta Division 0, they're playing this game slow and controlled. They intend on continuously pushing that line of offense closer and closer to Chasmac's goal. But Chasmac getting taken for spawn just
запустил стрим по чемпионату в 2021 году. И у него онлайн сотка был. Почему у меня такого нет? Нечестно. Уже 1000.
Moving forwards, Tensai is going to get that stun down. Tufa still up, a nice heal as well. That comes through. Firecrow with the splash to get Kuru out of position, but he's dashing in and out and in and out. Eventually does get caught by Firecrow. Chance maybe for Pekka, he's going for it.
Итак, Пекка сейчас может забить гол. Что? Часмак, я с детства за Часмак, честно скажу. Первая катка за Часмаком. Найс.
first game.
Ой,
5
первый.
seconds left. Is there a chance? I
Ну,
don't
поняли.
think so. And Chasmack, they'll be taking game 1.
Найс.
You could see the
А я сразу
nasty
сказал,
blood
Чесмак
pouring
это
in the
лучшая
guy's
команда
head
Земли.
from a mile away, and yet it still
Представьте,
came
как просто
through.
чесмаки сейчас
What on
охренели.
earth is this
Пека
from
соло,
Pekka?
согласен.
That's why they picked this guy up on the roster. That is why they are such a powerhouse now.
Найс.
And to take that first
900,
game
еще
off of
80.
Zeta Division Zero
80?
is such a
Что еще?
statement, but we also
А
saw
последних
it with the
секундах. Пека
previous
красава.
underdog
Я ему
match, right?
лирически руку
Cannot
показал.
call the match just yet. In fact,
Почему
far
не
from it already. Good aggression on the left side. Kuru is going to be winning that lane matchup. Tufa on the right side also.
Получается,
having
сейчас
significantly more
Чесмаку
trouble
забить
in
гол и
that
просто
first
в
game.
дефе сидеть.
Now brought down to a
Больше
2v3,
нафиг
but
ничего
soon
не
to be a
надо.
3v3 once more as Pekka resumes his position on that
Так.
left lane.
Yeah, Tufa
Была бы армия скелетов, задефил бы.
going aggressive on the right side, and this could be a big chance here for
Бревно
CMG
соло.
if they're not careful
Или зап.
on the side of Zeta.
Или яд.
They
Или
defuse
землетряс.
that push quite efficiently.
Что, может после
Let's see
стрима
if they can hold it up.
фильм
As Tensei does
подрубить,
get
«Форсаж
muted, he
4».
goes
Так,
down.
большая.
Guru in a
Отвечаю.
tough
Кто
position.
вообще будет
Goes
готов
down
прийти?
too, but
Завтра
that burn
выходной, с
onto
кайфом.
Pekka keeps him too low to really attempt
А?
any sort of push. That means that for
Да,
now,
после
Zeta Division are
Чемпионата.
still in the clear, but Pekka has that super, and we saw earlier how quickly things can escalate.
We'll talk about quickness. Here comes Pekka around the left side. He's got some bad intentions.
Oh.
Oh no, he's going
Так.
for it. Well, it pays off at least
Блядь,
in the
ты
form of
щ-
one
не,
kill.
тут не забить,
Choppy's going to
согласен.
attempt to
Вообще
play it
жестко, если
defensive
забить.
with this ball. Good kill as well.
Туфа,
to
туфа,
Pekka.
туфа.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing you can only get away
Ладно,
with one
нормально.
time a match. Tufa,
Я
he
ГГ,
also
к
had an idea
сожалению.
of going for that
Понятно.
ball, but
Хороший игра, ты
Kuru
понял все.
respawned just in time. He does have his rage meter filled all the way up. It's going to peter off a little bit, but it does
А
get
другие
back
как
from
на это
Pekka.
смотрят?
Now looks for positioning. Has to be cautious
Свободно
on the 10
отвечает,
side because that is his
пойти,
biggest
подпасти.
counter. But here comes a little bit of damage from Fire. Kuru
Пека
continues to
соло,
push
Пека
forward, down to
перебивает
close
Куру.
by Pekka. It's now
А что
down
за
with
Куру
3v2.
вообще? Я его впервые
Choppy
вообще вижу и
get
слышу.
close in here if he's not careful. Great stun.
Макс
Tensei
согласен,
with
жестко
Fire up
проходит.
towards the top
А, ну
side, still
так-то,
gets taken
чисто
down.
по идее.
Gotta see the pass of the
Сейчас
Fire
гол.
Bro. Maybe something up to Tufa. Everything's
Yeah.
Да,
Yeah,
найс.
yeah.
Сюда!
It's a goal for
Чесмак
Chasmack.
лучший.
Wow, Chasmack.
Все, 40 секунд просто в дефе посидите и нормально.
And
Вы
Zeta
выиграли.
Division Zero need to start being really careful if they still want to
С
stand a
детства за
chance in that
Чесмак
first set.
гейминг бр.
There's 30 seconds left and they're still short a goal.
Tufa around the right side. He's gonna opt to corner this one and play a little bit more defensive. He knows how guarded a Choppy can be on his in lane, but thankfully here's the lane swap. Tensei also cycles out of super that way.
Сюда, мать.
Tufa charged right in. What was
Кто
he
не верил в
expecting
Зету,
to get
сори,
hit right in
ребят.
the face by the super? Certainly. Pekka,
Ой,
though, is
чё-
still getting super
чё-
aggressive.
кто не
There's a
верил,
kill
Чесмака,
blowing
сорян.
right through Tensei. A Choppy falls shortly after.
Чё с
It's
лицом?
just Tufa versus Kuru.
Ну, на самом
And he's
деле,
gonna be
одна
approaching
катка
this
не
goal
доказать.
with nothing but bad intentions. Corner in the
Найс.
ball. There it
Пека
is.
красава.
You pick
Сразу
Gale.
говорил,
You
что он
expect to corner
красава.
the ball yourself, and he'll show you how it's done.
Я
with
видел в
the
этой катке только Пегу,
amazing
как он
play.
давил.
Really the last thing I expected here, but when we look at the stats, it's the weakest mode for Zeta Zero and Chasmack Gaming BR. Man, did they show these guys up.
I mean,
Чесмаки
how often
красавчики.
do you just, corner up the ball in your opponent's side of the map?
Все из-за того, что они
Beautiful
анимешники на
from
Зете.
Chasmack
Да.
Gaming, and what an explosive start here to this round of 16.
Я сразу
match.
говорил.
Zeta Division Zero challenged off the bat, but as you mentioned, Bravl is, arguably a better mode for Chasmack. So they have
Вот
the
это
matchup
жестко
here.
было,
I
кстати.
think their draft definitely
Я
was
уже, кстати, не
a
верил в видео.
surprising one, and they popped off. They popped
посмотри,
off, and
что
just
творит
look
Пека.
at the energy
Еще вот
from
здесь.
Chasmack.
Но здесь,
Pekka,
на самом деле, было понятно, что
amazing
они
max
забьют.
performance
Они просто
against the
продавили.
Zetas themselves, and that's coming from a rookie, a first-timer here at the World Finals. Phenomenal stuff off the bat from Chasmack.
You just
Красавчик,
gotta be
красавчик
worried when they pick a Max and an Ashe, and you
Да.
can absolutely go for a Gale yourself. They know something that you don't, and what Chasmack Gaming
Нет,
BR knows
сразу.
as well, how to get a whole lot of kills, but
Куда
it
не
seems
лезут
like Kuru
молодые.
also tuned
Из
into
детства
those,
за Чесмака. А я тоже
those
это
ledges as
говорил
well, because
всегда.
the guys
И
have
мальчик
been
не
pretty
верит,
clean with some
Чесмака
kills on his side.
типа лол.
However, kills, they're not the objective here, right? It's brawl, ball. You put the ball in the goal.
It's bro, bro.
It's not that simple. However, Chasmack Gaming VR sure make it look that way.
Yeah, I
Я
know
чё,
you're
ни одну
American. We
ставку
know
не
how
угадаю,
football
ну да, и чё?
works over here in the MEA in Paris. Just
Зеты вообще кто?
But,
Какие-то
yeah,
попуски,
you're
что-то
right, though.
слышал.
Playing the objective is
Видимо,
key,
пора в
and as
казино.
we are moving on here
Согласен. Депчик,
to
я помню небольшой,
heist,
1100.
it's gonna be key as well. It's taking a very long time actually to really develop the meta and the main strategies for this game mode. It used to be more focused on, getting getting kills, and then it was more about keeping control and getting some chip damage on save, a bit more slow of an approach. But yeah, as we can see from the bans, there are some crazy options available.
Это не нереально мощно, но как-то проиграли. Согласен,
Buzz is definitely
согласен.
one of them that is going to be banned out here by Zeta Division 0, as well as the M's and the Barley.
Забанили Базля, Эмс, Барли, Бастера, Бустера, Гейла и Карла. Непонятно, для чего забанили Гейла. Там из-за этого овощи неправильно встали. Возможно. Может, чесак слабый. Я всегда с детства за чеснок. Первый раз я, конечно, вижу, но я с детства за них. Я как только родился, сразу чеснок гейминг Бэра услышал. Первые слова в жизни мои были, которые я вообще озвучил.
For forcing him to run the second gadget instead. Still, a lot of other simply good options that you can go for here. A lot of things that Chazmat Gaming
чате
can
берут
go
Гавса.
for. They can get creative here with a couple of picks on their side.
Yeah, definitely plentiful of options.
Рикошета берет у нас кто? Firecrow.
Rico is still in a really good place. Bouncy Castle is one of
Ну,
the
Рикошет, кстати,
stronger
хороший
gadgets
пик.
in
Я
game.
КВ за
Just his
Рикошета
bounce
разваливался.
mechanic enables him so
Без
many
шансов.
different
Титан
options,
подтвердит,
just
который
out
не дрона.
lanes.
Почему-то
The
Титана
pure
не дрона
1v1
здесь
is
нету,
more
хотя он
often
написал
than not
хорошо
really
босс
superior.
в Телеграме. Ну все ясно,
Is
крыса.
counters the
Всегда
heck
это знал,
out of,
сорян.
Ruff's sandbags too, so you have some great matchups there. Let's see what Chazmat Gaming BR decide to pair it with, and it's gonna be an Otis, a brawler that has become more and more of a staple of highs. I remember when Otis released, and especially once he got buffed, we saw him a lot in highs, not very successful most of the time, but teams have really
Понятно,
figured
плюс
out how
НКНК
to bring the
Натару
most out
набрал
of
уже
Brawler.
лютый, да,
And, I mean,
согласен.
talk about min-maxing here, just to get some good value out of that gadget, use it to counter out the rough specs. You can throw down that shot.
Тупо
right
взял,
on top of
кстати.
the, Colonel rough specs, take him out pretty easily, unless of course they're placed around
You
the
have
corner.
so
which
much
might be-
DPS with Otis. Just
Super
shoot at
heal.
the sandbags. you
Oh,
know?
it's the
Oh.
thing.
Было
I said the
забанить.
thing. I said the thing.
No.
I knew it. I knew it.
no.
I wasn't about to
Не,
say
ну
it
так тут
today
Отис
because
тоже
it kind of
жесткий
fell
пик.
flat on
Тенсай
his face
берет у
yesterday,
нас
but I'm a
Ниту.
big fan of the Nita here. Now,
Там
what I'm not
медведь
a fan
соло,
of is
кто не
how
шарит.
it's gonna interact with Otis and
Кто
how
первый
it's
раз
gonna
еще
interact
в
with
Бравл
Rico. And
зашел?
I
yeah,
don't see.
Или
I
узнал
don't see
Бравле?
it. I didn't see it yesterday
Медведь соло.
for Stalwart versus Team Queso.
А медведь
I said
Тенсай
it,
тоже мотить будет.
and it didn't work. I'm gonna be honest. I have more faith in Zeta Division 0.
Было бы прикольно, если бы добавили такую
especially
механику,
when they have
чтобы за
Maxi
медведя
lineup.
просто начинать
But I
бурить.
don't know, man. I
Калра,
don't know. I'm
соло
never
всех
convinced
разнесет.
by the need, at least not in the recent meta. I
Возможно, сейчас,
want to be
кстати, Тару
surprised. I
бьют.
want to be
Макс?
shocked. And Zeta Division 0, they have the
Не, ну
capability
как вы
to do
знаете,
so
я
for
один
sure.
лучше на
well,
кольте
there is a
вообще.
wall
Я
break
бы кольта
possibility.
пикнул,
You can
100%
max speed
сейчас.
into the enemy base, maybe. I think really the big story
Тенсай не
here
на
is
макс,
that
поэтому
Nita,
можно
she's
кольта.
here expressively to counter out a tank as a last pick from
Ты
Chazmat
втираешь
Gaming
мне
BR, which is
какую-то
very, very
дичь.
threatening. There's not a single tank counter on the side of Zeta Division 0
Давай,
with the
отдыхай.
exception of
Спайка?
Brena. While she might be the number one that comes
Хороший
to
пик,
mind
всрали.
when you think of tank counters, she
А,
farms supers
Пека,
off
не,
of them
Пека
so
это я
easily.
знал,
She gets
что
them
он
in 4 or
лучше
5
на
shots.
спайке.
It can be really, really easy looking when you get down to it when it's played properly.
Ты
Here's a
сейчас
spike
на
though,
Мортисе
and
просто,
I
мне
think
кажется, на
really
ограблении
every single one of
развалился.
these brawlers is going to be fairly
Я
good
сразу
versus
знал.
Nita. The only exception
Вот здесь
in
сейчас,
my mind
ты
is
в той катке
Otis
так
because
же
he
говорил.
can't peek the shots as effectively as
Забирай.
Nita can. She has a deceptively large hitbox, and
Халявы.
I also think it's just a brawler that people aren't really used to
Погнали
playing
матч.
because she's been out of the meta for so long, and maybe
Детство
Zeta
за
playing to
Chazmat
bring back.
Gaming. Поднять
It's
щиты
three
за...
shot against both the Spike and the
Чесмак.
Rico, which can be
Это
quite
весь
scary.
состав Зета,
If
согласен.
they get too close or
Как
don't
можете
have
наблюдать,
a
тупо
clear
попадает
angle.
по
Let's
куру.
find out though as we
Пека.
jump
Я не
into
знаю,
the
Пека
second
поставил.
set, and so far
Тут
it
будет
is
трудно
Zeta
зайти,
just
согласен.
a little bit
Тут
more
просто сейчас
defensive
Пека
as
будет
Firecrow is
продавливать
trying to find an
постоянно.
opening, takes quite a bit of
А
damage.
Чапи?
Tensai
Топ.
is low HP as well.
Чего?
Pekka is just
А,
navigating
там же
towards that
менять
save,
можно.
is gonna get pinched.
А,
Shooty
это они
going
типа
down
надурили
here, actually
Тенсай.
gets a bouncy
А,
castle off, and
они
oh my
надурили,
goodness,
я
the Chappie
понял.
does
Тенсай
shut
все-таки
him
маг
down,
сделал.
but still
Я понял,
some damage
хорошая
done there
была.
as it is a 2-on-2, a Chappie
Обманочка
heading
небольшая
towards that
для
save.
команды Чесмак.
Let's see how this one plays out as Kuru also gets into
Не,
a
ну тут
good
даже
angle
если
on the left
Тенсай
side.
на макс, ну типа
Choppy on
лоу.
the right side, he's making sure to go for some pinches here. Here's the
А,
bear,
ну,
going right over that
так-то
wall, and now it's
задефали.
Tooth and Pekka's problem with the faux fur. It's taking so much damage, and now with
Но
all
урон
the,
небольшой
with
проходит,
all
да,
the
есть
shots
такое,
baited
есть
out,
такое.
Tensai and Guru get to commit fire.
Отличная ульта от
Oh no!
Firecrow.
Pekka, he still has a super.
Одна из самых лучших,
Could be a
которые
bouncy
когда-либо
castle
видел.
pretty soon. He had to wait for that shot to reload. Meanwhile, down goes Tensai as well. Guru stays barely alive. The final shot
Ну,
from
это
Pekka
должен
coming
быть
in,
минус
but
от Чапи, да.
19% has been knocked off so far. Final shot in there from Firecrow to eliminate
Так, ну пока что по чесмаку небольшой урон прошел. По сейфу, точнее, чесмаков. Небольшой урон по сейфу этого прошел. И еще небольшой урон, и еще небольшой урон. Я тоже, кстати, лучше ульту. Я один лучше вообще сейчас на рикошете, когда за ПК играю. Блин, пеку чуть перебили. Я, кстати, на месте пеки, наверное, взял бы снаряжение на урон вместо скорости. Ну, потому что я красава. Фаеркроу сейчас залагал или что? Переигрываете? Алло, залагало? Планшеты лагающие дали. Что за говно? Понятно. Бракованный дали, и из-за этого сейчас Z выиграет Смоков. Блин, если сейчас что-то как-то получится, то от минуса чате. Урон! Найс! Сюда, лут! Как же легко! Пека, весь состав Z, как Вач написал. Я сразу говорил, что чесмаки это лучше. Лутай, лутай, лутай. Десятку лутай. Да. Зету разочаровало, неплохо отыгрывают. Согласен, жаль. Вот так вот Кирилл за Зету, блин, болеть. В том чемпионате они, конечно, жестко себя показали. Но в этом что-то бурят, то есть прям полный. Сенсей просто вся поверил, просто подумал, что он один из лучших на Макс. Как можно наблюдать, что-то неплохо получается бурить. Но сейчас вот, кстати, от Чапи лучше мансует, чем Сенсей, кто не понял. Ладно, сейчас хороший такой урон проходит по сейфу команды Чесмак. А вот не надо было бежать Чесмак, таким процентом голосования, согласен. Твой у меня 990, мне не хватит. Понятно. Минус Сенсей, я так понимаю? Нет, минус, окей. Ладно, на самом деле это ничего не значит, потому что это еще может камбэкнуть. 87%, кстати, уже на сейфе. Трайп? Трайп? Почему трайп? Зета? Даже этого никто не видел, как бы лоу, типа лоу. Лутай, лутай, лутай десятку. Ладно, не лутай десятку. Мне тоже не лутал. А, ну все, выиграли. О, понятно, Сенсей. Ну еще часто ты поплатишь за свои спины. Спин, точнее, за свой спин. Туда, кого туда, другалёв? Еще ничего это не значит, забанить Кирилл. Шутил. Да тут реально, тут уже все. Тут уже даже я не верю, потому что как-то Чесмак может что-то сделать. Тут трудно будет. Ну все. Окей. Дизы? Или... Ладно, красавчик. 1-1. Там как-то рикошет прям, ну вроде как-то норм отыгрывает, а вроде не норм. Есть такое? Какой-то рикошет получше должен подать. Сейчас нужно как-то проатаковать Чесмаку очень сильно жестко. А Чапи тут трудно очень, не знаю, как он вообще здесь что-либо делает. Потом. Давай, 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 пека, пека, пека. Ты должен по Чапе подать жестко. Минус Чапи, все, это урон большой. Да, я за Нави, конечно же. С детства за Нави. Хорошо, 10%, 11 снесли. Неплохо. 12 снесли. 13. Ой-ой-ой. Добивать нужно Чапи. Очень сильно нужно, чтобы добили Чапи. Или урон еще небольшой по сейфу нанести. Брена, если из этого проиграет, то не проиграет чем?
to a
Я
much
хз, я не
faster
шарю.
and more convincing victory by Zeta Zero. To see it earlier rather
Нави
than later in
топ.
the game like this with a minute 30 on the clock,
Тут согласен.
it's not a great look for
Даже
Zeta
похоже.
Zero, but they're
Так,
only
ну пока
trailing by a small
чесмаки
margin.
нормальный урон
Yeah, it's not
нанесли.
a lot when it comes to
Даже
save
при том, что они
damage that
в меньшинстве были.
makes the difference, but it could be enough. We've seen it
Итак,
happen so many times in
наш
the
хрона
past. Kuru
приходит
with
и
some
такой
beautiful
это расклад
dodges
игры.
on the left-hand side.
Пека
Making
нанесет.
sure he
А, нет,
stays
не
up,
нанесет. Я думал, что он сейчас
eventually
чуть-чуть
does
пойдет по сейфу
make a
еще.
bit of a mistake, gets reset, and that could be the chance.
Так, минус Тенсай нужно делать. Очень сильно нужен. Найс! Тенсай пытался что-то отмансить нам как-то. Минус Файр Кроу. Минус Куру. И сейчас будет урон. Сейчас будет урон по сейфу, кто не понял. Смотрите, показываю, как Пека разваливает. Вот так вот он. Я с детства за Пеку. И еще урон. Как вам такое? Охерел? Чего? Забанить? Забанить? Удалить сообщение такое? Нельзя такое писать. Осуждаю. Согласен. Очень интуитивно, но не надо такое писать. Они офигели, короче, у них вторая зета команда. Давай тормози. А, ну все, это все. Это за чесмаком, ребят, кто не понял. Чесмак тут выиграли, солод. Сорянчик. С детства за чесмак. С детства за Пеку, согласен. Я сразу говорил то, что чесмак это лучшая команда вообще планеты. Но тут реально за это очень плохо себя показывают. Если сейчас они как-то наградить поймут на той самой карте, Тенсай опять возьмет Макс и будет очень жестко мансить, то еще что-то может не случиться. Но если Тенсай возьмет, ну, не Макс, как бы, а кого-то другого, ну тут все, сорянчик.
This time around, it seems like Chasmac might just do it avenge their own sister team of Chasmac Gaming EU that fell against Zeta Division 1 just yesterday in the first match of the World
Топы все
Finals
говорили, что Зета
22.
в финале против Нави
What a
трудно будет.
performance so far from Chasmac,
Зете
and
даже в финале не
I
будет,
like
потому что
the
их не будет в
risks
финале.
that were taken by Zeta. The Nida
Зета
brought
слили
in here as
ботики.
well, but they did such a good job on Chasmac's side
Вот
of things
так
to
вот,
shut it
ребят,
down.
вот
We
так
barely saw any barriers. There were just so few, and it's really the selling point when it comes to Nida.
Unfortunate situation there. I mean, risks taken by Zeta Zero, and I think a lot of people would say
Последняя
these
карта.
guys, they're the
Я
current
думаю,
reigning
что
world
чесноки.
champions as well.
Сейчас
They
Зета на
really
лютый
need to take risks in order to get a victory here.
минус морали.
We're moving into a
Я
very,
думаю,
very
они прямо сейчас вот уже
consistent
все
mode for
поникшие.
Zeta Division Zero.
Но сдаваться,
Down to
конечно же, не нужно.
77% win rate and
Я всегда
only
это говорил.
52% win rate
У
on
нас
the
в
side
КВ
of
примерно
Chasmac
такая же
Gaming
ситуация каждый
VR.
раз происходит.
Unfortunate situation.
Ну,
It
Титан
could
Дрон,
be
когда
an
со мной
advantage for
играет,
Zeta
он всегда
Zero.
просто сдается и все,
Yeah,
потому что
we'll
говорит,
see
нету
how
вообще
that
никаких
goes
вариантов,
down,
шансов.
as this is
Ну,
one
контра
they
нечестно.
need
Ни хрена не
to
контра
turn
нечестно. Сами они
around.
так распикали,
It's been
распикивали
challenging.
и все говорят Вест.
But so far, Chasmac
Ну, ты Макс,
are
если угадай,
looking
значит ты
fierce.
гей.
They are
Нет,
looking
здесь вот Макс
absolutely
брать, ну это вообще
dangerous.
тупым надо быть,
And they
типа.
got the first
Сорян.
pick here as well. Our bands here for layer kick are
Мне
gonna
кажется, сейчас
be
пикнут...
Penny and Tick from
Мне
the
кажется,
side
сейчас
of
кто-то из
Zeta
Зета
Division
пикнет
Zero.
Пайпер. Я прям на
Chasmac
100%
betting on
уверен.
Squeak Call
Либо
and
чесноки
Max.
сейчас пикнут Пайпер.
Liken what we could have
Ну,
possibly
Пайпер на
as
этой
the
карте
very first
100%
pick,
будет.
because as Tick
Либо
is picked
Брока,
out, yep,
либо
Chad was the
Брок.
first thing that came to my mind, and it
Здесь
seems the
Рика
first
топ.
thing
Ну,
that
не
came to
не
Chad's
сказал бы.
mind as well. A very consistent
А, Макса
brawler, too, one
запретили.
that can
Тогда ладно,
operate
всё.
pretty well at range, can also throw down a gadget that provides a large area of influence. Just a little bit of
Опа, на
chip damage
Елисей
that
кто-то
pretty much
уже
can-
сегодня
that
борет
pretty
Вест.
much entirely
Контра
prevents
чеснок
you from
сильнее
pushing in. A
Зета.
frustrating one to face, one
Понял.
that can also get in super aggressive and
Там Макс
steal all of your
запретили, да.
stars, fly right back out as well. A
Ну, Жанет
pretty safe pick, I
как-то
think, for
неплохой
Chasmac
пик,
Gaming
как по
VR
мне.
here, and one that
Жанет
doesn't have very
хороший
clear counters.
и, блин, и
Certainly
на
so.
дистанции,
Gus
и
is
на
in a
этой,
really
и
good
там.
place at the moment
Газ,
as well.
ну
Gus
хз,
just
типа
really
лоу,
good against a lot
как
of
бы.
matchups, doesn't really have any clear
Это не считается.
counters
А,
or
уже
brawlers he
бурят Вест полный.
absolutely can't deal with. Similar to Janet to
Гус,
that
ну да и
extent,
чё?
for different
Гус.
reasons though. It's an amazing
Гус.
support brawler, has amazing potential in straight up one-on-one duels. And it's just very, very good overall as an early pick to throw into the mix, as we have another pick pending here from
А
Zeta
где у
Division
Зета
Zero.
тренер?
It's gonna be the Otis.
I definitely like Otis just as a pick.
Что там никого нет, а вот
But
чесноков и то
Zeta
есть.
Division Zero, they do have the last pick. They might also be looking forward to sort of prevent Chasmac from taking some brawlers that are simply
Сейчас на
good
чем много
versus
юзают.
tanks or things that
Грифы
can
сейчас
get in
я так
close
думаю.
range that could
Не-не-не.
upset things towards the
Грифы
end.
прямо
Carl has
здесь
been
это реально
banned
тоже
out by
тиль.
Chasmac
Как и
Gaming
Макс.
VR.
Макс тоже не
Fang
возьмет
still
пика.
remains, Buzz still remains. just anything that can upset things a little bit.
Ну,
But
кстати,
Chaz
вторая
still
нормальная
have
тема
two
будет.
picks in a row that
Брока,
can
я
go
думаю,
for
надо
that
еще.
counter out tanks and make sure that
Брока
that kind of
и,
situation
ну,
does
рикошеты
not
тоже, кстати,
happen.
согласен, неплохая тема была бы.
Well,
Во!
get that bow in the mix, and I like it. I
Во!
like it. I always like
Кстати,
bow. I
минами
think
тоже
especially,
можно
you know,
раскрыть всю
if
карту.
your opponents
У них
are
там
looking
никто
a
не
little bit
сможет
nervous
раскрыть,
because
но
they
кто-то
are on the
сможет.
biggest
Просто
stage
на дистанции
that
держать.
Brawl Stars has seen in a very, very long time. That can definitely be a challenge to deal with, you know, those bow arrows and get those dodges out. Keep track of the mines sometimes as well.
Все, что
And
берет
it's
Пека,
gonna
это
compare
как
with
раз
Gale as
согласен.
the
Гейл,
final pick on the side of
ну
Chaz
такое.
making
Гейл на самом
BR.
деле вообще
And
такое себе.
I don't know exactly what the plan is
У
with the Gale.
Холдирчика
Maybe they are
9-10 оно, но у меня
expecting
побольше
some,
будет.
you know,
Но он
big
такой, типа.
aggression on the side of Zeta Division 0. I'm probably not the most fond of that idea so far. Let's find out what Zeta Division 0's
пошел,
answer is.
окей.
It's gonna be a sprout.
Блин, а вот
I
справа,
think
кстати, будет
it
прям
has a lot of potential to dominate.
хреново.
I absolutely agree, and I
Тут
think
Туфи нужно
particularly
будет жестко
versus
карту
Gale
раскрывать.
or Bo, but I think
А
also
иначе
it's
шансов
kind of a big
просто
risk
zero.
considering that Tufa is going to be breaking open walls pretty
Хотя
effectively.
телефон
He,
будет просто.
I mean, there's a little bit of debate as to which gadget is he actually running
Блин.
here as well. I mean, obviously, no Bo Totem cheese strat coming along here, but still, some players
А,
have been
кстати,
running
да.
Tripwire now as a pretty viable strategy. It's also maybe going to be more effective to break open walls, which
Подав,
would be
десяточка халява.
quite good versus Crew. Really going out on a limb with that one. It's not very
Так, у
popular.
тебя
We'll have to
18
see
тысяч.
what
Ну,
Pekka has
найс.
to offer. He hasn't dropped down a totem just yet. Maybe it'll be to take some damage from Tensai. So far on the mid matchup though, Tensai's playing very, very patient. Pekka's taking
Итак.
big damage. There's the blue star going the way of Zeta Division 0, and they're getting away safely.
8
Yeah, a
зрителей,
lot of damage
100!
onto those Chasmac players, but no kills just yet. Blue Star giving the lead to Zeta Division 0. A Chappie gets the kill, but gets taken out, and a follow-up from Tensai, taking
Кто
down
проигрывает?
Fire Crow and Kuru.
Ну, пока что
Locking
5-3, не
out
так
Pekka
уж и жестко
from
все.
accessing the rest of the map, has to walk all the way
ну,
around.
нет,
Jump
ну
back
тут
from
да.
Fire Crow.
Тут уже прям очень жестко. Там Куру,
Gonna result in
соло.
anything besides forcing him back.
Просто Куру, и все. Тарян, типа. 4 раза актив вырос, успех. Да, 7 лайков, 9 зрителей.
Это тупые, потому
сразу контрприджам. Смотрим.
Yeah, so far the Gale has
Мне
been
осталось всего лишь
struggling.
60 штук, у меня будет
I
Тара.
already addressed my doubts.
Ну, актив
regarding,
вырос, если
that
бы я
baller
просто
pick
запустил
here.
и играл сейчас Бравл, мне будет так же 2 онлайна было.
If he can redeem
Вчера
himself,
зрители
perhaps
зрителей
his
так,
mines
как
are
3
gonna be
было.
placed down. First one diffused already by Kuru as he's still looking for different angles, and that is going to
Пофиг
be
на самом деле.
a couple more walls out of the picture, meaning Kuru will struggle just a
Я
little
жестко
bit more on the
вернусь на
left-hand
это,
side,
когда
but so
мне
far he's really just been having a
прекратит лагать.
fantastic sprout game as Tensai is
Поняли, это будет
rather
не так
low
уж скоро.
HP, but still up. Pekka gets reset on the hill as well.
Не,
The
ну
mute
тут да,
onto
тут прям
Fire Crow
жестко.
and a Chappie.
Очень жестко.
He's on the one, but can
Не, тут
he
невозможно.
stay up? It's looking good for Zeta Division 0 as they get a dominant
Мне до
win
Тара
here
осталось
for the
аж 0,
first
понял
game
тебя?
of Bounty.
One of the strongest modes for Zeta Division 0 and
это
the
nice.
single weakest mode for Chasmac
Тут
Gaming
просто
BR.
спраут.
And I think it's absolutely showing here a very clear-cut game here and a great way for Zeta Division 0
Халява,
to
950 уже.
change the momentum, switch things around, and try not to get swept 3-0. I don't think that was really a possibility to begin with, but hey, Chasmac Gaming BR, they surprised us all by taking the first 2 sets. They're still only 1 game away from heading on to a match point. They gotta take this one if they want to get there, and already they've gotten so aggressive off the beginning of the game, and they've been punished pretty much not at all. Tufa's gonna be picking up that blue star quite easily, and now they aim to...
Куру на спрауте топово играет.
Oh,
Ну,
well, yeah.
я не очень наблюдаю за
Reverse
игрой, но,
jump
в
pad
принципе,
there, not
наверное.
maybe what five-
Надо еще игру
No,
на
what's
посмотреть
going on here,
обязательно,
Teddy?
согласен.
Yeah, I think you realize that that was just a gadget that just, you know, is not going to be all that useful. It's going to use it to get out of there. Kuru walls off access to that
А
lane
против
anyways.
кого
Nice
Нави играют?
catch from
Против трайбов?
Desire to find the first kill,
Или
and
кого?
Chasmac,
Напомните.
they no longer have the lead that picking up the blue star gave them.
Говорит, Ярик, Бури.
2-5.
А, не
Trying
надо, не
to
надо, не надо.
force things open on the left side. Not sure what
Да,
he's hoping
понял.
to achieve here, although he does take
Минус
it
Куру
up into the
или он
air.
Норд?
Kuru is low, but no overcommitment from 2-5. Fire Crow jumps in and gets punished for it. Kuru is ready, shuts him
ХЗ.
down, and
Гейл брать вот
things
сюда,
are
это вообще
not
прям,
looking
я не
all
знаю.
bad for Zeta here.
Я бы даже не подумал о
not even
деле,
half
если
bad at
честно,
all.
этой карты.
Zeta Division 0 are looking quite clean, and they have those supers on lock, ready to go at a moment's notice. A choppy, especially on the right side, as the silence and Pekka even thinks about pushing in. There's the clean kill on the guy with the full clip to finish him off.
Сорян,
Meanwhile,
фанаты
Firecrow, he
чесмаков, но
continues
тут
to have
уже
some
буря.
issues on this lane versus Crew. He's
Всегда был
simply
за
outmatched here, and he's gonna try and get that
Да,
super for free with Pekka. A little
2-1,
jump
почему
pad
2-1?
action as well, but two of them
А,
falls
пока?
once
Стоп,
more.
нет.
With only 20 seconds
А,
left,
ну да, всё
Jazzmack
правильно.
Gaming BR can afford
разве
nothing
нет?
less than a
Это
team
дурак.
wipe if they want to bring it back.
Yeah, that is gonna need maybe a miracle or even more than that, as I don't see it happening.
Мне уже на самом деле
At
вообще
this
насрать,
point,
кто
5
выиграет, кто
seconds
нет.
left, Firecrow pushing in, a stun onto
Я
a
заберу
Chappie,
все
but
скины.
even he lives.
Всё.
Tufa is gonna fly away, and Luke
Не сразу заметил, что Пека не задела, а забот сейчас играет.
turn things around and take the set
А,
of
да?
bounty.
Зета хорошо, не, ну тут реально контролит вообще.
Да,
До Зеты. Вот, блядь, для чесноков. А просто
справа
справа-то всё.
Some sighs,
No,
some smiles,
ладно.
some signs of relief, a little bit of crowd pleasing as well from the side of Zeta Zero as they
Конечно,
get the cheers
ноль
going as
срали.
well.
А почему здесь было написано 2-1? Это что такое? Что там за дебил работает? Алло. Это камбэк. Неужто камбэк? Ну, как будто да. Я всё равно верю в чесноков, мне очень насрать.
This is one of those situations. We'll have to see if Zeta Division 0 or
Я
Chazmack
думаю,
Gaming BR is
это.
favored by the next set, but
В зоне
so far,
посмотрим, что будет,
Zeta
согласен.
0, they're looking clean on a track record to get back into their usual form.
Yeah, well, I'm
Чё
sure we'll
сказать?
see it on the stats in just a second, but I don't know if you guys at home realized,
Забыл,
if
что
you
хотел
guys
сказать,
kept
ладно,
track
окей.
of the stars and the kills, but look at them, there's one.
Как
I'm
долго
saying
базарит тут.
the kills, it's the kill singular on the side of Chazmack Gaming Bihar, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys again. I think that kill pick was a huge mistake. I'm assuming they wanted to prevent, you know, maybe a Daryl or something over aggressive to show up on the final pick for Zeta Division 0.
Final big booty,
but it didn't show up, and that leaves you open with a guild that has zero
Поздравляю всех,
matchups,
кстати,
that
с
is
Новым годом
not
скоро.
good in bounty, that is not good
9
against any of
сентября.
those brawlers, and for me it was just a massive mispick, or at least whatever strategy they had in mind.
Так
was
я не понял,
far
подождите,
from
мне только Ивушка
working.
ответил, что
They
насчет
still
фильма
have
на
a set
Твиче
here
после
to reset
чемпионата?
and maybe get that 3-1, still cause a massive upset, but after that,
Джесси,
if we go to set
Тика,
5, I mean, that would be
и Рикошета.
really dangerous for
Выигранная
Chazmack,
игра.
and I would
Чесмаки,
start
услышьте
really
меня.
exciting heavily towards Zeta Division 0 taking the whole match.
Либо
Oh, totally.
Гейла,
I mean,
либо
it would also
Эмс,
be a
либо
complete spectacle to
Поко.
watch, which we always
на
root
мид.
for out here. We always want to see more
Бита,
Brawl Stars
кстати,
gracing
тоже
our screens.
нормас.
And Ring of
Пеннис,
Fire, it's one of those maps
Пенни.
where I've said it once and I'll say it again. I feel like every team has
Не,
a
ну
horror
Динамайка,
story
не-не-не,
on
это
this
отменно.
map.
Бо,
It's gonna always
Бо,
come down to
кстати,
this
Бо.
map towards the end, and it could be the end of Zeta Division
Это
0 if they
Динамайк
don't play
дуралей,
their
по-моему.
cards carefully. First pick coming in
Поко
for Chazmack
забанен,
Gaming BR
Пенни
very, very soon
забанена.
here in a matter of seconds.
Джесси,
That means also that Zeta Division
Ворон
0
тоже
can afford
забанен.
the last
Эмс
pick.
плюс
Next,
Пастор
it
плюс
wasn't banned out,
Дон.
and Chazmack Gaming BR are going for it right off the
Да
bat.
не, Фрэнк тут,
Yeah,
я не
I mean,
знаю,
it's
прям
not a brawl that you want
ХЗ.
to leave open for Zeta
Кто
Division
выигрывает?
0.
2-1.
First
Чесмаки
big
пока
match
что ведут.
for Chazmack. Just reading out the bans quickly as well. It's going to be Penny as well as Meg and Crow on the side of Zeta. Chazmack are going to be banning out Poco, Lola, and Lou. Good bans all around. I do feel like Max was one of those bigger openings. I think potentially his 2 could be a way to address it. Or rather
wait.
match that same sort of high mobility brawler. Bam is
Build
an option as
brother.
well. Not one I particularly love, but one that has functioned quite all right in the past, and they'll match it with the
Так.
Ruffs, which I do think is quite a decent
Ну,
pairing. Get them buffed
Прям,
up,
кстати,
and
тоже
suddenly,
норм тема.
that
Гавс
pair
тоже
is
так-то,
going
блин.
nowhere, really, and trying
Сейчас
to
играл
camp
КС счет
down
8-7
in that
ничья или наш
zone.
победа. Я остаюсь
I
1-4,
don't
я
mind
затащил.
the comp from Zeta so far. I'm really curious though to see what Chazmack have in mind, because they've been so fun to watch when it comes to their comps.
Well, they have to do something to deal with the refs. Otherwise, those sandbags are going to be pretty irritating to deal with, especially when
Sonata
Choppy
бы ни
has
одного
a
не
lot
было,
of
как
health pool to
обычно.
offer.
Готов.
Not just being, you know,
Макс.
Pam, right, and having the thickness and having a whole lot of health to offer, but also having that healing station down, which everyone can crowd
И,
around.
кстати,
and, you know,
тоже
get around
норм
the
тема.
campfire
Там
and
по
have some
всей
fun. Here comes
вот
Tufa,
этой
though, with the
точке,
sweep pick,
там,
and
где вот
that's going to be nice for locking down a lane
по
or
вс- по
perhaps
всему,
a main
короче,
entry point into mid. It's going
как
to
она
lose a lot of
называется?
value once Tinside breaks open that wall. The
Таким
sort of
расстоянием, где
block is
точка,
on the
где
left
можно её
side, and it can
захватывать.
simply be walked around. So as long as they're careful about giving that super too early, then they can get tremendous value with Squeak in particular. And all around, just a pretty good brawler in general.
Услышьте меня, пожалуйста, Тика. Тика просто в кусты его посадите, он будет закидывать по КД. По-братски.
With the Pam, because the Pam is going to be ready with that scrap sucker anytime they even think about pushing in. And there's the Otis. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
like
Нотис тоже почти Тик, плюс-минус такой же персонаж.
An option as Tensai could potentially over-aggress the lanes on the side.
И сейчас я не удивлюсь, если из этого возьмет Тика. И тоже сразу можно сказать, что эти проиграли, дуралеи.
There's a lot of different possibilities when it comes to Ring of Fire, and I'm curious to see how they will deal with that refs when it comes to the actual game. As we have the final pick coming in for Zeta Division 0, it is...
0? 2 zeros.
Oh,
in fact,
there's
2 segs.
two.
Well, I mean, Zeta Division 0, right? They love their zeros, I suppose. Okay, there it is.
Griff, да?
Griff, we were talking about this one earlier.
Спасибо.
We love the guy, and he's pretty good at mid. He's great at denying some aggressive charges in, just keeping you completely on the edge of his range because he has a lot of health to offer, and he has a lot of damage to offer too. I like this strategy from Zeta 0. They just got to make sure that they get those supers out early and get them out often too.
Yeah, a bit more snowball on the side of Zeta Division 0, but a longer setup time. Because
ГГ Зете? Что ты думаешь? Ну, хотя уже так 20% правильно захватили. Нормально так прожимают. Сквик нормально прям борет. Минус Тенсай.
As one of his own. Let's see how he decides to utilize that. I think he already opened up the walls on the left side earlier, or that was probably the Griff actually. Pekka getting out of the zone at last, but not before granting Chasmak a 37 early lead.
Минус Тенсай.
On the right side, also trying to block things out for Skuru. He does get a couple of taps here, also has a super to offer as well. Almost gets Kuru there, though. He's all sped up. Good victory as well by Pekka.
Choppy falls.
Chasmak Gaming BR, they refuse to leave this point. Tensai is trying to do whatever he can.
Тенсай научись мочить, согласен, кстати.
Sure, it meant that Squeak had a lot less value, but Squeak has just adapted. Moved over to the right side. But now Kuru pushes in tremendous value. He's going to be just a few coins away from that next super to continue pushing things back. There's no doubt in my mind. One health the survival from Firecrow. He goes down shortly after, but the survival is certainly impressive. Chasmak Gaming BR, they try to retaliate.
Кирилл, что там уж с лицом Тоти?
And they got that mid control back.
Yeah, it looked like Chasmak
ну так сейчас они могут захватить точку еще, блин. Я вижу, как у тебя прям пердак сейчас на практике. Я чувствую. Вот это есть возможность проиграть.
Really get that foothold in the mid. It's a couple percentages in their favor. Pekka was a phase shifter. Chappy gets muted, goes down Kuru in a 1v1 now as he gets a kill.
Nice, minus Kuru, nice.
From Tufa as a super. It is still the
super
lead for Division 0, but it's so incredibly close.
It's a war of attrition.
Не-не-не, чесноки, давайте, мужики, ну вы чё? Так никто не делает. С детства за вас. Тенсай ставит ульту, блин. Крыс. Минус Куру. А, не, минус, ладно. Блин, а как Зета-то смогли закомбэчить, не понял.
Force, but Tufa and Pekka, Firecrow, they don't want to take the risk here. Tensai, a choppy crew, they just keep on popping in and out of that. Here comes the supply drop as well for Tensai. A kill onto Firecrow. It's not looking good for Chasmak Gaming BR. In fact, it might all end here. There's the game victory for Zeta Division 0. No match
Тут реально жесткие прям. Никто, наверное, от Чесмаков не ожидал этого. Прям вообще никто. Я не знал даже, что это за команда.
Away from being all tied up, from going all the way to the fifth and final set for the first time in these world finals.
Не, ну поначалу они 50% просто захватили, можно сказать, в ноль, а потом каким-то образом умудрились слить. Ну, мы бики, понятно, сразу. Если бы я там был, я бы соло просто. Иванчик и вышка. Я просто соло. Вот сейчас опять уже вот 15% в 0, 16. И просто все, пошло-поехало. Поплыли мужики. А как так-то? Как так-то? Что происходит?
So far by Chasmak Gaming BR.
Back up, has speed, gonna pump it solo. Chappy getting that buff out, gets picked up, but
Ладно,
eventually,
нормально,
I mean, yeah, that is gonna be a nice skill for Tufat to pick up, make sure that buff is out of the picture as well. Tensai taking
За это нереально потеют, согласен. Да все там потеют. Фаркроу забыл, что он ничем ему решил покушать. Замените этого Фаркроу на меня и соло. Согласен, кстати. Не, ну Туфа, кстати, хорошо накидывает. Маленький 3 из 35-я, по-моему.
Finds a nice flank now to take down the healing
Согласен.
station, get some big
Comeback
damage onto
надеемся, я
Tensai,
тоже
and a
надеюсь.
chance for Chasmac to start catching up again.
But Kuru refuses to leave this back left corner. Firecrow's trying to contend him on
Там
his own.
главное
It's gonna
ПМ
be
просто
difficult.
убивать и
Firecrow
всё.
goes down. Tensai
Потому что у него
assumes
до
the
хрена 1000
domination
хп,
in mid as well. The guy
постоянно
just
на пункте
refuses to die.
стоит.
Pekka and Tufa can try all they wish, but it won't be enough. A Choppy also
Минус
falls to
Чапи.
Tufa, and the tree is left stranded
Не,
on
ну
the
как будто
ground,
всё,
way
как будто
further
всё,
than
да.
Zeta Zero can reach the moment. But Chasmac Gaming VR are still in the
Нокаут
back foot as well.
будет.
Kuru
Wow.
gets a kill once again on Firecrow. He will go down to the super.
Уже прям
Quick
что-то тоже
dispelling there
нереально
by
с ним как-то
Pekka,
выигрывать.
but along the way, Zeta Division Zero have gotten so much capture, and they're getting past that area of no return.
Set 5 is so close now. But let's
Жестко,
see,
тут жестко, согласен.
because Chasmac, they're not giving up just yet. They want to keep every inch of an advantage that they've built up in the last half an hour. Tensai
Да не,
gonna
это
get
отмена.
tagged up again. That healing station not gonna last for very long. Zeta Division Zero, they are dangerously close to the finish line here. Let's see if they can make it happen. As Chasmac are catching up, but slowly. There's only 40 seconds
Минус
left on the
Kuru.
clock as well. Kuru gets muted. He's gonna go.
Не
Oh,
минус?
never mind, not quite down. The heal comes just in time to keep him up.
Что?
This is a chance here
Ну
for
всё,
Zeta
захватили,
Division
да.
Zero. They find a kill. It's traded out.
Смотрим
Tensai
нокаут.
is low. A connection onto Kuru as well, but it's enough for Zeta Division Zero to tie things up and push things all the way to set 5.
Смотрим
Reverse
нокаут.
sweep from Zeta Division Zero could be coming in. The first two sets went confidently the way of Chasmac Gaming
Блин,
VR.
щас
And look at
секунду.
the smiles on their faces. At some point, you'll wonder, was this the plan all along? Was Zeta Division Zero just planning to get a reverse sweep for the crowd? With all of the interaction, with all of the cheering as well, you can't help but wonder just a little bit because of how clear-cut things have been in the
I
last
saw
couple
their
of sets.
faces at the end of the second set. I can tell that was not planned. I've never seen them look this non-confident, but
Really?
yet in set 3 they turn things around. Set 4 they keep that momentum up, and now, I mean, we're going to set 5, which already
Подавались
most
первой
of you
карте.
guys
Получается
would
так.
not have expected.
ГГ, ну нет,
But
еще
what's
нормально.
crazy about
Нокаут
it as
смотрим
well
и
is that
все.
this is a whole
Easy
lot of
для чесноков.
momentum that Zeta
Если
Division
они
Zero
нормально
have
пикнут.
built up a champion career, both tied on 6 kills. The top of the leaderboards for Hot Zone is going to be Pekka on the side of Chasmac. Had a fantastic set, but not quite enough to
Да, пока
lock
что
in that match
первые две
point
они
that
взяли,
they desperately
потом
wanted on the side of
следующие они
Chasmac.
взяли,
And look at
блин.
that DPS they had to offer as well. Zeta Division Zero, they were taking a
Не, ну тут потно
beating
реально будет,
health-wise.
соглашусь с
However,
тобой.
they had so much health.
Самое
coming in,
время
they
для
had grip,
самого
just
лучшего
passively
трека на планете Земля. Я знаю, что я его задолбал уже этим треком, но мне вообще насрать. Мне этот трек просто очень сильно вкатывает. 2 минуты как раз у нас есть. Давай вот это. Мне вообще насрать, если честно. Что вы скажете? Крутились за эти Вот это потно. А если в нокауте ничья? Не, ну я думаю, там все равно нокаут как-то решится. Билли the Rock. Мама, купи. Сейчас проходит и начинается самый интересный матч. Согласен. Ну хз, типа, вот это тоже очень интересный матч. Вообще непредсказуемый цел совсем. Сейчас всем потно будет. Сейчас у всех очко просто на колено. Брока? Нормально, нормально. Ой, Фаркроу, так ты вообще легенда. Слушай, а что это за карта Билли Рокс? Сейчас самая лютая катка будет. Согласен. Я, кстати, забанен за АП. Напоминаю. Все. Песиков на сегодня хватит. Let's go.
Also,
Корт
just
нормально идет. Нет, ты
incredible,
чё, другалёк?
whether it's the magic puffs,
Там же
whether it's
просто
the,
брок и
the
все.
pull,
Хотя
it's just
можно
so
говорить, что
incredibly
его нет.
versatile.
Отмена
And
покатил.
even the vengeful spirits nowadays are considered
Даже мне
as
кажется,
a
как катка
very
мне неожиданно
strong
будет.
gadget in most
Точнее,
options.
кто выиграет, кто
Are you
проиграет на
facing
фрейте, у меня
something
так и
tanky,
так уже
you know,
скинулись.
go for the
Мне 40
knockback,
штук
and
всего лишь не
there's so
хватает.
many different possibilities,
Джин
with that
рискованный
brawler.
без
He's very
затяжек, кул.
versatile. Another incredibly versatile brawler is
Понял.
gonna be Bell.
Кул,
I mean, it's
здорово.
her home,
Мы
right?
не
We
виделись.
are gonna be watching Bell's rock, so might as well bring
Нет,
her
Джин
on
норм
the
тема.
table.
Я
And
всегда на
I
эту карту Джина
appreciate
беру.
what both teams are doing, at least so far, not taking
Иванчик
any
знает.
wild risks because they know so much depends
Я
on
карту
this
не видел.
single draft.
I mean, I'm personally more of a wild risk guy
Это не
myself.
та
I mean, I
самая
do
карта,
like to see some
которую я
risky
думаю.
stuff here every now and then.
Которая нам
5
постоянно
seconds left for
попадается
Chasmac
в
Gaming
КВ.
VR to
Просто
choose their
постоянно.
next brawler too. It's gonna be
Пайпер.
Piper, actually. Combine that with the wall
Два
break
дайника?
that Brock has to offer, and you have something quite dangerous.
Так
But
еще и
they
со
have to make
сплэшем.
sure that they don't dig themselves into a hole here where they could be vulnerable to
Не,
something
не,
like
не
Fang,
кольта, не
which is
кольта, я не
looking
знаю
like
там.
more and more of a possibility.
Yeah, this is
Ну,
going to be an
хз.
intense final set.
Типа,
I
кого
can
еще можно
already
взять?
tell you. Sharpshooters left
Спраута
and
какого-нибудь.
right.
Отиса.
What is
Я бы,
this
наверное,
final
Отиса
pick
пикнул.
from Chasmac Gaming
В награде
VR
Кстана КВ
gonna
вчера
be?
обещанца снесли. Вот надо бы
Are
туда,
they
да,
gonna go in
согласен.
the same direction, long range, high damage, or will they go
О!
for, well, it is
Услышал
one long
меня,
range,
красава.
quite high damage.
Пекай. Ой, так
Very
это еще
different
и
love
Пека. Я всегда
utility as
знал,
well
что он
with the
красава.
mute, a lot of
18 что в
possibilities
Д
to
сидим.
close
Здорово,
out
Пека, передай всем.
those games as well. Once those rounds get to the later stages,
Слышали?
it's gonna
Это
be
он
your
сказал.
closer when Brock and Piper don't really want to be up
Просто
close
сказал
and
тихо,
forth
чтобы это...
in close quarters combat.
Не знали, то, что я здесь.
Otis is perfect for that. Let's find out the,
Не
what the
показывают просто, как
reaction
играть, я
and
тренер.
final pick of this
До
match
сих пор
is
не
gonna
понял.
be a Zeta Division
Гром,
0.
не, ну,
Make the
гром...
decision,
А,
and
ну
it's
все.
gonna be Janet.
Все, ГГ
It's
соло.
a safe pick,
ГГ
pretty
соло,
much,
Фаеркроу.
and you can throw
Стукай.
down that turret, it gets some good control for you. It's probably going to fall
Гром,
almost
я гром
instantly
сказал.
to Pekka's gadget when he pops it down.
Фаеркроу я
So,
сказал. Я
Zeta
сказал
Division
Фаеркроу,
0,
все
they can
правильно?
get lucky in
Пека,
terms
если
of
выиграть, я
where they
пришлю тебе
have those
квартиру в
winning
Москве и
matchups
бонусом
off at the
танк ушевые
beginning of the
добавлю друзья
game,
Бравл.
because Bell's Rock, it's not the worst to lane swap, but
Согласен.
when you do lane
Опа,
swap,
халява,
you can
халява.
forfeit a lot of
Сюда.
area control, and that's the last thing
Остается
that you
28
want to
штук
do
всего
when
лишь. Ну да,
the
тут даже
mid is where the game
до конца
takes place
матча
towards the end, when the poison
30
closes
штук я
you
еще думаю
all in.
нафармлю.
Here come the lane matchups, and Tensai is going to be a mid, and so
Слушай,
is
сейчас просто
Firecrow.
разбивают все бурики
No
от Вести.
gadget yet from Tensai. Here comes the first one for Firecrow. He's actually forcing Tensai into those bushes.
Я говорю,
Not an
Джин,
area
да,
you
это та
wanna
самая
find
карта, на
yourself
которую я всегда
in
беру
the
Джина.
early
Но
game
Джина
of
говорю
things where
сразу.
there's no
вот,
edge of
Все,
what
минус
was that from
уже все.
Tufa? A choppy goes down,
Первая
and it's a
за
3v2.
That is a massive opening
Тяпаком,
for Chasmac
Тяпаком.
VR as Firecrow finds another.
Да.
Tensai goes down. It's only Kuru
Не, ну
in
Куру,
a
если выиграть,
1v3.
конечно,
A
я буду
homemade
тоже
recipe, I believe, that connects from Pekka. Not sure if that was useful, but they want to make sure that Kuru doesn't get away with a free mark for the next round.
да.
And yeah,
Он же
good jukes
сдается.
from Kuru, but eventually the
Реально
final
рискованно
catch
было.
from Pekka is going to give the round
Если
to
бы он играть
Chasmac.
умел.
They are still in this game. They
Ну
are
тут сразу
still in
видно,
this
что он такой
match.
слабый,
They are a
слабенький.
round away from a
Надо,
match.
надо
Here
тренироваться,
comes the lane
сорян.
swap crew, boasts a
Хорошо, что они сейчас
slight range
поменялись.
advantage versus Tufa, but Tufa's going to be trying to lay down
Просто
the
от
law
чате реально
with
трудно было
Incendiary
стоять с
too.
броком.
Tensai still at mid also continues keeping things back. It's pretty
Не,
much
против
an even
брока.
fight here. A choppy is also going to be helping out Tensai, even if he concedes a little
Firecrow
bit of damage to
против
Firecrow
Tensai?
with those magic puffs. But a choppy
Да,
also
если за
has
Джин
a
не
range
имеешь минут,
advantage
то
over
ГГ.
Piper.
Например,
Gonna
я вот
continuously
имею.
pushing her back. Only 1,000 health left
Ой,
on Pekka. Oh, Recipe not going to get the
156
kill on a choppy though.
Повезло
Kuru
чуть-чуть.
still forced back.
Согласен.
Firecrow looks for something. He has a super at the
Вот
ready.
это
No
жестко сейчас,
contact
вот это
there
реально
with the
будет.
reflected shot from Bell. And still no kills here, but Tufa has to be extremely cautious about this right side. Though he does have a super at the ready. In fact, all of Chasmac Gaming VR do. And a choppy is ready to punish them for any aggression with his magic hand.
A lot of close calls, especially on the side
Пока
of
что никто
Zeta
не
Division
попадает.
0. Their
От слова
Jinko
совсем,
is
там
still
только
an
Джин
absolute
что-то
threat,
умеет.
especially as we get towards the end game. For this round, a gadget from
минус
Tensai to pull to Firecrow.
Firecrow.
That's going to be a kill, a 2v2 low HP across the board. Tensai going for the
Ой,
push onto
минус
Pekka.
чате.
Good connection, a
А, ну Пека
1v1. No, but
улетел, я
Pekka jumps
красава.
into the gas.
Ладно,
He's
1-1,
gonna
нормально,
fall.
нормально.
And this game goes to round 3 as
Халява?
well.
A super
Очень
close
халява.
game, and it's all coming down to the very last round here to determine who is the first wielder of that match point. Chasmac Gaming VR need to bring this one back, but they have to do it very, very carefully because they are outranged in a few regards.
Блин,
Pekka, though, on
Тенсай
the
тогда
left lane,
попадает по
he
Firecrow.
has saved
И
a
вот
homing recipe for the very
есть.
end. Tensai, Oh my gosh, he was just in range. And
Ну вот если бы они не поменялись, и Джин бы до сих пор стоял. О,
Wow, the bull as well. A choppy. Deletes Firecrow, and Tufa knows it's over here as it's gonna be match point for Zeta Division 0. Ice cold. As now it's a single
Я сразу говорил. Халява, халява. Халява, найс. 20-ку еще. Потяните, пожалуйста, время. ГГ. Но еще нет, еще пока нормально. Пека против Куру стал. Найс. Бесполезное говно. Спасибо большое, очень было приятно. Найс, минус Куру. Отлично. Они меняться опять будут, 100%. Попасть, 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 попасть. Пека. Пека, попасть. Хорош. Найс, минус Тенсай. Ну, тут все, тут да. Найс. Бро почувствовал себя Тенсаем и хотел люто разносить. Так. Пека против Чапи стал. Сейчас будет, конечно... Так, ну так-то типа лол. Подожди, а у Брока тот самый, даже о котором я думаю. Который ему не нужен здесь. Я бы сейчас взял бы на месте Брока тот самый гаджет и развалил бы всех. Разламывая при этом стены. Ой. Ой, минус туха. Ой, тихо, тихо. О май гаш. 1-1, сейчас просто решающая хрень. Да, пожалуйста, вот направо идите, Чапи, хорош. Нужно просто, блин, это на Чапи просто будет. А просто по КД он накидывает и все. По 10 хп сносит, это решает. Минус Куру, отлично. Да, найс, минус Тенсай. Пожалуйста, пожалуйста. Блин. Ну вот Чапи, ну ты не должен выиграть это. Я просто не поверю в это. Тут даже если он притянет, он
Yeah, it's Shazmat Gaming BR right now. They're just playing with their
nice.
Choppy's fighting for his life, but it was
Чесмак, я вас верил с самого детства. Мужики, я первое слово, которое сказал вообще в жизни, это Чесмак. Если вы не выиграете ради этого, я не поверю в чудо просто. Мне 8 штучек не хватает. Верил в раз. Я тоже верю. Сейчас просто Куру убиваете и катка выиграна. Пека! А что? Переигрывать? Алло, нечестно. Нечестно. Вы чё, твари? Вот твари. Лагает, переигрываете, нечестно так. Алло.
But that would be a dramatic way to end the series.
It sure would be a dramatic way to end the series. At double match point as well for something like this.
Давайте, чините там все дела, буря ответить.
Pressure continues to build in. You know, who's getting iced here? Who is getting sort of their nerves drawn out the most possible? Who's the most confident going into this match? All questions that we don't have the answer to, and also we're still trying to figure out what exactly is going on. However, rest assured, we'll be heading back to that match very, very soon here. I have a lot of expectations, though. We saw consistent good gameplay, I think, from both teams there. I think a lot of it also came down to specific lane matchups and when the walls were broken open to give any particular team the advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming one of the players' device just crashed or stopped working. It happened to me when we were rehearsing and trying out the devices, so I can relate it. It felt bad.
Если не переиграю, то мне пофиг, для меня будет задать штрафом. Да, согласен. Можно уже автоматом засчитывать штрафов.
Performance, honestly, and also a lot of Zeta fans all around. I mean, Asia has been the region that
То есть у Зеты все нормально, а у Чесмаков ненормально с Нетом. Верю, кстати.
And can you really blame him though? Because Zeta Vision Zero has 2 world champion players, both Tensai and Choppy, are residing on this roster. They are immortalized in Brawl Stars history in the rise up to the top song. Choppy on the roughs as well, Tensai on the max. Let's go and all of that fun stuff. But I mean, we haven't gotten too much of the max from the guys. I think it's just a little bit too intimidating. Everyone knows that you got to be a max. these dudes, and I think that also
Я на
speaks
интернете
volumes
вопросы.
about just
Починись,
how
дебил
much
тупой.
respect they
Еще
commend,
глупый,
or
блин.
rather command
Логаично.
when they load into a game.
Подожди, вот это
Don't
что
let them get
такое?
particular brawlers. They have a
Вот это что
reputation
такое?
that precedes them, and it's
Еву
absolutely
еще никто ни
absurd.
разу
They're
не
going to
пикал.
double match point. Either team
Там
is
кто
one game
работает?
away
Он чего
from taking
накурился
victory
нафиг?
and heading
Алло.
on to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, we are
Cringe.
watching some replays right now,
Всё,
guys.
катка?
Don't get
Nice, погнали, let's go.
overexcited just
Или это не
yet.
катка?
We'll
А, это
keep
не
you guys up to date with everything that's happening, but I mean, for obvious reasons, everyone behind the scenes is making sure that everyone can compete on a fair footing with no problems on the technical side, so that we can have that final game we deserve and determine who between Zeta Division 0 and Chessman Gaming BR will be making it to
Может,
the
еще показать
quarterfinals and
геймплей, когда у
who goes
Пеки
home.
залагало.
Again, both teams have had incredible results in the past. Zeta Division 0, no need to
Как его
even
жестко
mention
развалили в АФК.
their achievements. I'll still do it. World champions of 2021. So
2021.
the expectations are there. Two of their players, as you mentioned, it's Tensai and Chapi that were world champions just last year. But on the side of CMG, they also have two players that made it to top 4 last year. I think they even made it to top 4 in 2020 as well, but that goes way back. Still, incredibly experienced teams, teams that have achieved a lot as well. And
Так вообще
yet,
мое
one of them
комментаторство
is
данного
going home.
прекрасного
Top
чемпионата мира по
16
Бравл Стар
today, one of them is
2022
moving up
второй
to
день.
quarters. Wow, the pressure is on.
Второй дури.
The pressure is on, and there's a whole
Я
lot
считаю,
at
что я один
stake
из
as
лучших
well,
комментаторов
simply
на планете
because
Земля.
an
Кто так не
entire
считает,
year's worth of
ну, типа,
effort
лол.
could be laid to rest right here and now.
Издеваться всем
After
этим.
all of these games, it's come down to a
Дело-то
single
выше.
game.
Найс!
Knockout, it's going to come down to a single round. Your death
Сейчас
is going to be
буду, блядь.
permanent.
I heard some
Какой-то
information
глупый чёрт.
from production. Don't want to cut you down, but
down,
you'll want to hear this. We are going back into the final game.
Дебил,
Double match
реально,
point.
тихо,
It's going to
блин.
be same
Ярик, заткнись.
everything, right? Same brawler,
Глупый
same
ты, чё?
draft. Just that final game
Да
is
вообще
going to be
дебильный.
replayed as they were not able to play it true.
Зетка,
Wow.
Зета,
I mean,
Пека,
again, just
Иннет,
wanna say
Зека.
it one more time.
Зека, Зека, пум.
How
О, Зака,
much
Зака,
is on the line here for
жоп.
both teams? They've grinded
Шоп.
true in and true out this 2022 season in
Дури,
their home
Дури.
region. Zeta Division 0, that was East Asia
Согласен.
for CMG.
Тут полностью согласен.
Brazil, obviously,
Глупости
South
совсем
America.
Ярик. Почему я
Solat
дебил?
himself.
Ну хз,
A
типа,
lot,
по
a lot
приколу,
of expectations
по приколу,
from both
типа,
sides, and the
дебил.
fans at home
Вы
from both
доигрываете,
of
дурики.
those
А как долго
regions
там
are gonna
они
be
Рому
biting
создают
their
переиграть,
nails
типа,
as
или что-нибудь?
right now, CMGBR are the
А уже
last
просто да-да, нет-нет.
representatives of
Кто этот
Latin
Цапак?
South. The
Кстати,
final
очень
hope for
негромко
Latin
на
men.
данный момент
They've made
телевизор
them
звучит.
proud,
Я
we know
просто,
that for
ну,
sure.
слышу
But
сам
can
себя.
they actually make it happen? Can
Бля, я
they
сейчас
take
просто
down
буряту
Zeta
сделаю
Division
полный.
Zero, or is Zeta
Я
gonna
сейчас просто бас-буста сделаю.
full-on reverse sweep them? Wow, what a storyline, ready.
Dude, at this point, the nerves are getting to me too. Like, I'm feeling the secondhand nerves as well because it has been going on. How long has it been since we have had a double match point that is extended over probably like 10 minutes now? The pressure has to be mounting. Who is able to deal with it the best? It's no longer a game of adaptation. It is a game of focus in being able, in zen, and being able to calm yourself down, not let the pressure get to you, not let the nerves, the huge crowd that we have at this venue get to you either. It's going to be a tough one for both sides.
Absolutely. So
Согласен.
this entire match has been a tough one for both sides. We've had some really one-sided.
В смысле? Алло, обманули, десятку не дали, твари. Понятно, крыса. О, let's go. Все, купи песика, братишка, давай, удачи тебе по жизни вообще. Let's go.
The final game.
It's all come to a head here. Deaths could be permanent. And Fire Crow is already setting his sights on one target in particular. Tensai, he's going to get pitched fairly hard. No, never mind. Down goes Pekka. Fire Crow's going for it.
Подождите, а почему мне халяву не дали? Минус честно. Ну там не честно, там просто говно играет, честно. Там залагало и это.
The trick shot from Guru connects and
Короче, они
now
На минус морали
We have
сейчас.
Zeta Division
Чесноки.
Zero again on the verge of taking this match. Chasmac, they fought
Ну все,
valiantly
это говно,
in the
ну сервера
previous game
почините,
to
ну
take it
суперцел,
back and
ну
bring it
на
to double match. Fallen home,
абраганцы
recipe
тупые,
connects
ну у вас
onto a
такой
Chappie.
турнир
Quite
жесткий.
low HP,
Чемпионат
able
мира
to
по Бравл
reset
Старс,
and
ёкарный
heal back
сырник.
up.
И чемпионат
Inside, a bit low
города,
movement,
блин,
but does
какого-нибудь,
always
а
have
чемпионат
that
мира,
super
ну
to get
какого,
straight into the air and back to safety if need be. This is
какое
intense
говно,
because
еще
Chasmac
десятку
have
халявно
no
не дают, ну
map
какие...
control whatsoever. Can they find some sort of a pinch, some sort of relief
Я
here?
уверен, то, что
As
чесноки
right
бы
now,
уже давно
Zeta are
выиграли.
looking devastating.
A Choppy has a super as well that he can use. Pekka and Firecrow on both
Ну
on
всё,
low health,
всё.
not really anywhere to go. Tenside's going for it. Pekka, he's taking so much damage, a kill and a two-find Pekka.
Не, ну это
Zeta
фулл
Division
тив,
Zero,
сорян.
they're
Ну тут
headed
реально
to the
вообще говно.
quarterfinals.
Там просто залагал, но я был уверен, то, что
They
там
have
чесноки
done it.
выиграли.
Zeta Division Zero knock out CMGBR.
Но
As
чесноки
they
все
will
равно
be
красавчики.
moving forward to the quarterfinals and remove the final chance here for Latin South to redeem themselves. Got it. You can see it from their faces how much passion goes
Рейтинг на этом крутили,
into it.
согласен. Ну что это такое?
And you gotta feel for
Я
them.
тоже
You gotta
уверен,
feel for them
мальчик, но это
because
вообще
that was
фулл
an
тив.
incredible
Понятно, подкупный
from
матч.
Chasmac. Wow, I'm still at a loss of words, honestly, because that's one of the best performances we have seen from them ever.
Да какие зеты хороши, просто на лаки выиграли, ну честно, давайте признаем это. Вот это вот именно...
Привет,
Задонатили.
не интересует реклама начинающего телеграм-канала по турнирам Бравл Старс. Если заинтересовало, вот мой телеграм http.
Нет, нет, спасибо, я не рекламу, я не
/t.me/.
Сколько донатили? Сейчас смотрю.
The World Finals 22, and what other team to do it than Zeta Division Zero?
Zeta Division Zero and their sister team, they're now locked in those quarterfinals, facing versus
15
both of
рублей,
the
спасибо
Chasmac
большое.
sister teams too. A
Не ожидал,
valiant
что
effort
вообще
that was
кто-то
posed
донатил,
yesterday,
да.
but a seriously impressive one that completely
Сорян,
blew
ну
us
тут
away
реально на лаки
from
выиграли.
Chasmac Gaming BR here. Just
Где мои
amazing
очки за
stuff
ставку?
from this team. In
Не-не,
fact, both of them
да,
as
они
well.
на лаки за
But only
нету
one
команду
victor
смотрят тащили.
can head on
Подожди,
into
еще
the
раз.
next
Привет, не
round,
интересует реклама
unfortunately.
начинающих
And it
телеграм-канала
means
по
that
турниру
the
Бравл
hopes
Старс.
of Light South
Все, я
for
понял.
now
Не, я не
are laid to
рекламирую,
rest.
сорян.
Yeah, it's gonna have to
Никого
wait
абсолютно.
for the World Finals 2023. Unfortunately for Latin
Спасибо за
South,
15 еще раз.
as all of their representatives have been sent home. Don't worry, they're still in Paris, having fun, enjoying Disneyland, hanging out with all the homies from the other teams, but they're not gonna be competing anymore.
Who the heck are you, my evil
Pretty
twin?
much always
Чё значит?
had a Latin South
Шутка,
team
нормальная,
make it
кстати,
quite
я
far
хорошо
into our
понял.
World Finals bracket,
Спасибо
but
большое
this
за
year
шутку.
it's not
Все
quite
же
gonna be the
посмеялись.
case.
А где шутка-то была?
Wow, what a start of the day already. Just in case you guys missed it, Tribe Gaming EU 3-0 Zest. But honestly, Zest, they played fantastic. That was the performance of the
Кто еще
year from
играет? Нави,
Zest.
Трайб.
But yeah, Tribe Gaming EU, they managed to reverse sweep 2 sets in a row. And in the end, they took that match quite nicely. For Zeta Division
А
0
чё
versus
нету, типа,
Chasmac
кто
Gaming
там
Brazil,
ЭВП,
that was
допустим?
the closest
Где сотка
match
халявная? Я не понял,
yet
что
at the
это.
World Finals. If you look upwards in
Бори.
the bracket, mostly trios and
А.
3-1.
Ну вообще
And
говно.
1-3-1, that
Алло,
3-2
чемпионат
there,
дерьма.
that was one
Все
stacked
поломано.
match, and
Интернет у них
what we
говна.
didn't really
Чесноки
see
за это
coming,
проиграли.
most people, I mean, you guys at
Очки
home,
не дают. Халявную
85%
десятку я хотел
said
10 тысяч раз
Zeta
тыкал, блин,
Division
спустя
0 will take it.
30 минут. Ну
Well, I
фух.
mean, I'm sad for the 15% of you that saw the potential of Chasmac, but you guys can still be very, very proud of your prediction as well, because you pretty much got it right. They were so close to make it happen.
Еще чесноки показано, что выиграли. Ну серьезно. Там вообще чел какой-то накуренный, он обкурился прям жестко, он в сосну какой-то въехал просто. Дебил. Ну хотя я тоже согласен с тем, что чесноки выиграли. Просто красава. Тут реально несправедливо просто было по отношению к чеснокам. Сорян. Где сотка халявная? Где? Почему нету? Типа, кто там ЭВП данного матча? Почему этого нету? Что за говно? Где моя Все понятно, это самое худшее, что вообще может произойти. Анимация дикая, смотрим. В смысле, на это потеть, блин. Трайгу нужно потеть. Что за говно? Дайте очки, дебилы. Дайте людям очки. Блять, мне халявную десятку не дали, здесь халявную десятку не дали. Не вылазит вот это, кто МВП матча. Фук. Go Station. Станция призраков. Bad Randoms Together Supercell Records. Класти, привет. Сразу передайте привет. Спасибо за кавер. Киньте такой-нибудь, Класти. Я игру, где прогнозы на 100 очков? Вот это про МВП, где? Мы поняли, что тебе сейчас 100 очков и бурят. Кардинально, просто только что додумались. А кто шарит там это Винлайн, Бурят Вест? КС-ки. Бустера команду срала или нет? Кто знает, что там делать. Сейчас, секунду.
The 2022 Brawl Stars World Finals are back, ladies and gentlemen. Pardon us for that. It's been an insane day of games so far. We're glad to be back here. Myself, Mitch Leslie, here, joined by Ark. That last match definitely not going the way we expected it to. Really impressed to see the moxie, the pluckiness of that Chasmac Gaming BR team, but sadly, they fall just short.
It was so exciting, wasn't it? I mean, it really, really was. Chatback Gaming BR coming out swinging and showing us that no one in this competition is invincible.
Yeah, let's have a look back at the bracket review and see how we got to where we are now, because there's still 2 more games left in this round of 16. Today, first up, of course, we saw Tribe Gaming EU take down Zest, and then that absolute barn burner between Zeta Division 0 and Chasmac Gaming Brazil. Incredible match, one we won't soon forget, but there's more of those in store for us, because coming right up is Tribe Gaming NA going up against Navi, and then Raconic Esports take on SK Gaming.
Yeah, that is going to be an interesting one. But Tribe Gaming, NA and Navi, they are very, very closely matched. There's a lot of support for Navi as well, so they're going to have a ton of support in that respect. I don't know, it's going to be very close.
Тоже Нави пишите, вот так вот.
Yeah, so I mean, again, now we've been looking ahead, of course, at our predictions and towards our potential quarterfinal matchups. Now, we've been pretty safe so far with our predictions, almost getting completely boomed in that match number 6. But this next one, this is where we tend to disagree. Teddy being the lone dissident, and you can kind of see where he's coming from. We are dealing with, in Navi, last year's grand finalist, coming in second place, runner-up, really impressive.
Я по приколу нажал, я просто
And they
последнюю
looked at a
секунду
slow
увидел
start
еще.
this year, right? They got folded into that EMEA region a little bit later on, but they made up for lost time pretty quickly.
Exactly that. You know, Navi have got that World Finals experience at the latest possible stage, but in terms of a LAN setting, that's where Tribe Gaming NA have a bit of an edge. Now, for Tribe Gaming NA, you know, it was a really fantastic flying start to the year. Towards the end, there was some results along the way in September and August that weren't great for them. So
Ой, как громко треки, музыка, бури-бабури. Ни черта не слышу просто. Давай. Только у меня не забирай, потом сам заберу.
This shit ain't sweet, ay.
Зацените, смотрите, вот сюда. Смотри, вот 1000. Смотри, потом вот сюда делаешь. Так, смотри. Бури, бурури. И сюда смотри. Сколько? Ну вы не видите, да, наверное? Ну тоже 1000, короче. Или видите? А, вы видите. Все, с кайфом. Все, я захожу на Муради БС, там тоже сейчас 1000 будем фармить с кайфом.
Купюры у меня. Раз, два, три, братик налет 4, 5, 6, 7, вечер, но вставай мне лень. 8, 9, 10, суки, я не лезь. 11, я вставал в 11.
Набал 11. Бал 11. Вот, одного, наверное.
Не желаю знать, какова твоя судьба. Крышты брокколи летают.
final, Fell just short to Zeta's division. Nonetheless, being within an arm's reach,
Я зашел на другой аккаунт с кайфом. Кто там у нас? Наши вышли? А кто это? А, во, вот это наш. Вот это наш мужичок.
2 second-place finishes in the September and October monthly finals. Yes, they start a little bit late over in the EMEA region, but they turn up with a bang. Previously, just dominating that EECA region.
Кто из них кто вообще? Такой мама Нави, Бравл, Старс знает, Петр Олегович. Эти вам за детство.
Jumped into an even bigger pond, and they still stay afloat. That's what you love to see. And they're here to show the world that EMEA reigns supreme.
Yeah, exactly. I love to watch constant progression in any competition, and that's what Navi have really demonstrated. You know, they came in a bit late, but that didn't deter them. Their results in those early monthly finals weren't great, some quarterfinal exits, but towards the end, getting to that grand final despite coming a little bit short. You know, to Tribe Gaming.
Алло, где куб? Главное, чтобы нормально их пикали, не как в прошлый раз куб в очках. Окей. Ну кубы, все, кубы я вспомнил. Ангел бой, понял.
Special moment for this Navi team who had to attend the World Finals last year remotely, right? The lights, the action, the crowd, the energy was something that was foreign to them in that occasion, and they performed really well. Now the question is,
ладно, вам интересно слушать или музыку пока что лучше включу? А, тут уже сейчас начинается.
Not to like. Their sort of antics in the post game, we see them on camera all the time, especially sort of shutting out SK Gaming in that October monthly final. They won 3-2. SK were put in a position where they have to try and reverse sweep, and they kind of shut them out. On Tribe's side of things, I do want to see what they've been working on here, because they've definitely been on shakier ground. I really do think it's less about them falling off, but more about the rest of the region, you know, moving up. And that's what they say, a rising tide lifts all ships, and you better hope that Tribe Gaming have got their floaties on.
Yeah, it was, you know, a tough September for Tribe Gaming NA, losing in that semi-finals to Vatra on that 2-3, and again in October, losing in the quarterfinals. It started to dwindle down, but then again, they had been the first team in the region to qualify for the World Finals. They can afford to take things a little bit easier, but for Navi, it was a constant battle all the way until the end. And the draft now coming in. Let's see. Piper Band, Bonnie Band, and Colette on the side of Tribe Gaming NA for the bridge. For the map, Bridge Too Far, Heist coming in. Carl, Max, and Daryl banned out by Navi.
Characterized by these really long lanes. We saw what Daryl can do on this kind of map right earlier on. If you leave him alone with your safe, it's going to be blown to smithereens. Recoiling Rotator is ridiculous. It's sort of working that down and is very, very scary if it's going to charge more of those supers up. Teams were having to 1v2 that Daryl, give up the mid lane and just sort of try and collapse the side lane to answer that threat. So pretty prescient selection to ban here, and Carl also. Navi don't want any of these shenanigans. This team is really aggressive. They have some really wacky takes on the metagame and sort of what to draft. That's what sort of makes this extra exciting. And MMA is up there on the stage. That's a rarity for this team.
Yeah, it's going to make a difference when it comes to the draft. First pick
пикает, алло?
I love 8-bit on this map. I think that B also can have some great value, despite that Daryl being banned. It's still going to pack
a Brock. Услышал меня кто-то. Петр Олегович? Ангел бой, ну красава.
Being able to break everything open, and Eve therefore as well, you know, coming in on the side of Tribe. They're going to utilize a lot of their maneuverability on this map. There's a lot of water in which Eve can get a lot of value from just her natural abilities on this particular map. But it's going to be a long-range game, no doubts about it. And with the bans of Piper coming in, and there's the 8-bit for Tribe, you know, if you get that 8-bit in range of the safe, put the damage booster down, maybe even have a damage gear rolling in as well. You know, extra credits is going to get a lot of value on him.
Against sharpshooter-heavy compositions, Eve Super Baby Boom is actually quite powerful. Their low fire rate of sharpshooters makes it hard for them to deal with those sort of baby Eves that start to run at you. So that's definitely something worth considering. Provides a lot of pressure, and on a map like Bridge Too Far, it's very easy to hatch those, right? Throw that back behind you, keep it safe, and then set up in a big way. 8-bit is crucial. You can make those forays forward, right? Maybe go overextend, you could say a little bit, get that safe pressure and then back up. Lola getting locked in next.
I like that from Navi. It's one that they have gone to time and time again, and it is going to have a great deal of area spray, and there's always something left or right hand side lane that can really scout those bushes for you and, you know, seek out and destroy. The third and final pick for Navi coming in. And it's going to be a risky time for them.
Слышат, если что, я в Дискорде сижу.
Красава.
Красава. Вот просто, мама, вот прям ты слышала меня. Мы все слышат, красава.
Here's the thing about Cole. It can get some tremendous taps, but you've got to land those shots, and that is where Tribe Gaming NA can make it very, very difficult in that respect and make sure those jukes are really on point.
Yeah, Cole obviously weaker against enemies that can strafe effectively or brawlers with high speed, but these lanes are really quite confined. So if you're just firing straight down the lane, it can be pretty hard to avoid the brunt of this damage. Of course, there's like an environmental destruction potential with Silver Bullet. Bell getting locked in here, probably not a huge surprise. Also, a nice pick against Lola, right? Land, either connect onto that Ego or Lola, get the shock bouncing back and forth, get extra damage, and also pressure. And again, one of the few sharpshooters left available at this point in the draft.
And that's why I'm kind of surprised that Navi went with the Colt, because more often than not, when you see a Lola drafted, the follow-up is normally the counter to it, and it may have helped them out a little bit, and Tribe have got themselves in a good spot. The thing about the 8-bit though is the fact that in terms of maneuverability, much slower. Therefore, Colt shots can land far more effectively. So Zulan is going to have to get those turrets coming in really, really quickly.
What do you make of this double lane on the left-hand side from Na'Vi?
I mean, now the Bell shots are starting to ricochet between the two. I think they're going to start to second guess it. But Livy is connecting so nicely on his own, and MMA jumping through, strains the shots of Zulan, he gets taken down, and now damage gear plus extra credits onto the safe.
That is bizarre! Rocket Lace is used to go across the lane and try and fight an 8-bit, up close and personal. That guy is hefty.
You can't do that against an 8-bit. You can't. Now MMA being marked up in the mid is a concern, and the double right-hand side lane takedown was beautiful there for Tribe, as Livy can't quite find the shot on MMA, but Zulan once again coming in with some great damage. And
Забанить райдера 650 ПК, блин, дуралей. Зайдите и напишите, что райдер вообще хороший парень, правда, не оскорбляйте дико. Ну ладно, че лучше не ходить. Просто так нельзя делать,
And Zulan doesn't care about giving up his life. That's tons of damage. 14% on the safe.
Now Tribe have to try to slow the advance here. It's going to be a tough right-hand side lane, but Angel Boy goes low.
Лучший стрим по финалу Бравла.
And he's getting the shots on point. Tyrant comes in. It is done. The first game goes the way of Tribe.
We foreshadowed this a little bit about Na'Vi, right? Some of their drafts and some of their executions are kind of wild. And we just don't see much of MMA. Very much a spiritual leader for this team, right? A real captain's captain. But coming in here, again, a lot of pressure on him to deliver that same brand that we maybe saw from him last year. Tough start for Na'Vi.
Okay. Well, Na'Vi need to learn a little bit about that early game approach. And Tyrant does win the lane, 45 HP to his name. Great stuff from him, but and the juke on top of that, and the pickup. My word, Tyrant, that was lovely.
Again, if you can juke those Colt shots, he starts to become pretty vulnerable. Tyrant really laying claim towards the middle part of the map there. Love that little jump from him. Eventually will fall down to the incendiary field. MMA has to use rocket laces to get away, but as Livy is pressuring this right-hand side, Cubic tries to stand up to Zulan, and the pressure is decent, but reinforcements are on the way.
Yeah, just keeping Na'Vi mismarked though there from Livy. The shots will ricochet though between both Angel Boy and the safe, and yeah, continuing to do just that. The spray down from Cubic is connecting onto Zulan, and Zulan is shooting for his life. He does go down. Now, can Na'Vi get out of this spawn and start to return some of this damage?
A lot of pressure now being applied to Tyrant as Angel Boy has knocked down some of those barriers in the middle part of the map. Na'Vi begin to smell that blood in the water. They're like a staying power to keep pressuring down. MMA takes a salvo. He's so low, and now Tyrant's trying to guess where he is. He guesses right.
Beautiful stuff. Honestly, Tribe are looking like they just have so much synergy right now. They're picking up the pieces every now and again, struggling to find Na'Vi within the bushes, but when they do, it's swift and quick takedowns. Tyrant now able to focus his attention onto the safe, and we haven't really seen much from Na'Vi in this round, and that's a concern.
Tyrant is getting everything he wants in this middle part of the map right now. Well, fast track back to spawn in that case, but still, as Livy's able to make the trade respond, QB going to get pressure from the backside.
Даже бы я на коте лучше отыграл, вы сами знаете, какой я жесткий на коте.
Another damage amplifier from Zulan here. But really just to try and block some of these shots as Cubic lays it on thick. It's not enough though. Here comes Zulan posturing aggressively. It's 27 and counting on the safe. And Tyrant will stand once the smoke clears.
Yeah, it's kind of didn't quite position himself there with the incendiary, but he had a great advantage to be able to get those shots. Nonetheless, though, I think the Tribe have done enough for now, and Na'Vi with no time really, except for Angel Boy all on his own. This one's done. Tribe Gaming NA are going to take this first set, and they looked very comfortable in doing so.
Something unexpected there from Na'Vi out of the draft. Cool, calm and collected with Tribe though. Picking a composition really styled to that kind of map. The E through mid from Tyrant as well, not something we see all the time, but anytime you can get value in him being able to cross lanes, collapse as well on them if he has
Конечно,
to.
в зале все
Really
за
love
трайб
those
были, там
looks here.
20% за трайб были.
Again, putting
Все
himself up front
20%
and
в
center
зале
in
и
many of
сидят.
those fights and just saying, hey, I've got a large health pool, come at me. I'm going to try and get pressure down on your safe. Strong fundamentals there from Tribe, really getting them over the line.
Yeah, it was a risky draft as well, wasn't it, from Navi, and that little play there, a bit questionable, ultimately, then allowing Zulan just to kind of go in for free, and they just didn't really time their runs effectively in that respect, and
Там за нами просто полтора человека.
of Tribe, landing the mark, and as we see there, the energy of Tribe giving NA always shining through, and as things get more and more progressively through, Zulan is going to get louder and louder.
He's the guy that really starts to play to the crowds, really starts to feel the energy.
Смотри, как радуется.
Как
будто бы Нави выиграл.
According to SK Gaming in those semis, they are still very, very hungry, and I think this really tells much of the story here. As Livy having a fantastic go of it on Bell.
Что кубика какого маленького сделали на фотошопе.
In the past to, gain a little bit too much confidence too soon.
Sure.
I'm not going to necessarily bring up last year too much
Ведите,
because I'm sure when they watch
ой-ой-ой.
be that switch.
You'll hear about it. Yeah.
No thumbs down here today. But nonetheless, that's the start that you want to have at the World Finals. You really want to come in and make your mark.
Был бы
It gives you
нокаут
that
против
confidence
Нави,
going
без
for
шанса
second.
проиграли.
It's a tough spot for Navi. This is a LAN experience which they're not used to having. So being behind now is going to mean they're going to have that little bit of time to have those team talks to discuss what they need to change going in to dueling Beatles.
Yeah, really curious. Looking at the stage here, of course, MMA still there. Navi have surplus players, of course. It's a 4-player roster for this team. On the side of Tribe, obviously Corey definitely stepping more into that coach analytical role, supporting that team, leveraging his leadership ability. Straight away, Penny's going to be locked away. Pretty popular pick here.
Navi really like love to run Penny. I mean, I remember my first conversation with them regarding draft, and they took it a little bit personal. But Penny here can do some great and wondrous things. The bans on the side of Tribe being Poco, I think, are smart. Banning Poco against Tribe, against Navi, you have to do that. You really do. The Stu as well, getting rid of some aggression, and of course Buster. We know full well what that can achieve. Janet going to come in for Tribe Gaming NA. Some great value for it, and B as well to back it up, just in the eventuality that Navi bring in some tanks, which they are known to do.
Yeah, take a great all-rounder first here with Janet. Start to sculpt your draft a little bit with something a little bit longer range. The B, obviously great. Hunting molasses can be such a problem, especially if you're able to push up and you have the advantage. And then you can round it out. You can kind of see what Navi go for. Now, at least you have the chance to sort of preempt that last pick, the wacky one, right? As a Colt was locked in earlier on by Navi. Tribe maybe prefer to be in this position now. Obviously, we sort of mentioned a couple of times, we've seen a little bit of Buster here, but he's just not something that Tribe want to deal with. Bell, though, is on the table and snapped up.
And
I really do like that pick. Bell now with the reload gear coming into play is just a real force to be reckoned with. The nest eggs as well onto the zone can deter you and take away valuable time that you just simply do not have in dueling Beatles. It's quite a tough one. Crow coming in for Navi. It's daring. It's kind of dropped a little bit away from the meta, but obviously with the slowing toxin, it is going to allow for those Bell and Penny shots to land the mark and just get that all-important value in.
Especially if you're in a scenario where you have to retake, right, and the defending team has to expose themselves to your Crow to some degree. The slowing toxins can be pretty straightforward to hit. Now, it's not an all-in, composition after the fact, but like you mentioned, slow targets are easy meat for Cubic and MMA on those picks. Oh. Sprout gotta be knocked in here. Corey sat on the bench like, that could be me, bro.
I mean, also with the slowing toxin, that Penny turret is going to land more shots during that time as well. So I hope that whoever's playing it on the side of Navi just time that perfectly. But Sprout can really just shut everything down here. I mean, with the lack of wall break, which Navi have gone in and taken a bit of a risk with, I think that as Levy, if he's on that Sprout, or whoever it is going to get a ton of value. And, do get to really just shut off most of the map here. But you've got to earn it and just keep it cycling in, and that can sometimes be challenging.
So the right first steps have been taken by Tribe NA, but there still needs to be a conversion on the series. MMA will be trying to man the middle part of the map here as Tyrant, as we expected, attends. is Livy, of course, as well. No, you notice here that Tribe are really spreading out into a lane to have to deal with Cubic. They're really trying to opt out of going one-to-one with him for the time being. MMA is starting to get aggressive, posturing forward, but he's punished instantly by a hedge behind, and Zulan chimes in from the right.
Amplified shot for Zulan. Oh, what a connection. Angel Boy now has damaged gear, but no HP is a really contested situation. Tyrant and there's Livy coming through and just positioning himself forward, and Cubic now has to be very, very cautious. That's the cycle you want, looking at MMA, but actually it does mean that it doesn't quite get the total coverage that they need.
Drop the base. So frustrated to deal with when you've got no choice but to stand in it and not be able to get healed up. Zulan now starting to get a bit comfortable here. MMA slowed up, the iron hive, and the shot to follow is good. Cubic has to sheepishly back up as Tribe start to lay it on even thicker. Angel Boy and MMA return. We definitely need to see some value from this Crow.
Yeah, it's really a bit of a struggle so far. Tyrant though, thinking about going in surely. MMA is low here, and Cubic, Angel Boy coming through. Best stick there in the mid, and that's not a bad thing for sure, but now as Livy needs to get some value, he needs to get some takedowns here to really relieve some pressure. That's a good start. Tyrant behind the situation as well is going to keep some pressure on here. The comeback potential here, spot on. What a retake from Tribe.
Love that. Tyrant being absolutely obnoxious in the backline. He requiring Na'Vi to commit 2 players in order to remove him. That opens the way for Tribe to move up onto the hot zone and start
второй чемпионат какой-то пик говна, но я не знаю. Они в том чемпионате в финале пик дерьма просто взяли, без шансов проиграли. И здесь, блин.
MMA wants to push up here, now looking for a flank, but as Livy is keeping him under the thumb for the entire round. Tyrant shots are coming in, and it's a trade at best for MMA, not what he's looking for. Tyrant now wants to try and extricate himself from the situation as Cubic and Angel Boy are looking imperious on the point.
Well, I think the Tribe, they can just get a little bit here and there. It's only 11% needed what to take down there from Zulan just to relieve a little bit of pressure. But Na'Vi have done a wondrous job so far. Now the Penny turret is starting to connect in for 3% now, and Tyrant with a lovely takedown will take the game.
Na'Vi are getting beaten in the middle of the map for a second set in a row. Really struggling to take control of that hot zone out of that sort of one instance, as Livy is an absolute menace on this Sprout.
Что по счету, ну Na'Vi прям жестко проигрывает.
Isn't it? It really is, and Na'Vi are struggling with it. Just maybe could have gone in with something else just to free things up. Oh, the value of that. Cubic left on 30 HP, and now everyone able to focus their attention on both Angel Boy and Cubic. Tyrant goes down, but that ball is just going to keep cycling in as Livy is getting so much value from this Sprout.
And some free time on the point there, obviously, after that hedge came out. Now is Livy in a bit more of a vulnerable position, but Tyrant chimes in instantly. And Angel Boy has tried to make a lane swap here to find a better angle, but Zulan has eluded him thus far. Oh my! Drop the base, actually almost claiming the life.
Ну хз, может быть они как Z просто загамбайчат. 3 подряд.
To return only when 2 of his teammates are down. This is devastating for Na'Vi.
Tyrant is being a tyrant right now, isn't he? He's forcing Na'Vi to the right-hand side into the path and the firing range of Zulan. He has a super if he gets that connection. The miss mark. Angel Boy is going to be costly too. Penny Turret not going to connect as everyone on the side of Tribe keeping themselves moving. And now almost 20% left, and this set is Tribe's.
Cubic trying to move up here, but again, at best, it's a 2v3 for Na'Vi for much of the round. Always lacking that one player, and Angel Boy again eats another one from Zulan, dominating the right side lane. Tyrant's gonna fly away in celebration as Tribe rack up another one.
It is looking like a red day so far, and no sign, really, of any black and yellow. Going into this next set, Na'Vi are gonna have to start to make some changes. The drafts at the moment for me is where that starts, and
зачем они надевают двое наушников, типа вот затычки вот эти?
Keeping their options open a little bit, some risky ideas. At the moment, I don't mind risk as long as it starts to pay off.
It's been a tumultuous year for this Na'Vi team, right? I mean, yeah, think about their situation just in many of their personal lives at the start of the year and in the last few months, and then obviously coming into the EMEA region a little late, sort of having to play catch up with everybody else, getting wins against SK, Team Kaizo, Chasmac EU in the Snapdragon Challenge recently. This team is a high caliber powerhouse. The fact is they're not able to show it against the best from NA and LATAM North.
Tribe Gaming, of course, came second in the Season 1 of Snapdragon Pro Series. Now, they didn't quite qualify for Season 2 this time around for those challenge finals. And look at there, as Livy, 9 to the 6, and the 6 of Tyrant and Zulan. But on the side of Navi, just one singular takedown for MMA, one singular takedown for Cubic. And Angel Boy was doing a lot of those heavy lifting there. I just worry a little bit for Navi at this stage. We haven't really seen enough resolve so far, and Tribe's confidence now is just kind of growing and growing.
Look, don't blame MMA, personally, for not racking up a ton of those kills. He definitely wants to facilitate with that slowing toxin, but even when he wants to commit, when he wants to dive in with that swoop, he's getting blown up instantly. Maybe not being able to read the room as well as he'd like to, or just get a feel for just how much damage Tribe can output here. But this is last chance saloon. Navi have one more opportunity to show us what they're made of. They're going
Давайте
home.
распикайте опять кусок говна какого-нибудь и все.
Sneaky fields then, and this is a Navi map really, and a Navi game mode. It's going to cater a lot to some tanks, some heal, no max ban as well, no Poco ban. Ash is a good one though for Tribe and bringing in the end. So it's a very underrated pick for that mid lane.
Понятно, весь
It's going
онлайн
to be under
жрет.
so much control, and it is susceptible to barrel rolls and that kind of thing, but it can also hold those things at bay. So I do like where it's heading so far from Tribe. It's a nice, safe, early kind of pick, and I think Navi, though, have got a lot of options here. Ultimately, I would go with the Max myself.
I mean, even among Brawl Ball maps, Sneaky Fields is pretty unique, right? Just for the amount of foliage that sort of envelops it here. So for that reason, we've seen a lot of brawlers sort of cater to that. Maybe Amber to try and sort of remove some of that. Buster got through the ban phase. Navi snap pick him up.
Yeah, rightly so, isn't it? It's just, this comp is starting to speak Navi to me already, and that gives me some confidence. If they combine this with Poco, then Tribe could be in with a bit of trouble. I mean...
Here's a question for you.
Counter.
Does Montage reflect Ems's spray?
Good question, actually, yeah.
It should, right?
Yeah, it's only a throwers at 10 to, so yeah. It's still early days, of course, with Buster, but yeah, it should do.
Keep an eye out for that one. And Gale's interesting. We've seen Gale get really punished when he's picked early in the order, when he falls down to a lot of those sort of more ranged brawlers. But this is the kind of map where tough to have that kind of success. It also means that there's like a preemptive answer to tanks. And also if Ems wants to try and come up with that caustic charisma and actually start to put some pressure down. What is the Lou?
Yeah.
Sorry?
It's a great counter for Buster. It is. North America and Latam North have kind of been the first regions
тут Бастер, всё.
really start to tackle the Buster problem. And it was very interesting to watch just a couple of weeks ago when I saw it, but it actually did make a lot of sense. And Tribe Gaming NA just demonstrating just how on the ball they are when it comes to how to handle a really tough brawler like Buster. But it is a very strange comp, from Tribe. There's not much to kind of have in terms of synergy, but Ruffs could be the answer to that question, just having some support there to keep everyone packing that punch.
I will say, pretty darn close range composition here for Na'Vi, so Ruffs definitely must feel pretty decent for Tribe, give them more of an opportunity to keep Na'Vi at arm's length. And big question for me is, what is his last pick here? What do we go for here? Cubic and Angel Boy obviously already locking in. Not sure where Alex is. He's looking on from the sidelines for the time being. What do we have here?
Ну если они и тут не выиграют, я вообще без понятия, как они должны что-либо делать.
I mean, Buster is already a very nerve-wracking thing to see coming straight towards you down that right or left-hand side lane. Having Max add that to the mix, and you are really going to be in a tough spot. And in a game mode like Brawlball, that is going to provide so much aggression. Navi are all about that. We've yet to kind of see that from them today, and that's why I've been a bit worried. But now I'm feeling a bit better about this.
Remember, Buster charges his super when he's close to teammates, and that star power lets him do more damage when there's teammates close by. Already, he explodes forward and blows Tyrant to smithereens. This is already going from bad to worse here for Tribe. Have to get that super down, recover the ball. That was
Ярик, еще десятка халява.
Yeah, but I did like the way that Zulan approached it, and Tribe just got to be a bit more cautious again. Oh, what a double stun from MMA. Beautiful teamwork there from Navi. Can they get the ball? No, just going to play it slow. But as now Cubic comes back in, it does lead to some potential. Great break as well from Tyrant, going to open up some space.
The speed gear is so scary on Buster here. He can run you down so quickly as he starts to approach. But here's Livy now, getting a lot of scouting done, of course, with that primary fire. All of Na'Vi forced to try and leave the grassy area. Remember, that ball is still back in that corner here. Tribe looking to try and gain an advantage before they really start to move up. Zulan now retrieving the ball.
Again, MMA stunning out as Livy and leaving him like a sitting duck there. Cubic coming through as well. The pass can be there. It is. Will the goal happen? There's the friend zone coming in though, and the super to follow up. Beautiful defense from Tribe.
Yeah, love the knockback there from that Ems gadget. Gives just enough breathing room to make sure the bus is breathing nothing but fumes. Again, as Livy wants to try and hold them down on this right-hand side. Ball has moved up here. Montage from Cubic now, but Tribe weren't born yesterday. They knew to hold their shots. Cubic is going to struggle there.
Tyrant's pushing forwards. The supply drop pickup is also there, but Livy getting a ton of value there.
И просто даже комментариев не
Put down
надо.
a twister here. He probably will do. He's spying his time. Doesn't want to bait out too early. I do like that strategy, and there's not really much that Tribe can do here unless they try to go on the aggressive, trying to focus their attention on Cubic and Angel Boy.
That's a nice little super there. Only as Livy caught with the stun, but it does pave the way. Angel Boy wanted to move up, but Cubic got taken down by Tyrant in the meantime. Now this supply drop starting to really have an impact, ramping up the lethality from the Tribe squad. No score yet with 25 seconds left in the round, and again, overtime definitely on the table.
You've got to admire the patience of MMA. He really is holding up this game so far. Tribe are in a position where they're trying to bait out the gadget, and he's just not giving them an inch. He knows that he can utilize that in overtime as we're going into that in 10 seconds. Speed at just the right time, the ball coming through. Can they make something of this opportunity now for Navi?
Zulan tries to go for the super. Going to be harder and harder to get value from that now. Here's Livy with the ball as we move up the middle of the map. Again, Cubic has Montage available, looking for Angel Boy, of course. Let's Go's popped, and Na'Vi start to spread a little bit. Montage now being used as Livy's going to be forced into the background. Ghostly Charisma used, but it's not going to be enough. Angel Boy's able to find the kill, but Tyrant's there. MMA's a little bit low, this close from being frozen, but he's able to dodge the shots for the time being. Can barely say the same for Angel Boy. He and Tyrant leave each other black and blue.
Now the speed coming in, and that is a concern, but as Livy just knows to spray down that ball and try to deter the situation, it's going to be so close, but I feel like Navi have got some good momentum. If Angel Boy goes down, though, that could change things. Cubic as well needs the speed to back up, and he does go down. A great opportunity, but can Tribe seize this?
Cubic might have to try and force back here with the super. Yeah, he pops it straight away, sends it into this direction. Cubic will fall now. 7 seconds left in the round. Angel Boy's going to force them back, and the score is unlikely at this stage. 2 seconds to go, no super shot for Angel Boy. There won't be a conversion, and that first round ends in a draw.
I've got to be honest, I felt like when Navi was setting up going into overtime, that they were going to try to go for that goal-scoring opportunity. It felt a bit strange to me that they just kind of left the ball out there for Tribe to do something with, and maybe they just felt like they didn't have the utility they needed to go on the aggressive, but nonetheless, I just felt like that was a good opportunity missed, but a chance to reset, and that's going to be arguably more so in favor of Tribe, actually.
Really feel like MMA's had the better of Ez Livy a lot of the time in the side lane. Punishing with that Gale Force, getting stun connection. MMA's able to sort of turf him out, push him back towards his side of the map. Can do, pop by Zulan. Cubic now trying to pinch, and Ez Livy's going to go down. This is looking scary now. It's only going to be Tyrant standing. Cubic walks it on in, or at least he will. Needs to send a message first. Message received.
Yeah, it's great to waste that bit of time because you just never know at the end of the game how it's going to fare. If Tribe are going head first towards the goal, and that is the thing which prevents it from happening, it's going to be money in the bank. But they are behind now, under pressure. Cubic with a great positioning over there. Is Livy there, and a very swift takedown. Beautiful stuff. Angel Boy coming through. Cubic, oh, but the misplay! The misplay is a missed opportunity. Big time for Navi. That is showing me a sign of nerves.
Not the kind of moment Navi would like to remember. In fact, I'm sure they're going to put it behind him as quick as possible. Now the super here from Zulan. MMA definitely steps outside the ring. Normally he steps into the ring in his personal life, but yeah. Bit of a mix-up here. MMA again with Gale Force in hand. Tribe have to play more assertively. They're scared of just running into Buster randomly amongst this grass. Cubic as well is able to stay outside of that super, but it creates some space here for Tribe. He's going!
Caught with nowhere to go, and frozen out as well. Can this Livy get this ball forwards enough? Because MMA can twist it, and he does do it at the perfect time, but the amount of momentum isn't enough. Tribe will score!
Но только не говорите, что сейчас Нави опять срут. Ну это вообще невозможно. Full tilt. Как верить потом?
Now things get a little bit interesting. Angel Boy gets caught out there by Tyrant. We've got 27 seconds left.
This is a great chance for Tribe to get their supers rolling.
У наших контра. А, ну да, в принципе, там Бастер просто соло.
Out of the mix there. Speed from Angel Boy going on the aggressive. The ball passed through from his Livy. Lovely timing on that and just taking the score as Tribe Gaming NA move on to match points.
Let's talk about some of the tough moments for Na'Vi there. They really hold on. Big missed opportunity here.
Yeah, we said, didn't we? Like looking back, it was going to be a costly one, and that was the moment there. And
could have ended the round right there.
Yeah, possibly so. I mean, it was one of those moments that goes to show the LAN experience difference. You know, as we were discussing coming in, and Tribe have got that under their belt more. So it's a tough thing. You know, a lot of people here, a lot of pressure.
Must win round for Na'Vi. This might be it for them. Cubic barely hanging on. As Livy also looking pretty haggard there as he's forced to back away. No more second chances for Na'Vi here as Livy goes for that caustic charisma, forcing Cubic back here and also scouting those bushes for anyone else.
Yeah, they're just taking their time. Speed coming in from Na'Vi, and they've got to just make sure that they get some takedowns. As Livy gonna go down here. But the ball in a good spot. Tyrant as well can use that super if he needs.
My goodness.
He's got the ball now as well. Cubic comes in, but didn't quite grasp it at the same time. I think there wasn't a chance to shoot, but as Livy just coming in and causing a bit of a body block there.
Another Gale force there, friend zoner, forcing MMA back.
Cubic starting to converge on them now, but Angel Boy has to back away.
Na'Vi can't get both their side lanes in order here. And Cubic's going to flatten his Livy once more. This is dirty stuff.
Cubic going to go in. Oh! Zulan out of position there. A lifeline for Na'Vi.
The audacity of that goal. The no was in disbelief. But Na'Vi hanging on. The only way they know how at this point. Angel Boy punished though on the middle part of the map, getting a little bit too close to Livy and co. Cubic was super. Backed into the corner. Tyrant. Oh my goodness, that's a close one.
Well, Na'Vi just looking to regroup. They would prefer to approach this as a three-piece.
Pretty locked in.
Cubic's got his super as well and will use it, but actually cancelled a bit of a misclick there.
Phase shift from Angel Boy. MMA goes for the twisty on the right-hand side, but he's going to get brought down as just Cubic. Cubic versus the world! It's not enough. One apiece with 27 seconds left.
Well, Hydro comes in, Tribe know they've got the momentum on their side, and Angel Boy brings in some speed. But Cubic is worried about the threes. He can't go in to Zulan too quickly. MMA with a great stun again. But Cubic can't really push this at the moment. It's open! It's wide open! That was a huge miss! And Tribe getting it
нафиг просто, ну как, ну в сухую.
What other way for your #1 seed from North America and LATAM North to finish it in style? Really hotly contested.
Сейчас давайте просто халявную сотку все. Хотя тут вообще бессмысленно, кто тут МВП. Тут понятно, что у Трайба там Зулан. Да, конечно, кринж. Но и в этот раз там разочаровали. Сухую.
Very dominant stuff, you know, wasn't it? It was Tribe giving NA just another day back in the office. The energy, the flamboyance of this team and confidence that's going to be going through to that next round. They're looking scary, aren't they? You've got to be honest, they are looking very, very scary.
So important for this Tribe team to start on the front foot after having a frankly awkward last couple of months. They've seen the rest of their own region rise up around them, and I'm sure at times they've questioned
Турант,
what
надеюсь.
it takes to dominate at the global
Турант,
level.
Турант.
The answer to
Вот
that
это
is
вот.
yes, the EMEA's
У синих второй,
#5
который
seed has been vanquished.
Кто там был-то? А, ну
This
да,
squad
Турант.
is starting to look pretty darn scary. They deal so well with the Buster, right? Newer brawler definitely sometimes can pull off these unexpected moments here. But I love that composure from Tribe, especially when they're down a goal in that previous round against Na'Vi. They fight back.
Как вообще кто-то из Нави-то может быть МВП? Кто там диск кинул? Кубик? Он еще и диск кинул. Проиграл с позором просто и диск кинул. Аж наушники типа сбил.
You just can't hold back, Zulan. But look at Tyrant there. Oh my word, 18 kills.
Просто в сухую
That's Angel Boy and Cubic put together. Yes. He was doing so much work, 241 DPS, putting in time, putting in work.
on roughs of all things, by the way. And your MVP is going to be none
Кубик еще
other than
опозорился
Tyrant
просто.
Star.
В конце ди скинул.
What a match from him
Сорян,
and
Кубик,
the
это,
rest of
конечно,
Tribe
чуть-чуть
NA.
буря об буре просто.
They have some time, not a lot of time, some time to start thinking about now what's next, right? They're definitely going to be looking at the rest of this bracket and going, okay, it's the last match of the day. We probably have an idea who we're expecting to go up against, so perhaps they're starting to think about prepping for that. We had a chat with Zulan earlier today. It's so funny, so energetic, definitely
даже
a
не
lot
в
of confidence on
Джейсоне
stage,
делать,
but off
я
stage we
думаю.
sort of asked him, he just really refused to put him out there. He really refused to make any sort of saucy statements to us. He said, no, look, I mean, Na'Vi are really unpredictable. We've seen what they've done to other teams in Europe. We've seen what they did to SK most recently. We're not getting ahead of ourselves. And I think that shone through in their play.
Yeah, I feel like Zulan has a very firm grasp on himself, honestly. Very modest now. You know, he's starting to mature in a wonderful way, and I think Tribe Gaming NA know themselves that, you know, anything can happen on the world stage, and keeping their cards close to their chest and just, you know, making it count through their thumbs is what Tribe Gaming NA is all about.
That's right, let's have a look at our bracket now and catch up with where we are in day number 2. We have one match left in our round of 16, and as you can see, Na'Vi unvanquished, Tribe Gaming advance to play the winner of our next match. Raconic Esports, hailing from mainland China, go up against SK Gaming. A matchup you just really would very rarely get to see. We're very glad to, of course, have representatives from mainland China here. And those quarterfinals are already getting set up. The storylines at this point are writing themselves. But again, another moment to talk about Na'Vi here, right? This is a team that's really delighted us over the course of this year. Having them in EMEA now is a treat because we get to see them month after month go up against the very best from that region. We're glad to have them stay in that region. We hope, of course, to see more from them next year. It's an exciting squad of players, Ark.
Yeah, they're great guys as well. You know, they've got such great energy, you know, around the hotel and the venue here. I've really enjoyed speaking with them and, you know, getting to learn a bit more about them. As again, we haven't really had them in a LAN setting for a while. So, you know, it's commiserations to them. I'd like to see them again coming back on the main stage, you know, getting that all-important LAN experience. It would go such a long way for them.
Take a deep breath, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start to turn our attention towards our final match of the day. Raconic Esports go up against SK Gaming, and frankly, Raconic are an enigmatic team for us. Mainland China only had one of those qualifier matches to decide who would go through. Raconic didn't even win that one. More on that, of course, after we welcome them out to the stage.
Et allez, c'est l'heure du dernier match de la journée. Un gros match encore une fois. On a eu 3 énormes matchs et il en reste un seul ticket.
Одна ставка только зашла, но ёкарный сыр. Я думаю, Скату должна выиграть.
Qui nous vient de Chine, et j'en ai parlé tout à l'heure. Cette équipe est un petit peu particulière. Il n'y a qu'un joueur sur la scène aujourd'hui. Je vais vous demander de faire un max de bruit pour le joueur. Son nom est Tok. Je vais aussi la faire en anglais pour tout le monde. A quick switch to English for you guys. Raconic Esports is entering, but only one player could make it to the stage. His name is Tok. He's gonna be by himself right here. He doesn't have his teammates on stage, so I want you guys on the crowd to be his teammate. Make a maximum amount of noise for Tok and Raconic Esports!
Raconic Esports!
Fought valiantly this year in the mainland China finals and want nothing more than to put their home region firmly on the map. Coming in as the number 2 seed is, of course, Nova Esports, who sadly weren't able to make it here today. But nonetheless, Raconic Esports qualified for the 2021 World Finals and now have the opportunity to better that performance.
Right, back then they were Trick of China. They go up against Queen Nai, and they fall pretty spectacularly in a 3-0 series. Mainland China are yet to win a set at a World Finals. There's definitely a lot on these guys' tables, and how about this? Tok sat there on the stage. Talk about
Даже не финал первой катки, если
versus
тут искасали,
the
то это килл.
Yeah,
Согласен
really.
с этим.
It's great to see the crowd get behind this guy, but I know they're about to make some serious noise because Raconic's opponents, they're about to take the stage themselves.
Хоть у кого-то есть нафиг эти ответы на викторину, которые здесь появляются? Вот такая хрень, типа.
Il représente le côté EMEA, on les connaît bien. Il
Сорян,
reste une
приболел.
seule place à valider pour demain. Un tonnerre d'applaudissements pour SK Gaming!
SK Gaming have been competing since the very birth of Brawl Esports. Samantha Guillet and Chaos with Coach Pedro understand the importance of both patience and controlled aggression better than anyone else. In the grand final of MSI this year, they took Zeta Division 1 all the way to match point, proving that they have what it takes to be world champions themselves. A team who scream louder than their spectators who cheer for them. Their passion speaks for itself.
In 2021, the El Clasico was SK Gaming versus AC Milan Clash. Coming into this year, they made those two teams into one. Gear, iChaos, Semantic. The marriage of two teams that gave us some of the most exciting stories, rivalries, games in the EMEA region became this tour de force that's known as SK Gaming with an unmatched amount of LAN experience as far as European teams are concerned. These guys are the real deal. They won 2 monthly finals in March and September, so a decent gap between them, but no one's ever doubted this team. Even through their ups and downs, Ark, everyone has feared the name SK.
Exactly that. You know, they are and have been so experienced every step of the way, but we've got to talk about last year for them at the World Finals, you know? It was not the experience that they were hoping to have.
That's putting it lightly.
In the first round, yeah, by Tribe Gaming NA, who, just to point out, they could well be facing again. We might get that
Don't
grudge
tempt me
match.
with a good time, Ark.
I know. And of course with MSI, you know, that was the matchup as well that we saw, but SK triumphant there. And just that one game away from actually taking the MSI championship for themselves.
It was incredible, that matchup between SK and Zeta Division 1. It went all the way. This team, while they're looking at their opponents here, you know, we heard from Pedro, he said, look, we just don't have really any information about this team. We had to be prepared for anything, but they're also looking ahead. They're looking at that Zeta Division 1 team. They're coming back for what is theirs, and it's going to be quite a climb to get there. So right now, they need to dot their I's, cross their T's, they need to play tight, play perfect, and prepare themselves for what's to come.
I do really feel for Tok as well, I'll be honest, because, you know, SK are a scary team when they get loud. They love to try to intimidate, and I mean, that's not as bad when you're sharing the load, you know, but again, I really hope to see some great promise from Draconic Esports here today. It's, like you mentioned earlier, been tough for the mainland China region. Last year with Trick of China, you know, they really did struggle against Queen Nai. They couldn't get a single game under their belt, and no doubt that will be still in the back of their minds here today. But this is a tough one. I'm not going to sugarcoat it to you, but this is definitely a tough one here for Draconic.
Yeah, I mean, you saw our predictions earlier on here. SK Gaming are an absolute juggernaut, and frankly, opportunities for teams like Draconic Esports to take on the rest of the world are limited. They look on, they watch, they try and absorb what they can from seeing those matches, but nothing really measures up. Nothing matches getting out there in person and doing the real thing. Well, it's about time to get this thing going, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be Gold Arm Gulch for knockout first.
Yeah, and the poll with the big 81% in favor of SK Gaming. I'm actually a bit surprised based on some of the numbers that we've seen already in the past 2 days that it's kind of actually relatively low. I mean, when you look at the big picture, Draconic going to be picking up Piper straight away, banning out the Fang is a good shout actually, because SK would love to get their hands on that one. Now they obviously will not. Bonnie and Sprout, Gus, Brock, and Tick banned out by SK.
I swear I saw very recently actually a Fang 1 versus 3 on this map. It might have been like East Asia or one of those sort of more peripheral regions, but there's a big reason why no one really wants to deal with the Fang in those moments. He can absolutely turn up the heat in an instant. So the Gus ban here as well for SK. You know, it's a pick that we've seen them experiment with. Giaz playing a ton of Gus in that October monthly final, with the Nani getting picked up here. Peep gets extra scary when you don't get to respawn after getting blown up by it.
Yeah, but you gotta land them, that's the thing as well. But nonetheless, it's a great counter to Piper. You know, that is gonna be an interesting matchup to follow on those lanes, and I'm sure, no doubt about it, SK will be looking to target that specific player. Coming in with the next pick, and there is still a Bell available. Wouldn't be the worst of ideas to have some kind of other range brawler. Rico going to come in. iChaos, of course, as we all know, arguably the best Rico in the entire EMEA region, if not the entire world. If there's anyone that knows how to make that brawler do the business, it's him.
Резко как зрители все ушли,
business is about to be good. I have a feeling.
Все просто поникшие теперь.
Playing those side lanes obviously is where we often find iChaos really aggressive, wants to collapse that side lane as early and often as possible. A lot of Penny, a little Lola play as well from iChaos.
Тоже вообще впервые
We
слышу.
have the Roughs locked in here for good night.
ultimately those supply drops going to really
Запоминаем
land a
свое
helping
Симонтек
hand, those type of
слово.
shots as well.
Симонтек, вот это,
So,
короче,
you
ты
have that
понял.
survivability intact, and in a game mode like knockouts, when SK are going to go really aggressive, it can be problematic, let's say, to say the least. Carl, though, coming in, and I mean, there's very little to say now about Carl, having seen it over the past few days. We know that this brawler has really
всех фанатов Нави дизмораль.
of the meta.
Я не
The
прям
flying
лютый
hosts
фанат,
can be
но
incredibly aggressive and
ожидал
really get
больше, так
behind your
скажем.
opposition, and that strategic play can
Да все ожидали
catch
больше.
you off
Ну
guard.
что получилось, то
Something very special
получилось.
about seeing star players on
Ну,
these
хз.
mid-range brawlers, right? Brawlers that can either be fairly passive, play fairly safe, but also on a dime can jump on in full engage and look to find those eliminations. And then, of course, in knockout, it's a big deal. Eve gets picked up here, so this is a fascinating one now from SK Gaming to round out their team composition.
Yeah, it's now a brawler which is, not nearly as, I don't want to say bad, but it was definitely one that dropped out of the meta, but now coming back in again as a helping hand of those gears, and a tiny little buff here and there, but it's the hatchlings that can really cause a problem to brawlers like Piper. So I hope for Iconic that the communication is on point when it comes to those hatchlings and preparing themselves for it. And in we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to kick off here on Gold Arm Gold.
Да, Нави 3-0 всосали просто. Я думал, в начале салют опять они первый же раунд. Ладно, смотрим.
Really gives the Chaos a lot of room to start to move on in.
That reload gear going to be helping out a lot, but a bit low here. Homemade recipe popped. All the return to sender, beautifully done by Guille, but doesn't quite get the takedown on the top of the map. There is a transaction going on with Talk, but so far, both sides standing strong.
You have to, I mean, we talked about how, Nani does counter Piper, and that's one of the scariest things to deal with there. You think you've landed a shot, you try and guarantee it with homemade recipe, and it gets FedEx straight back to your dome. Toki really trying to beat Stalwart in this top part of the map, and actually
Чел
Semantic
заходит и пишет: «Го поиграем».
You want to play over that water as much as you can, is it? That's kind of what the utility that you bring here. So SK are unperturbed by this current state of affairs here. Gear. Oh, there it is. The peep hits the mark.
3 versus 2 now. Pressure on the Raconic, and so many hatchlings as well. Chaos is closing in there on Talk, and yeah. Talk gonna go down. Chaos will pick it up.
That was pretty tight, actually. Those sandbags there, of course, can be pretty frustrating to deal with if you're SK Gaming. Gotta say, Semantic's really impressed me about his development over the last few years. He has toned down that sort of over-aggression so much, right, and really become such a dependable stalwart player for this SK Gaming side. That was scary. Talk trying to go in. Semantic popping the gadget, trying to get away. Cannot escape. Great pick up there for Raconic.
Oh, but Talk goes down there on the top left, and now the
Мы в
return
этом
to
КВ,
sender onto
кстати,
Goodnight,
должны
pick up
занимать
by Chaos.
минимум как
Beautifully
второе
done, 2
место,
versus
чтобы вроде
1.
остаться.
Impet's gonna have
Или вообще
a lot of
первое.
time spent juggling this
Он
situation,
первый
but
вообще надо.
SK can just play this as slow as they want, and they just get the pick up there and take the first game.
Yeah, a little bit
Удачно
hard to see
Домифика
from that
понижает.
angle there, but Gear sends a
Ой,
peek up
Домифика,
to the
блин,
top
да,
part of the
Лиги
map to
третьей.
at least secure a trade as Semantic kind of paves the way with his damage there on that Eve. And there's not much you can do as Talk there on that Carl. You're essentially a sitting duck. Well piloted there from Gear. And again, it's a pretty scary prospect if you're letting this guy build these supers up regularly.
Great stuff. Great start for SK. But Raconic have been playing pretty decently, I feel. Like, it's just simply a lot of aggressive plays from players like Chaos raining down those shots, and good connection there from Goodnight onto Guille. Oh, but the return to sender was popped as well, but the homemade recipe still staying there as well. It's actually going to favor Raconic in that sense. And Chaos will take the front of it.
Yeah, of course, see a standoff there for a moment between the Piper and Nani. Imp there, of course. Okay, field promotion for Imp, something we also want to point out. Obviously, making those brawlers more durable over time if they're able to be healed above that full health. Here comes the beat, straight down the middle, though. Sandbags thrown up. Perfect placement.
Yeah, love that from Raconic. Nicely thought through.
С этим соперник день 0. Да я не знаю. Прям вот какие-то люди заходят. Прям. Что он сделал? Зачем он вышел из клана во время КВ? Для чего он это делал? Я его хочу прям час кикнуть, чтобы его просто в клане не было. Мне он просто не нужен такой. В тот раз он что-то хрень какую-то сделал, я его кикнул. Либо он просто не отыграл, я его кикнул. Сейчас хрень сделал, зачем, блин? Еще не слушать, говорю, спайка поставь. Ну это же тоже у меня зеленая. Да насрать мне, дебил ты кусок. Объясните ему кто-нибудь в клане, мне просто надоело, я его просто кикну и все. без всяких раздумий. Пожалуйста, объясните им, кто зайдите, там, то, что братанчик, там правила вот такие есть, пожалуйста, послушай, а не бури-бабури, там.
He is getting tapped. IKS will have seen that now. The people come in and try and finish this job.
Good night. Knows where's Brett's butter, but he's having to get out there with the pop, and it won't matter. Gia still finds a connection, and it's going to be Tok on his own, in-game and on stage. It's a tough break against a team like SK.
Confident stuff. I
love
the way that they just baited out the Piper jump and timed that run with the peep. Perfectly back round yet again. SK being quite quiet, quite reserved for a change as well, just to point out. I guess, you know, that's actually really quite a nice thing to see, because when you've got someone else on the other side of the stage and it's just a one-man band, you know, I think that shows some good sign of good sportsmanship. But again, they're not going to be so kind in the respects when it comes to, well, actually, no, yeah, maybe you.
Кому объяснить? Там шу, лав, бури-бабури, вот этот чел.
Some degree of exultant celebration. But I'm quite sure that SK also know this could be a longer series.
Если он до сих пор еще не поменял аватарку. У него есть спайк. Вообще, объясните, пожалуйста, всем, у кого есть спайки, что нужно поставить его. Не нужно искать... Точнее, не искать, не нужно что-то против говорить. Просто послушайте и поставьте. Вот так вот. Слушайте, пожалуйста. Кто-нибудь объясните. Просто меня не понимает вообще никто, им насрать в голову.
Definitely opening up the door a bit wide there, and SK very quick to capitalize. 4 for Semantic, 5 for Gie, 2 for Chaos, but Imp had a really tough round, it's got to be said.
Absolutely. Very, very difficult on that roughs to get much done. Often outranged, often being called up to be, you know, often being called up to get rid of that return to center. Be like, hey, try and clear the way for your Piper. Now, that was SK Gaming's best map type. 86% win rate on knockout. Brawl Ball, not so much for them. A chance for Reconic here to maybe turn up the heat a little bit. We've seen some great storylines today. Plucky teams in an underdog position really put pressure on their opponents. That's what we want to see from Reconic Esports here. I know their conditions aren't ideal, but they're going to play out there on the stage. The crowd definitely behind them in a sense, so let's see if that's going to be enough to spur them to make this competitive.
Я просто промолчу. Это вообще телек полный.
For SK. I do like that. Banning out though the M's, the Griff and the Otis. On the side of Reconic, the Janet, the Ruffs, and the Buster. But Poco, you know, survivability, going to be key here. I wouldn't mind seeing a Gene on the side of Reconic. They wouldn't mind to have some healing qualities themselves from the magic puffs, and we just know how the magic hand can really turn those tides. B is their first draft coming in. The range, of course, the honey molasses and the slows really does pack a sting. You've got to back it up also at the same time, and there's some options still available here. You know, Penny isn't banned, and we know what that can do when you get the turret in just the right spot. It can really put that aggression on the goal or help on the defensive. Let's see if the second pick comes in.
Могу сказать секрет победы
time with this one. Seeing a Poco means that there's actually a whole host of different things that might have to deal with. You kind of foreshadow it here. The Penny comes in. Again, we sort of talked about it, right? If Poco is heralding a more aggressive in-your-face composition, then Salty Barrel is now something that Penny has access to that makes it easy to deal with people getting in her face. Normally, she wants a bit of space, wants a bit of room to work with. Now she has a bit more modality. Now she can stand on her own 2 feet when we get into close quarters.
I feel like Gale is going to be a shout for SK here because, you know, if there's any team that like to slow down the pace of Brawl Ball, it is going to be SK. Maybe some bow mines on it for good measure too. I mean,
that is
one goal
Ark's way of saying stop drawing Brawl Ball SK, please, God, please. Carl going to get locked in here, so this doesn't feel too slow to me with the surge coming out.
I love this though. This is the SK that I love and adore because it's aggression. You know, it's consistent aggression. The Poco is going to keep both the Surge and the Carl very much on their feet, and you know, it's going to be a very different play style. This is what I've been waiting for. But the Gale comes in for Reconic. How the tides have shifted in this matchup.
Yeah, this is actually really fun. So I do like the response here from Reconic. Gale comes in, who's been very, very good on these Brawl Ball maps in general. So Reconic have
команды треба не подождать эти деньги, не брали главные пики, не старались
very, very effective. But as soon as, you know, Chaos tries to close the gap, or Gia especially, right?
Серьезно, что ли? Уголек. Ты, по-моему, перепутал.
To sort of put some space in between them and SK Gaming. Obviously, you know, Surge now a bit more of a, you know, a brawler option, of course. Power Shield giving that extra durability if that's the way he wants to go. It looks like that's the case here. So watch out. If he starts to snowball late into the round, this could be a problem. Already good night, Tucker in deep trouble.
Нави ПК брали говнопики. Ты чё, угораешь? Они в том чемпионате тоже хрень делали. Да какой подкупили, ну ты угораешь, ну Нави. Петр Олегович, подкупный не. Я ни за что не поверю, что это подкуп. Если где-то всплывет такая информация, я не знаю. Но это прям фултейк.
I'm a bit worried for here, Raconic. I mean, they have to start to slow this pace, and they're just going down like flies.
Ну неверно, просто нереально проиграть им, они играют очень. Да как нереально, всем реально поиграть, понимаешь? Было бы интереснее, если хотя бы одну карту взяли. Может, слили вот так в 0. Бывает, конечно. Просто некоторые люди ожидали больше. Мне, честно, было как-то насрать. Потому что у меня уже скины есть, все есть. Но... Да как невозможно было проиграть, ну скажи мне. Ну как это вообще, как? Типа думаешь, Нави это вообще непобедимые люди или что? Гаевский сейчас Нави тоже просто вот получает, так скажем, люлей от всех команд просто. Из-за пики не шарит, у них поменял состав, ему очень трудно. Не, ни за что не поверю фотку.
I mean, the replays are basically going to be us watching the entire thing back once again. I mean, I think that could well be up there as the fastest Brawl set we've had all year. I don't want to necessarily say it for certain without checking behind the scenes, but that was just absolutely insane. And you've got to ask yourself the question, what chance now does Raconic have to recover from this? Not just simply being 2 sets down, but after the back of that game, I mean, one singular kill. The entire time, just the one.
Блин, нет, ну просто ты сам видел в пике, это полный кринж, особенно против перса противника. На больше 100 тысяч видел. Да не. За что не поверю. Я тебе говорю еще раз, в том чемпионате они тоже пикали по говняному. Потому что тот чемпионат тоже был подкуплен. Не, даже кринж. Просто Нави как команда для всех просто исчезнет. Я так думаю, если это реально подкуп. Где-то информация как всплывет.
When they're getting the sweep, they don't tend to ever falter. They just tend to follow through, and this could very well be the last map of the day at this rate. I mean, it's Heist, of course, a map that SK love to be able to play passive in, but I don't feel like that is their game plan today. They are all about the aggression. They're going back to their roots.
Like you said, potentially the last map of the day. Potentially the last set for our representatives from mainland China. Whatever Raconic Esports have left needs to come out now. If they've got something special, they had something in reserve, a secret strategy, an off-the-wall play, you may as well throw caution to the wind and try and make it happen. And of course, the much-coveted 8-bit pick locked in straight away by Semantic.
Yeah, I really do love that. I love the bans also. The B being banned here is quite a big one. Colette.
Как тогда после карток у Холдика всего было заставлено подкупом? Вроде кто-то писал... Я сейчас просто больше ничего не скажу тебе про эту хрень. Я скажу тебе просто, что я не верю, все. Больше тебе ничего не скажу. Всплывет такая информация, окей. Просто сейчас не прекратишь. Я не знаю, как просто это закрыть тему эту. Я уверен, что это дизинфа. Просто... Чтобы опозорить, скажем, которые и так мощной стороны. Да посмотрим, увидим. Ок, пока.
You know, with the pat splatter in the bush as well, being able to show up everyone. Bonnie is a very, very SK ranged idea. Being able to keep momentum of the damage onto the safe, such a crucial thing to have.
Yeah, also having all-in potential. There's always the combo of getting the mute. Bonnie can also try and follow up there, as we know she hits extremely hard when she's able to take the risk and get up close and personal. And just a very robust composition here from SK Gaming. What do you think about the bow here on a map like Bridge Too Far from Reconic?
It's not a bad thing to have. I just feel like there's better options at this stage. It's,
No,
it's
what?
going to
Yeah,
have
but
you know, the bow mines blocking down some and the choke holds, but yeah.
I didn't expect to see it personally.
Yeah, it's kind of more like an SK kind of combo, to be fair. They will love to use bow, and I don't therefore feel like it's a bad brawler to have. It's just a bit of a safe one, and when you've got to see the big picture of what's coming at you, that's your third and final pick is your bread and butter, ideally. It's just a bit safe.
Fat splatter straight away from Semantic. He wants a little bit of room and start to put some pressure here on Imp. Goodnight is given a free mid lane here, but not exactly a target-rich environment as Chaos plays in that bush here, just really trying to outrange the bow if at all possible. Goodnight having that damage gear triggered, trying to stay alive in that fight, but Chaos and Tok trade there at the bottom part of the map, but that's a scary one now. Semantic helping Gear out in the mid.
Yeah, Gear just being reserving, I feel, of the extra credits. He'd love to get the damage booster down and just, you know, get that value in.
Yeah.
Mine's just, yeah, trying to trigger them as well. Now with the speed, he can do so a little bit easier. Semantic just getting taps after tap on the safe. Damage gear now, we're going to heal up accordingly.
Okay, time to collect that, used by Goodnight. Was hoping, obviously, to put some pressure on Chaos. That's naturally the kind of super you want to use to get free damage on the enemy safe, but Reconic aren't in a position to actually be threatening that at all for the time being. Dia is really hard to shift in the middle part of the map, especially now with his speed boosted within the range of that damage amplifier, and Chaos is going in. Again, another trade on the right-hand side.
Nice triggering there from Guille. Very defensive turret, but ultimately wants to allow his teammates to win their lanes and gradually push themselves forwards. But it's the scary comp. Ultimately, it could be over with one big single push here from SK, so they're just gearing themselves up, taking it slow, looking to win those trades.
Time to collect there comes out from Reconic. So Goodnight gets value from that super. Chaos will punish there. But now SK saying, okay, this buffer isn't really big enough for us. We definitely need to extend this lead. And Gear getting free shots on the safe. That's a scary prospect.
Yeah, extra credits, combining it with the damage booster. 63% remaining now on the save, but it's a relatively close scoreline compared to what we saw, you know, in Brawl Ball. Reconic are having their moments. They're starting to get some momentum on the right-hand side there. Goodnight's getting some fantastic taps there onto Chaos, but it's Semantic clearing up that left-hand side lane, opening up some space, and Guille with the finish.
Yeah, this is dangerous now. Tough for Reconic to pull themselves out of a position like this. Semantic wanted to posture forward, get some free damage. Time to collect now on the safe. It's decent, but it's not enough for the time being. 17 left in the round.
Opening up some space in the mid as well, but Chaos and Semantic are in position. There's nothing the Goodnights can really do here. With 10 seconds remaining and SK locked in firmly, it's going to be them moving on, surely, to match point.
That'll do it, ladies and gentlemen. SK Gaming will get this first round in what may well be the final set. A big part of the success for SK in that round is Semantic constantly winning that lane assignment against the Lola, which is not necessarily an easy thing. She can definitely harass you from that long range, but Semantic immediately asserts himself right. Fat Splatter moves up into the space created by that one and constantly dominating Imp, who's had a really tough series in general.
Tok there was trying to keep that super totem going as long as he could, but Guille going in aggressive, and that's exactly the right thing and the right play to make.
Look at this. Look at Semantic just pushing up. And this is what he does. He gets far enough up the lane that he can turn on Tok and then open the way for Gear, who has the ability just to damage amp up or pressure the safe down. Rinse and repeat for SK here.
Yeah, exactly that. Guille being so great at surviving on, isn't he? Just reserving himself, extra credits there just to keep the aggressiveness to Goodnight and force him backwards, but it's just Semantic and Chaos just holding firm on those side lanes, and it's causing such a difficult problem.
Yeah, we're getting a lane swap here. So Tok now going up against Chaos on the right-hand side because, frankly, he can't deal with Semantic constantly interrupting his gentleman's duel in the middle part of the map. He's done it once more. Semantic wraps around. Now he's going to take a couple free pot shots at the safe, and we're already down to 63. Chaos gets the win there, and he doesn't even trade. So this is very scary. SK looking imperious.
Reconic are struggling in this spawn. They've got to try to get one of these lane takedowns. I like they're enforcing through there. The ego is a bit early, but Samantha just continues to punish it. Now I can jumping in, getting some damage. Guille, Semantic, everyone doing their bits. And SK Gaming will move on to the next round of the competition.
Eyes forward for SK Gaming. They weren't sure what would be standing in their way, or who would be standing in their way in this round of 16 match. But one thing was for sure, they had to win it, and they do it in style. Gotta give it to Tok, stood up there on the stage, a one-man army literally, teammates of course playing remotely. The amount of pressure he must feel was incredible. Honestly, really heartwarming to see him out there in the crowd get behind him. And we, of course, hope to see much more from this Reconic team in the future. But SK Gaming have just secured themselves a revenge match.
Слышишь?
Yes, they have. I'm looking forward to that. But I've
got
to reiterate again what you just said. Like, I love to see the way that SK at the end there just really showing how much they value the matchup, and Tok on his own is always a tough thing. Some tears in the crowd, by the way, as well, because, you know, you gotta fight to win. You know, it's a competition, but it's definitely a tough thing when it's 3 versus 1 on the stage. Feel for Tok, massively so, but SK there.
Я что-то быстрее нажимай куда-нибудь, куда за кого-то. Успел?
Absolutely some respect
here for
SK Gaming as the trip for Reconic.
Всё, nice. Сколько у тебя уже?
To get here has been a tough
Сколько?
one. Once again representing their region.
Остается скина.
And their region should be proud. But speaking of regions, that EMEA one, they're looking pretty darn scary. There's a lot of storylines wrapped up in that next game on the lower side of the bracket, right? SK Gaming have a score to settle. As was TribeNA that eliminated them awful early on in last year's World Finals. Look, series where we're going to be frank here, not a ton to say about it. Very, very tough one for Reconic in general. Definitely getting pressure. Side lane pressure from whether it's Semantic or you know, Chaos in many of these maps. A little bit too much to deal with. I think the tone was set really early on there on Gold Arm Gulches. The Nani pick from Gear, really, really hard to handle.
Like I said before, you know, picking Piper first pick is a tough one. You know, you open up doors to a lot of potential counters, and SK played that perfect. You know, Brawl again over in just under 2 minutes, the entire set. I mean, that says so much. But going into Heist, they did bring the pace down a bit. They didn't like get too overconfident too soon. They just kept the control and they played it slow. Ultimately, that's how they like to do Heist, and we kind of foresee this being SK's, but I still didn't expect Brawl to be quite as convincing as it was.
They ran it down, as they say, let's now run you guys down on where our bracket currently stands. Tomorrow, we have some incredible quarter-finals. Zeta Division 1 versus Reply Totem. Inso coach Reply Totem says the winner of that game should be world champion eventually. STMN versus Team Queso in that second match. And then we have Tribe Gaming EU Zeta Division 0 who narrowly avoid elimination by Chazmak, make an incredible reverse sweep happen today. And then the big one, Tribe Gaming NA, SK Gaming with more on the line than just bragging rights, Ark.
There's so much history behind that matchup, isn't there? There really is. Last year, that was the thorn in the side of SK. You know, they were trying to reverse sweep Tribe Gaming, and it wasn't to be. They left in the first stage. In MSI as well, you know, we saw it, and just the raw emotion of that matchup, and it was SK Gaming that were able to return favor. But now we've got what we want to see, the grudge match in its fullest form.
Let's check back in with our predictions, Ark, because we definitely started the day a little bit behind Teddy, who managed to make the right call yesterday. Not so this time. Unlucky Tedwick. We get the better of him here with that Tribe NA pick. But I mean, look, reads like this, both Tribe teams still looking very, very strong. They won't meet each other in the bracket till a little bit later on there. SK Gaming, we all kind of felt was definitely going to be the strong team. And I have to say, we're a little bit disappointed with what we saw from Na'Vi. I think we hoped for more from that roster. There are question marks about the players they used today as well, right? MMA getting used a little bit less over the last couple of months here. He comes in and looks really shaky early on in the series. Starts to assert himself later on here, but I think fans of that Na'Vi team, you know, justifiably disappointed. We don't get to see their true form, the form that we've seen many times online and last year.
And speaking to teams across multiple regions, they've all said that Na'Vi are looking dangerous, or at least were looking dangerous coming into this one. Many were thinking they've got to be in that world finals. They've just got to be the grand final is surely going to be theirs for a second year.
Закрываем тогда, вот так вот делаем. Вот так вот делаем, music is good делаем. Да, завтра финал. Сейчас я зайду в Бравл. Заберем награды, 2 скина этих. Ярик, ты не в Бравле? Ты не в Бравле? Что я тогда захожу?
Ты трус, ты не укусишь, просто
Сейчас.
очень много рыка. Я видел много душ, поверь, от мало до велика. Это просто сказки, а ты лишь семья копилка. Двери вверх, я не про суицид. Зачем любить только себя, вот и хуй знает. Единственная открытая вещь, что я хочу, это высший свет. Детка, не послушай, нет, ты не Анджелина. Ты пизда из инстаграма и с лицом из кератина. Я иногда не знаю, откуда они знают мое имя. Я иногда страдаю из-за планки дофамина. Но зачем ты хочешь пользоваться мной? Ведь я бы так отдал. Дело в отношениях.
Есть кайф сейчас посмотреть «Форсаж 4», вышка.
Я скептичен к инфантилам и
Кто-то муж придет.
фантам. Собирайте шваль, детка, раздвинь перед ними как Ван Дам. Я не ищу любовь там, где ее не может быть. Я не пишу себе, чтобы потом себе не ныть. Я вижу, сука, смысл просто в самом слове «жить». Ты видишь, как ей сложно меня чем-то заменить. Голая зависть, профиль пикчер, ты течешь и уязвим. Я дрожаю при глазами в стиле всех хороших вин. Ты знаешь, правда не с тобой, что ты пунтамин. Без пиздежа, ведь ты никто, пиздеж тебе необходим.
Ждай, пока мне упадет. Нет, ты не нужен. Грустить о том, чего нет, ты не нужен. Зависеть от кого-то.
Я-то даже пускать ты не буду. Никого на стриме нет на этом. Смысла мне. Титан за 3,5 часа на этот стрим не пришел. Ты думаешь, он придет на Twitch? Написал зато в ТГ, блядь, то, что окей, босс, хорошо, там бури по бури. Кринж.
Мне ничего от них не нужно. Важно, какие мы внутри, а не снаружи. Как ты терпишь этот фейм, скажи мне, нужен. Не знаю, мейсы, просто я ношу оружие. Лайки в интернете, мне это не нужно. Быть со всеми добрым, мне это не нужно. Говорить за спиной, мне это не нужно. Я всего лишь хотел делать рэп, чтобы согреть их души. Все, что я хочу найти сейчас, простую дружбу. Каждый второй уж ты сети, бляди, бэденбу. What's up, ho? Чё тебе нужно? Они не думают, что могут стать намного лучше. Поэтому мой круг общения стал намного уже.
Да я не хочу просто уже.
Потом все сами рушат. Не так
оценку трека.
Это для вас, а не знаю где, но иду вперед, своей цели, дойти на в конце, солнце ярко светит. Я всего добился сам, мне никто не помогал. Пример, спасибо всем ребят, что смотрите меня. Делаю копи контент с первого дня и буду продолжать. Для вас, надеюсь, будет больше. Я покажу себя, я крутой пацан, я набрал кассу. Мне интересно, я пока, но поднялся сам. Да-да-да, я не знаю где, но иду вперед, своей цели, буду в темноте, но в конце солнце ярко светит. Если вы не вы, то и не было меня. Говорит на нектар, это главная семья. Главная семья, главная семья. Семья, это главное, помните, друзья.
Это бас. Бас бустер. Найс. Мой трек. Бас бустер, блин, трек на подписчика Байни Гида Мьюзик Пистол. Я текст придумал. Чё? Как тебе мой FPS 30,16? Мне кажется, сейчас один из самых мощных у меня компьютеров на планете Земля. Я ноутбук игру в 2 ГБ не тянет. Рома. Завтра, наверное, клашку, как обычно, запущу с кайфом. 5500 нужно точно уже дабать, наконец-то. Вау. 100 звездочек очков. Да ну нафиг. Что? У тебя лагает, да ну нафиг. Реально? Я еще без тебя не понял, кстати, что у меня лагает. Кто сказал, что минус мастер? Если мы топ-1 займем, то не будет минус мастер. Но я что-то не верю в топ-1 наш. Сорян. Прям вообще 0 веры. От этого клуба вообще. Точнее, от этого состава, так скажем. Офигеть, что... Кстати, это прикольная штука. Ладно, просто дайте мне гаджет какой-нибудь. Да, изи, лол. Согласен, во сне. «36 дней, чтоб не апнуть на 3 аккаунтах с 70 левелу. Кайф. Ну, вообще так-то должны были уже дать скин. DR, это главное для себя. Добавь DR. На твинке могу, на основе не добавляю, просто так. Офигеть, вау. Кстати, прикольный, согласись, вот это. Почему? Потому что ЧСВ сраная, сори. На основе я добавляю вот 35 тысяч кубков и либо 10 тысяч 3 на 3. Сорян. Подожди, а почему вас не было видно бури? Кстати, я хочу попробовать просто по приколу. У тебя черный экран, да ну нафиг. Да ну нафиг. Да ну нафиг. Сори. О, пришло, походу. А. Понял. Попробуйте сыграть. Full HD у меня, кстати, разрешение. Кстати, вообще кайф играть вот с таким разрешением. Все офигенно видно. Приколов. Мне 20к, блин, красава. Братишка, ты лучший. Красава, лютый, лютый. Чуть не убил меня, блин. Я играю на компьютере. У меня на твинке 20к, на основе 43к, но я слил до 32. Понял? Че тогда я буду завершать уже? Печалька, согласен. Вроде не лагает, можно так-то Бравла чуть постримить. Завтра. Может, послезавтра. Короче, посмотрим. На самом деле, мне что-то вообще не хочется играть Бравл, если честно. Сейчас клэшку больше интересно играть. Почти 4 часа стрим идет уже. Ладно, ребят, спасибо всем за просмотр. Спасибо за 15 рублей. Человек, который задонатил мне их. Сколько лайков? 10 есть, что ли? Тимчик ВСК. Лайков 10, надеюсь, хотя бы есть, блин. А иначе это фулл тильт, если нету. Удачи, давай. ББ, короче, всем пока. Бури.